heart by the greedy. Weakened and exposed, forever on the defense. But no longer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the October 2020 Spooky Edition of the Faction War. Here are your champions for today. It's going to be Jay Phoenix coming in with the High Elves, Zyphos reprising his role as the Wood Elf champion, Falcon as the Lizardman, and of course Falcon has won the Faction War with the Dinos before, so in a way, he is going to be coming back to defend his strap. Aerocrastic is going to be the Midnight Aristocracy, I think is what he's playing as today. But Aerocrastic is going to be playing the Vampire Count, so he shall be one of our spookiest champions, which should be quite a bit of fun. Then we got Pugnobon as the Tomb King's Guac, and if you guys didn't see Guac's performance, Guac actually just recently qualified for the Everchosen Invitational. So he's going to be playing Bretonnia today. Hadries on his beloved Dark Elves Red Legion, coming in with the Golden Order. Some Gelt action is in order today, my friends. Should be good. Happy Puppy on the Beastmen should be awesome. I always love seeing the Beastmen in action. I feel like Beastmen got to the finals, I think, in the first faction war. I think it was either the first or the second one. So certainly some teeth there with those Beast folk. Reym on Norska, Salsicha, a newcomer here, leading the forces of chaos. Umaize once again back on the dwarves. He did play faction war dwarves, I think 2 or 3 faction wars ago, and had a pretty good run. I think he got to like the semis or got pretty far. Enticity on the dreaded Vampire Coast, the arch villain. Should be fun. Of course, Enticity, one of the best Vampire Coast players out there, and he has been able to win faction war before with his Vampire Coast. So we'll see if he can come back and do it once again. For the forces of the Empire, it's going to be the legendary Dahv plays. If you guys haven't seen his channel, he's an awesome guy, does great multiplayer content, and is also very good at this game. Next up, we have Romulan Dawg, and you know he loves his Skaven. He's coming in. More Doom Wheels is always the answer, according to him. And we'll see if he can, run some folks over with his Limp Bizkit wheels, all that sort of good stuff. And then last but certainly not least, we have the Chosen One. Chosen One. Going to be leading the forces of the Greenskins. Certainly a very strong faction. Very excited to see how he does today. And now let's take a look at the bracket so you guys can see the order of events. So if we jump on down to the Faction War bracket, our first game is going to be Guac versus Hadries. So that is going to be Bretonnia versus Dark Elves. Actually a pretty even matchup in my opinion. I tried my best to make the first round matchups even, but after that in faction wars with 16 different factions, it's pretty much impossible to make sure everything's balanced. But yeah, it's good, man. So let us know in chat, who is your champion? Who are you guys rooting for? Who are you looking to win this event? Please do let us know as we get ready to load into our first battle. How you guys doing? Yeah, we do have double empire. So of course, with every faction war, we do have one sub-faction. And today it is going to be the Golden Order, which I think is very fitting considering how popular Balthazar Gelt has been lately. So should be good indeed. Let us go ahead and load into the first battle here and get this party started. So we'll head to the brackets there. Thanks to Garland Green for the donation. Wow, of course, you're rooting for your Greenskins. All the best from Sweden to you and your lady. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. And Garland, I hope the Greenskins do well for you today, man. King Adjazal says I'm at work right now, so I can't watch, but rest assured I'll be watching it back later for all its glory tonight. Thanks so much for the entertainment. Do it. Always do, man. And I hope you and Anna are doing well. We're doing very well. So we'll let the players know. Start now. So it is going to be Hadries on Dark Elves versus Bretonnia. Bretonnia has been having a bit of a renaissance as it pertains to their metagame. And, mainly it's the Peasant Bowman being buffed. And the fact that the poison shots don't really do friendly poison damage anymore, right? To your own cab and things like that. So I used to feel like before Scourge Runners got nerfed and obviously before the Bretonian poison change, I felt like this matchup was somewhat Dark Elf favored, but I really feel like it's a pretty even one now. And if anything, maybe slightly Bretonian favored. But yeah, Hadries, of course, is a Dark Elf main. Guac is a Bretonian main. So that's kind of the goal of Faction Wars, is getting players on their best factions and just having these good old-fashioned rapid-fire fisticuff games, which is always a good time. So yes, I see. We got some Dwarf fans here, some Vampire Count fans. Always good. Ethane says you got a 2,000-point Iron Warriors army. Very cool, man. So the curse has been lifted. I'm not going to forget the screen blocker in the first game or the last game. Well, that's yet to be seen, but in this case, I think we're going to be okay. So in this particular tourney, it's a very different format. So Faction War is a best of one format, except the Grand Finals. The Grand Finals are a best of 3 because you only play one faction. So in order to get through all 16 factions that we do have in today's tournament, you got to go a little bit quicker. You got to do it, man. All right. So here in our first match, guys, we have Hadries. Hadries is a 2-time Faction War champion. He's actually, of course, one of the best Skaven players in the entire community, but this time he opted to go with his Dark Elves, which, of course, he's a very good Dark Elf player as well. I think Dark Elves were his first love. I'm not really sure, but he has won the Faction War twice with Skaven. So now he's coming back and trying to win it here with the Dark Elves. So here we have the Black Guard in the front line. In the back, we have the Witch Elves. Witch Elves are really good. For example, if some Bretonian heavy cav come in, Questing Knights, Grail Knights, Grail Guardians, whatever, anything. You can rampage them and drag them into your halberd. So it's a very common combo for sure. Now, aside from that, it's going to be a bit of a Death Star here from the Dark Elves. We do have Marathi. Marathi has some really good debuffs with her Heartrender and the Dark Sword and the Enchanting Beauty, which lowers melee attack by a combined total of 18 there, which is quite nice. We have a Death Hag, and it looks like a Canade Assassin as well for trophy heads, and a little bit of a AoE poke as well with his Web of Shadows. And the rest of the build is going to be Quad Scourge Runner. Now, Scourge Runners are very good against Bretonnia. They can deal with the infantry as well as the peasant archers in the back line, and on top of that, they do also have really, really good shots into box is to use trebuchets, right? Trebuchets 440 range can vastly outrange the scourge runners, and if Hadries wants to just sit there with his halberds, he's going to have to pay the troll toll to these field trebuchets, that's for sure. On top of that, Enchantress is also a very good choice. She has a Mortis Engine effect to drain down elite infantry, and of course is just a great character in general. So that is going to be that. Over here for the Knight Corps, we have Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis, Knights of the Realm, Knights of the Lionhearted. Knights of the Realm do the trick in this matchup. He's also got 2 Grail Knights. Ooh, that's pretty badass. Yeah, so going very elite here, which means his front line's probably pretty janky here. Yeah, it's going to be Men-at-Arms, Peasant Bowmen, and Peasant Mobs. But really, my favorite thing about this Bretonnian build is the fact that he does have the Field Trebuchets. I think that's going to be a really nice inclusion to force the Halberd box forward. Granted, Scourge Runners can still close the distance and snipe the Field Trebuchets, but if the Bretonnians buffer their lines by sending their troops up and forward, that means that the Scourge Runners aren't going to be able to get that juicy contact they're looking for. Matthias, thank you so much for the donation, or for becoming a member. Welcome to the Dukes of Haggard, man. Appreciate it. And yes, guys, this is the first game. Martin, I caught the stream. Slaneshi, hello from Singapore. Right on, man. Hope you're doing well. Cheers. Let's put on a good show. Let's do it. A Vanguard deployment of Dark Riders in the back. This could actually be a pretty big factor if Hadries is able to sneak these guys into those trebuchets. That could be quite good. It will be tough, though. Guac has a pretty nice defense here. He's got his Knights of the Lionhearted, his Grail Knights, a pretty big formation in the back, and it's not going to be easy to get to those trebs. Now, as far as what the trebuchets are shooting at the moment, it does not look like they're firing quite yet. They will here in a moment. Yeah, let us know your predictions, guys. I'm quite curious. Before this battle really gets going, based on what you've seen, the army compositions, and of course the players playing, who do you guys think is going to win this? The Blackguard and the Scourge Runner combination from Hadries, or the dreaded Bretonnian trebuchets with a little bit of a Grail Knight pepper? Oh yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So, just like I was saying, the Bretonnians need to buffer their trebuchets, otherwise these Scourge Runners will snipe them. You'll notice here Hadries is sitting on the wings, and he's going to be getting his Scourge Runners in range, and the trebuchet models will actually die very quickly. And it looks like he's going to be going in for some free real estate, running over some of these peasants. Glorious stuff. I'm sure Dark Elves live for this type of thing. But the peasant mobs, of course, buckling immediately as 2 chariots run them down. Completely understandable for sure. And yeah, the Scourge Runner is going to be trying to compromise his flank. There are some Bretonnian heavy cav here. These Knights of the Realm probably need to bounce out and at least kind of screen them or put some pressure. And now on the other side, it looks like here the Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis are able to catch the Scourge Runners. That's pretty unfortunate here for Hadries. If Hadries does end up losing a Scourge Runner model to some Knights Errant or something, that could be a pretty decent little loss for him there. But we'll see. It looks like he's able to get back for the most part and is kiting. The model actually got away. So one of the Scourge Runner models was trapped up, but it looks like the Knights did kind of lose their clutches on it. Now, on the far side of the battlefield, it looks like these Scourge Runners are getting in there pretty crazy. He's going in hard, man. And he goes in, he runs over the trebuchet crew, and he pulls back and out through the front. So Hadries is microing very well in 2 fronts, but Guac is right on his tail, and these are Knights of the Realm. They are anti-large, and if some of the trebuchets get trapped there and the field trebuchet is still firing, that would actually be a pretty catastrophic loss. Now, up here on the hill, you can see the Dark Riders are actually used. No game sound? Okay. Yeah. I knew there was something I was missing. Yes. Thank you. We caught it in the first game. No worries. Thank you guys so much. So here you can see the Scourge Runner chariots are kiting pretty well, shooting at the defenders, but those are just Knights Errant, so certainly not the biggest loss in the world. On the other side, though, certainly a little bit more damage going on, as these Scourge Runner chariots do go down to about 70%, and the Knights of the Realm that are chasing them are also taking some big damage as well. Now, is the Dark Elf box advancing? Yes, it is. The Blackguard, Marathi, as well as the Death Hag is moving up here. So they're looking to take that fight, which I suppose isn't a bad idea. It will minimize the effectiveness of the trebuchets if they do close the distance a little bit quicker. Granted, you can see one unit of the Blackguard, had they decided to just sit back, I mean, the trebuchets would have eventually done some pretty brutal damage that would have been, potentially game-changing there. So Peasant Bowmen are now going to be firing, going into the Death Hag, and the Death Hag takes a couple hundred damage. Nothing to write home about, but certainly not bad. Guac should 100% switch his Peasant Bowmen onto the Witch Elves here. The Witch Elves are certainly the prudent target. Very, very squishy. And yes, now you can see good play there from Guac. He's going to be putting all his firepower into the Witch Elves, which will kill them very, very quickly. And also the Witch Elves are going to kill Men-at-Arms faster than Blackguard would, so, taking them out is just a decent choice all around. Now on the back line, it looks like Hadries has been caught. Scourge Runner chariots have been pinned down here by some Knights of the Realm, and it appears to be some Grail Knights. That's a pretty painful loss. Those guys are going to be losing models, and it ain't going to be pretty, man. Up here, we do, of course, have the Scourge Runner chariots and the Dark Riders moving their way back in, but it looks like something was caught here from the Dark Elves. Ooh, the Canid Assassin is trapped in combat by Enchantress and some Knights here. But the Dark Riders do come in for the save, and a Web of Shadows going down from Hadries as well will be doing some decent AoE damage. Now back here, you can see the Peasant Bowmen have eviscerated the Witch Elves, just taking them to task, man. But Morathi and company have gotten in. One Trebuchet is shut down, and even if the Dark Elves do win the infantry fight, you have to remember they're still going to have to deal with the Cav. But in dealing with Cav, they have Halberds, they have Morathi. The Halberd box with Morathi support is really, really good at dealing with those type of things. So here you can see the Grail Knights were engaged with the Black Guard, doing a little bit of cycle charging, but now they bounce back, and ooh, a painful catch right there as the Scourge Runner Chariots are caught once again. You can see here they're pretty low in leadership, taking a lot of damage from those very elite Grail Knights, which were also in the charge. And it looks like one unit of Scourge Runners is fully offline. The other one is in relatively decent shape. This one is pretty much down for the count. It would appear to still have 2 of the 3 models, but yeah, really nice catch there by Guac. He's been bouncing back and forth really, really well this game and shutting down many of those assets. Another bit of a problem here for Hadries is the fact that the Khanate Assassin isn't with the main army. The Khanate Assassin needs to be in that blob for sure with the Black Guard, and you also notice that the Dark Elf army is a little bit kind of partitioned off. We got some Black Guard right here, we got some over here and some in the back, but if they're isolated like that, it really allows the Bretonnians to come in with the heavy cav charges and just isolate them, rear charge them, and finish them off. Because in order for this Halberd box to just be super oppressive against the Bretonnians, you need Morathi, and oh no, Morathi overchased some peasant archers. That's really painful. She chased down the archers. She's really far away from the main fight where she needs to be. And yeah, man, that's pretty rough for sure. But this game's certainly not over yet. I mean, the Dark Elves still do have a lot of halberds. They have chariots running through some of the archers here. And the Bretonnians still have a lot of cav, though. Fey Enchantress and the Paladin are going after the Khanate Assassin. Getting this pick here would be really, really big for sure, because the Khanate Assassin is pretty good in the box. He gives you some poke to force the heavy cav to attack you, and he also does have the Web of Shadows as an AoE. Heavy cav coming in once again. Knights of the Lionhearted charging into the Black Guard, and while the Black Guard are entrenched in combat, they do not have their they do not have their charge defense. So that means they can take pretty heavy damage from any sort of charges. And here you can see Morathi dropping a Wand of Crydon here, making her way downtown, chasing off the Trebuchet crews, but she definitely needs to get back and start supporting the Halberds. Balance of power is kind of stabilizing a little bit. Of course, it was looking pretty heavy for Bretonnia. It still kind of is, but if Morathi can get back with these characters, I can tell you from experience, it's very, very tough to kill these Halberd boxes. So just making sure they didn't have any questions. All looks good, guys, and we have a very, very close game. And here comes the boys. Morathi making her way in. Good to be joining with these Black Guard here. Black Guard still rocking 55 models. And a pretty decent HP, but they're actually going for the gooning attempts here on Morathi. Morathi's very tough to kill, especially if she has a Soul Stealer. And, even though the blob fight might be looking good for Bretonnia with the cycle charges and some of the other effects like that, I'm pretty sure Morathi still has some Soul Stealers in her back pocket. Some big damage going in, though. Guac able to get the Paladin and the Fey Enchantress. If Morathi breaks here, this is just 100% over. It looks like she's steady right now, but man, a ton of HP damage coming in, despite the fact that she does lower melee attack of nearby units. And here comes the Soul Stealer. Now, what kind of damage is that going to do? It should finish off those defenders and also hit the Paladin, and of course, the important thing is it will heal up Morathi. Now here, the peasants coming in with their pitchforks, their rakes, and their hoes, going to be trying to finish off the last of these Black Guard. Only 23 models left versus a mighty 51 peasants. Oh no, look at this. Very good play here from Guac. He's able to get the Field Trebuchet back online, so Trebuchet is back. That's going to start pounding into these Black Guard, and then the Black Guard have to move over. They have to attack the Trebuchet, and, all the while they're being charged by Bretonnian Heavy Cav. And Fey Enchantress is kind of designed to deal with this situation. The Fey Enchantress is going to be able to easily... Oh, Morathi gets punted by some of the knights right there, just flying through the ether. But here comes the Fey Enchantress going in. Now there is a Mortis Engine effect down. I think one of the only ways that Hadries could get this game back at this point, the Bretonnians just have so much cav presence left. And, Knights of the Lionhearted here, they have Grail Knights here, they have Grail Knights here, which are just going to be hammering in, is if Guac were to make a huge play mistake and lose the Fey Enchantress. Because essentially here, he can probably just cycle charge and finish off the Black Guard, and should be relatively good to deal with that. In the back, we do have a Scourge Runner Chariot coming in, and the Knights of the Lionhearted are able to intercept it, so the brave Knights able to shut down the Scourge Runner Chariot. Now back into the main battle. Looks like the Bretonnians are going to be claiming this game. Morathi does drop a big, juicy Soul Stealer. Really nice cast there. It actually hit quite a few things, but I think Fey Enchantress and Paladin are going to be able to carry this. It's not looking like... Yeah, there's Peasant Archers back online. There's a Trebuchet back online. And there's just so much that the Bretonnians could do to this very immobile Dark Elf army at this point. And you can see the Wand of Crydon going down, trying to blast the Fey Enchantress, but she has pretty insane magic resist. That's not going to do much damage. And that is a GG. Our first victory of the day is going to go to Guac, our most recent ever chosen qualifier, showing his Bretonnian teeth at a very solid matchup there versus Hadries. It was a good game, man. I certainly enjoyed it. Trebuchets, obviously the Trebuchets didn't do a ton of damage, or they didn't look like they did, but they, of course, forced the Dark Elves out of that position where, if there hadn't been trebuchets, right, the Dark Elves could have sat in their halberd box all day, and then the Bretonnians would have to go to them. So it really changed the dynamic of that matchup there. So well played, my friends. Well played. Now let us go to the bracket. Update this bad boy. The first individual to advance is going to be the Knights of Bretonnia, led by Guac. Very well played indeed. And next up, we have Dahv plays versus Salsicha. Empire versus Chaos, a classic matchup. GG, folks. Very good game indeed. Isaac Nickel, thank you for the donation, saying don't forget the screen blocker. Way ahead of you, man. I'm on point today with that. Oh, Hadries, man, don't be so hard on yourself. You won like 2 recent factions wars with Skaven. Come on, man. It was a well-played game. So now we shall get the game. We're going to be jumping in. We should be all set, man. Chaos comes! It's going to be Chaos versus Empire. It's going to be Dahv versus Salsicha. So I'm just going to hang here until they start to load into the game, because I wouldn't be able to pull up the screen blocker quick enough to block Dahv's army. So just going to kind of play it safe there. Let's see. Okay, let me fix this. I accidentally put just Dwarf for his name. All right. Reym, thank you for the heads up on that fixed. And now we can update these scorecards, which is going to be Dahv plays versus Salsicha. Empire versus Chaos, guys. Looking very good. All right, I'll be back in just 1 second. Got to let one of the dogs out. They're just barking nonstop, and you guys know what that means. All right, guys, I'm back. The Wookiee has been freed. For anyone who's joining today, if you take a look here at the intro, you can see all the champions for the respective factions. A lot of new names, some familiar faces as well. Quite exciting for sure. So again, in this match, it is going to be Dahv facing off against Salsicha, Empire versus Chaos. I always felt like this was a very solid, even matchup. As a matter of fact, I often pick Chaos into Empire, and there's been plenty of times in tournaments when I've been like, oh, my opponent's Chaos, and Empire sounds good. It's like, I feel like it's a matchup that can go either way for sure. Wicker Nipple with the $40 donation saying, thanks for the HOM 3 content reminder. The game came out a year. I graduated uni and I'd forgotten about it completely. Please find the difference between GOG, cost for a great game, and a AAA title. Yeah, dude. Heroes of Might and Magic 3, I just got into the HD mod for that game, and you can take simultaneous turns. So if you're playing with your friends, you don't have to it's so nice, dude. Oh my god. Wicker, thank you so much for the donation, man. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate it. So now we're loading in. Let's go ahead and pull up the correct scorecards. It's going to be Dahv plays versus Salsicha. Empire against the Dark Hordes of Chaos. All right, guys. So now let's take a look at the armies here of Dahv plays. It's going to be a front line of spearmen mixed with some greatswords. Oh, dude, I love me some Empire greatswords. They're so freaking cool. Yeah, greatswords against marauders and Chaos Warriors. I mean, Chaos Warriors without great weapons. The greatswords will win that fight quite handedly for sure. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be great, man. Sons of Sigmar coming in with some true steel. We got Spearmen, of course. Spearmen are the classic buffer for the Empire, so Dahv going to be using those bad boys to just kind of support his army. In the front, Dahv plays is going to be rocking Volkmar the Grim. I love me some Volkmar, man. Really, really good at kind of routing off hordes of Chaos Infantry. However, he will struggle pretty bad against the monsters. Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and a second Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, I think, on the far side. So that's really going to be the big thing for Dahv, making sure the Shaggoths don't beat down Volkmar while Volkmar deals with the infantry. On top of that, we do have Demogryph Knights with Lances, and it is going to be double Pistolier to kind of deal with Hounds. I also like the inclusion of the Wagons. They give you steady AP fire against big targets and aren't as easy to kill with Hounds. Because you can see here, Salsicha is coming in pretty heavy with Chaos Warhounds, which is going to be quite scary for sure. All right, guys, so that appears to be it. Dahv does have some demis. Volkmar the Grim, and the caster is going to be a fire caster. So, when you have Volkmar, you don't need healing as much as you do with someone like Franz. Now for Salsicha, our Chaos newcomer, saying he's quite confident he can bring Chaos past the first round here. It's going to be Chaos Warhounds, 4 in total, which is very, very good for chasing down, Pistoliers and Skirmishers and Handgunners and things like that. Aside from that, he's going to be going with Chaos Knight. So in total, he does have double Chaos Knight, double Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, big, thick Warp Chicken, and it is also going to be some Chaos Marauders. Now, Warp Chicken does have the final transmutation, so for Dahv, you certainly want to make sure you don't blob up your demis on top of your greatswords and get nuked with a big old final bomb right there. So we got a donation from Sean Davenport. I'm not very good at this game, but I enjoy watching the knowledge and quality content you put out with a positive vibe. We appreciate it. Haggard Strong. Haggard Strong all day, baby. Thank you so much. And Jared Koenig, when your predicted winner gets eliminated round 1. No worries, man. You can still score points in our Match Madness if some of your other predictions do come true, but you know, it'll probably be hard to win now if you lose one of your predictions there. Alright guys, so here we have some light skirmishing. The Pistoliers and the Outriders and the Wagons doing some good damage. Dahv definitely needs to pull back, and it looks like he is going to get partially caught by the Hounds here. It's hard to say. Demogryph Knight's going to be charging into the Chaos Knights, it would appear. A little bit risky considering there is a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth there. Now the Pistoliers are engaged in full kite mode, so they are kiting the Hounds back. Demis and Warrior Priests are going in hard. It looks like the Shield of Faith and the Hammer of Sigmar, all the buffs are being dropped by Dahv. Now he does also have some Spearmen nearby. That Soulfire Bombardment did some okay topical damage, but the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth is no joke. However, there's Wagon support, so the Wagons up on the high ground are shooting into the Shaggoth, and it looks like the final transmutation has been cast here. Not the worst cast in the world, certainly doing some good damage, but at least it didn't catch any of the elite infantry or some of those other choices, so we'll see. Volkmar able to help break off some of the Hounds. The Pistoliers have reorganized themselves. Very nice play there by Dahv. But in the back line, some more Hounds are coming in. Chaos just swarming all over the place. And those Hounds are going to be jumping onto those Pistoliers. And it looks like the Demogryph Knights were broken. However, the Chaos Knights and the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth have also taken some big damage. So it's not like those demis, you know, fought for nothing. They also got some good damage back. And now Volkmar the Grim going to be charging in and trying to push off those Dragon Ogres and company. On the other areas of the battlefield, the Wagons are pulling back and forth, and now they're trying to get away from the Hounds here. Chaos Knights charging into the back, but there is a Warrior Priest and Greatswords back there, so there certainly is some peeling. And this is kind of the strength of Wagons, in that they can rotate about and are relatively tough to pin down with things like Hounds and whatnot. Spears are just grinding it out. Volkmar is fighting against the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth there. Certainly not his element. He probably wants to be back in this main fight here. We do have Greatswords. Greatswords, of course, will beat down the Marauders over time, but Chaos Knights, Shaggoth, and Chicken are certainly causing a lot of problems, and currently this is a very even battle. It looks like there's going to be some sort of a vortex going down here, maybe a piercing bolts from the bird. Oh no, a banishment from Volkmar, which is going to be going into some of those Chaos Marauders, it looks like. Demogryph Knights charging back in, and they are backed up by the Warrior Priest, who may or may not have Benediction. It looks like he doesn't, but he is going to be imbuing a little bit of damage on them with the banner, and the Hounds are finally broken off here, and the Wagons are still stable. Pistoliers not so much. Volkmar the Grim is in decent shape, and it looks like he's going to be peeling back towards the main battlefield, and it looks like a Burning Head is going to be coming down. Ooh, a nice Burning Head. That roasts those Marauders. Also goes through, hits the Spears a little bit, but for the most part, that did roast off some of the Chaos Chaff right there. And now Empire does have a pretty good Bastion here. However, we don't know when Arcane Conduit is going to allow the Chicken to cast another big bombardment. And Dahv still has some Pistoliers. They're still rotating about, man. Crazy, crazy fight. Volkmar the Grim is being focused pretty hard, but he's okay with that. It's certainly better than, you know, some of the ranged assets being compromised, I suppose. Shield of Faith active. The other Warrior Priest right here going to be dropping another Soulfire Bombardment, which will probably do about 400 HP damage to those Chaos Knights. And now we have the Hounds coming in once again, but Dahv is able to get Volkmar the Grim pulling over to try and shut down these Warhounds. But Salsicha is being very aggressive, man. These Chaos Warhounds are just all over the place. Warp Chicken is tired of this shit too. And he's going to be jumping in and doing his best to finish off the dreaded War Wagons, which are now shaken. And if those Wagons actually break, if Salsicha is able to get that grab, another unit of Warhounds coming in, that'll be really painful because those Wagons would most likely be chased off the battlefield, considering how much more mobile the Chaos Army is with all these different Hound units. So now the Wagons probably going to have to pull back and through the middle. Oh man, and the Dragon Ogre Shaggoths are taking those Wagons to Pound Town. A lot of damage coming in, but the Empire is pulling slightly ahead on the balance of power. However, I think that's a little bit deceiving, considering that Volkmar is not going to be able to deal with double Dragon Ogre Shaggoth very well. There is a Warrior Priest, but once the Wagons and the firepower is gone, you're going to have to deal with those Shaggies the good old-fashioned way. But for a moment there, the Empire was actually noticeably ahead in the balance of power here. So it's a pretty wild game. Volkmar is really going fisticuffs here, trying his best to hold, but the Shaggoth is getting some really good steady damage. The Empire Greatswords are doing some excellent work, but they're not going to be able to do a whole lot against these big monsters and whatnot. So this is a very, very close game. Here you can see the Wizard is actually broken. So the Bright Wizard is taken out by a group of Hounds and also their big Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. And the Bright Wizard is going to be running for the hills, and now Volkmar has a very tough task ahead of him. He still does have Greatswords on the ground, but Greatswords, like I said, are not very good against monsters. Their melee attack isn't the highest, and Dragon Ogre Shaggoths do have, how much melee defense? 51, wow. That's meaty as hell. So now there's a complete 360. Chaos actually pulls ahead in the balance of power, whereas, you know, a mere 45 seconds ago, the Empire was actually pretty substantially ahead. But it seems like many of the infantry here, the Greatswords and company, aren't quite... I mean, they're winning their fights, but are they going to pay for themselves versus the big monsters? Volkmar is pretty much going to have to stand on top of the Greatswords and just pray, man. He's going to have to pray to Sigmar because these freaking Shaggus are hammering him down here. You can see for the first time his healing cap actually does appear. Soulfire Bombardment, quite nice, able to break off some of those Marauders, and now will the Steel of the Empire be able to hold back the Chaos Hordes? The Greatsword certainly, you know, up to a good solid grind, but if we really look around, there's a bunch of Chaos Hounds lurking, some Spearmen, the Bright Wizard is running for the hills, a Fireball certainly would be very nice, but the Greatswords, like I said, look at this, cutting through Chaos Knights, cutting through Marauders, but yeah, I don't know, Volkmar, I just don't think he's going to be able to carry this, and yeah, I suppose the Pistoliers and the Wagons were really essential, right? Having that firepower to kill the Shaggus, and for most of the game, Dahv was able to protect them and get some really big damage on the Dragon Ogre Shaggots, but at this point, will the Greatswords be able to carry? Probably not, because Warp Chicken is simply going to nuke them with a big final transmutation, and I think that will probably be it for those guys. We'll certainly see. So the fight rages on. Volkmar the Grim is being hunted, and now some of the Hounds are coming back in, but Volkmar probably will be able to instantly terror out those guys. You can see they come in, they get terrified. Volkmar is an anti-infantry character, and you know, Warhounds are considered infantry-sized, unless you're a Norscan Icehound or, you know, there's a couple of other variants which I believe are large, but Volkmar getting the business pretty good. Chaos comes indeed as the Dragon Ogre Shaggots continue to hunt down Volkmar the Grim. It's been a great game, a solid 7 or 8 minute scrap, but Greatswords are just not great. I actually did not mean that pun, I'm so sorry, but they're not super solid against you know, big monsters and things like that. And that's probably going to be the nail in the coffin there. The final transmutation just nails both units of Greatswords. It also hits Volkmar, which, you know, he's somewhat durable against magic, but in general, it's going to be a really, really tough fight. If we look around the battlefield, we do have some Empire Spearmen coming in. Maybe a Volkmar can survive and like bunker on the spears, but I don't think so. You can see the Greatswords are even buckling under the monstrous pressure. And it's just going to be Volkmar. Army losses afflicts the Empire. And Chaos is going to be advancing to round 2. Very well played to both players. It was a good solid scrap. But in the end, Salsicha and the Dark Gods are going to be advancing on to face Bretonnia. So our next match is going to be, not next match, but our first match of the next round is going to be Bretonnia versus the Warriors of Chaos. Yes. I mean, obviously it's easy to, you know, critique in armies in hindsight, but like you can't know what Chaos is going to bring, right? But in this case, like I think bringing some Empire Knights to stop the Hounds from getting on the Pistoliers, because had Dahv's Pistoliers and Wagons survived, he would have probably been able to kill the Shaggots, but he didn't have an answer to all the Chaos Hounds that were just hunting down his skirmishers, it seemed. But I mean, his army was good. Either player could have won that, obviously, too, with other micro decisions and whatnot. It was a great game. Dahv played really well. Salsicha played really well. It was a very GG. So let me go to the Faction War bracket once again. So Salsicha will be advancing. In the second round, we have Bretonnia versus Chaos, which should be quite a bit of fun. One sec, guys. Just need to adjust some settings. All right, guys, and now we're going to be loading into the next match here. It's going to be Wood Elves versus Beastmen. Certainly a very fun DLC matchup from the days of old. So let's get this party started and find this match. Just looking here. Should be around here somewhere. I know you're lurking. We shall find you. Could, of course, load into one of the future games, but let's go ahead and see. There it is. Perfect. Could this be an omen for a Chaos? A Chaos win would be a first. That would be a first, man, if they go all the way to the end. We'll certainly see. So now we have Zyphos against Happy Puppy. So let's go ahead and get the brackets updated here. The nameplates. Happy Puppy spells the name with one P on each side. All right, guys, so it's going to be Zyphos on his Wood Elves. He had a pretty unfortunate run last time. He did have to face off against Vampire Coast, which he mentioned to me is like one of the few matchups that he's actually very uncomfortable with. So in this situation, he's going to be facing Happy Puppy's Beastmen. Beastmen are a faction that I certainly think have some teeth. They have a couple of really bad matchups. I always feel like they struggle against Undead pretty badly. So most of the spooky Undead, I think, are on the other side of the bracket. I'm trying to think of which Undead are on this side. I think maybe Tomb Kings are on this side of the bracket as well. So that probably could be their harder opponent as we do get going. All right. So let's load into the battle here. We got Zyphos against Happy Puppy. Zyphos is going to be leading the forces here of the Wood Elves facing off against the Beastmen of Happy Puppy, who of course loves Khazrak. Oh my god, it is a Khazrak pick. So wagons against Chaos are actually a good call. I do agree with Dahv on that, because Chaos is usually going to be coming in with a ton of Warhounds and mobility and things to shut down your Pistoliers, Outriders, and Handgunners. But wagons are very durable, so though they don't have the damage output of some of those other units, they do have the sustainability to last for most of the game. You'll notice that one of the last things in Dahv's army to go in general, right, were his wagons. They were able to get solid value throughout the course of the entire battle. So it was a really good game. It was a good scrap. So for Happy Puppy, front line is going to be Ungor Spearman Herds. It's also going to be Centaurs on either side, and this is the correct choice. You don't want to get the Centaurs with great weapons. The shielded variant is way better in this matchup. Really good at chasing down the Wood Elf Skirmisher, so we'll see if she's able to catch him. So here we do also have Khazrak One-Eyed, the Meme Lord himself. I'm very eager to see how Khazrak is going to survive against a Wood Elf Dragon. I mean, with Pravenoth Rema plus any sort of focus fire, Khazrak could get buttered pretty bad, but we'll see. And we got a Gorbel in the back, a Bray Shaman of Vile Tide, and Traitor Kin for some slowing, some Harpies, and that is pretty much it for this Beastmen army, guys. He took my eye! I know, it's going to be great. So for the forces of Zyphos, we got Sisters of Thorn and Wild Riders. We got Glade Riders, so you can notice Zyphos actually didn't opt to go with Way Watchers or any ground-based archers, because the Beastmen is so good at swarming. Having your own mobile archers is going to be much more efficient. And, you know, the Glade Guard shouldn't get caught by Centaurs. They have the same speed, and on top of that, they also imbue poison, which is really, really good. A Glade Lord of Pravenoth Rema, Lifecaster, and a bunch of random spears in the back, and that is pretty much going to be it. So this one is really just going to come down to micro engagements. I think both armies are capable of winning. And, you know, honestly, I guess Morker in this matchup in like a kiting situation isn't going to be super useful. So maybe Khazrak does have some teeth here. Yeah. We'll see, man. That's correct. Also, guys, so a fun update while we wait for the players to get started here. I'm currently running a Match Madness or March Madness for this. So if you guys are interested in joining the Discord, one of the mods in chat will drop a link. It's obviously closed for this faction war, but for future faction wars and this one, we're running Match Madness. So players in the Discord, or not players, but anyone in the Discord is allowed to make guesses about who's going to win. Just like March Madness, you say, oh, this matchup's going to win this, blah, blah, blah. You get a point for each correct prediction. And at the end of the stream, I'm going to go and look at them, and the individual who had the most accurate predictions for the tournament is going to be winning a cash prize from myself, which will be between $50 and $100. So yeah, we're doing it, man. I know a lot of people are watching this a little bit more eagerly now, with their predictions being eliminated, some of them advancing. It's a good time for all. So yeah, we'll see, man. Zyphos is ready. Happy Puppy is ready. Going under the name of Furry Trash right now. It's pretty funny. Make sure to stay hydrated, guys. Drink that water. And here comes the dreaded Beastmen. A couple Ungor Raiders as well. Did miss those guys. Yeah, it's nice. I like the Ungor Raiders. They're not a good enough target for the Wood Elf Skirmishers to shoot, and they do give you some like poke against some of the harass, which I think is quite solid. All right, so we'll see if the Beastmen can catch the Wood Elf Vanguard with Zyphos behind the wheel. That's certainly going to be a very tough gambit to catch those guys. I know. Well, just excuse me. Just because you get one prediction wrong doesn't mean you lose. Even if you get your first prediction wrong, you can still get enough predictions right to maybe win, but it's not likely. I'm pretty sure somebody will have accurate predictions, considering there was probably like 50 to 60 I think we had submitted. So yeah, we'll see. No soda water, man, just the basics. So here, the skirmishing phase is underway. We do have the Wood Elves dropping some shots here onto the Beastmen front line. The Ungor Spearman Herds are shielded. So honestly, as far as Happy Puppy's concerned, this is a decent trade here. But the problem is that there might be some sniping of the Lords here. The Bray Shaman of the Wild is hit by the Glade Lord up in the sky. And now you can see the Ungor Raiders are going to be going forward, trying to shoot here. Happy Puppy definitely needs to start advancing and just start corralling the Wood Elves into the corner. So what you want to do is get like a mobile core going up here, some of the other side as well. Because if you just sit here and trade with Zyphos and the Wood Elves, I don't think it's going to go great. Like, you need to corral them, take advantage of your Centaurs, which of course Happy Puppy does have the advantage, right? 4 Centaurs versus 2 Wild Riders and a Sister should be an advantage for Centaurs when backed up by Khazrak with his buffs, as well as a Gorbel and a Bray Shaman. So the Bray Shaman right now is going to be coming forward to cast some Traitor Kin, I think, which actually does do damage in slow, but it looks like the cast is canceled, which I think is prudent. It wasn't a very good kind of target there, considering it would just hit one target. I think you want to probably use Traderkin once you're able to get like a blob fight. But the Beastmen definitely need to advance. Just get everything, start pushing up, start corralling them. Yeah, the damage right now, I mean, it's not insignificant. I mean, but, you know, Ungor Raiders and things like that, they're really cheap, so it's really not that big of a deal if you lose those characters that quickly. And yeah, so far, Zyphos dropping some bows here. The Glade Lord just continuing to snipe the caster here, and the caster is taking some damage. Definitely want to start juking with that caster if you can. But yeah, the Wood Elf Skirmishers are doing some really good damage to the Raiders, but you also have to remember, like, to kill one Ungor Raider right here, those guys pretty much had to use like 40% of their ammunition, right? So it's not like the most devastating archer damage in the world compared to like Way Watchers or things like that. But now they're going into the Raiders once again. The Beastmen are going to be advancing up. You can see Centaurs coming up and around the flank. And the Wood Elf Glade Lord has landed among spears, getting some decent damage, but also some damage is coming back here onto the Glade Lord. For example, now you could drop like a Traderkin and try and slow down the Glade Lord, but it doesn't look like there's any follow-up there, so probably not going to be super pertinent anyways. But ammunition is running a little bit sparse here for these skirmishers. The Glade Lords, or Glade Riders, are about down to 55%, give or take, across the board. But the Beastmen are doing the correct thing now. They're advancing and just doing a bit of a slow push, forcing the ammunition to be wasted into random targets as Zyphos kites. Because if Zyphos is running and kiting, it's much harder to actually give the proper attack orders in the things you want to shoot. But if he's sitting still, he can make sure they're shooting the right target, which is the Ungor Raiders right here. On top of that, the Bray Shaman is getting very, very beat up. Honestly, pulling the Bray Shaman back, hiding it in the trees here would be a very good call. And also you can see that the Gorbel and Khazrak have been left in the Shadow Realm. Obviously, there's lots of micro here, but you definitely need to get those characters back up here and get them involved in combat. But yeah, the Wood Elves are being pushed back. The Glade Lord here getting some really good damage here on the Bray Shaman of the Wild. And yeah, definitely one of my dreaded mistakes is the tactical reserves, but it hasn't really made that big of a deal right now. Khazrak is coming up now, and it looks like the Gorbel is still on vacation, but the Chaos Warhounds with Poison should definitely be flanking and trying to cause some pressure here. In the meantime, Ungor Spearman herds are advancing up and screening back. Wood Elves haven't really taken any damage yet, but again, like, if they run out of ammo, that's going to be a pretty catastrophic situation for them. They'll have to fight the Beastmen in a good old-fashioned fisticuffs, which certainly isn't great for the Wood Elves. So Centaurs with a little bit of an overextend here. Zyphos able to pull back and countercharge in, so Centaurs do opt to take the fight, maybe thinking that they have the spear support, so it'll be okay for them. Gorbel's coming up now as well. Now, this would be the best time for Happy Puppy to get some crazy nukes right here. Like, get the Bray Shaman and use, like, a big Traderkin right here on this blob. The spears are getting some okay poke, but for the most part, the Wood Elves are very, very happy in this situation, and you can see Zyphos is able to collapse in here with the Glade Lord and get some really, really solid damage there. So looking around, we do have the Gorbel coming in. A couple Ungor Raiders have come back from route here. And the Beastmen continuing to push up here, but Zyphos so far has done what he's really good at, right? Like forcing your opponent to overextend, using terror and really good missile play to kind of focus down those threats. But I think it's time for Khazrak to get in there and get dirty, man. Another sniping attempt here on the Bray Shaman of the Wild, who definitely needs to start using some magic at this point. Oh, stabilizes just barely. Very, very close stuff. The Ungor Spears are getting in here, and it looks like there's going to be a cast going off from the Bray Shaman before it breaks, although it looks like the cast may have been canceled there. A little bit hard to say. Apocalyptic Vision from Khazrak is going to be giving some saucy buffs for sure. And now the Beastmen have finally gotten the Wood Elves into the corner. And this is what I'm talking about. They don't have much room to work with here. And you're going to be able to get into fights with their infantry, which is what you want. You want to start just getting into those grinds here. So the Beastmen are going to be taking a huge blob fight here. This is going to be really, really big. But the curse going down from the Sisters of the Thorn, of course. And Scourge going down from Khazrak, which of course does give some buffs to himself at least. But a big breath attack coming into the back. Oh, brutal into the back of those Centaurs. Ungor Raiders and Gorbel. Everyone's pretty much piling in and going all in on this fight. And there's so many Beastmen forces back here that definitely need to get involved. Here you can see the Centaurs are breaking off the Curse of Onrare from the Sisters. Really, really powerful stuff. And now Khazrak, I don't think Khazrak is going to be able to do too much here. Khazrak is going to be charging in, going after the Glade Lord, but yeah, there's no way. Zyphos definitely going to be able to go after that good old Beast Man right there, and you know, give him the business. So if we're looking around, Zyphos seems to be in an extremely dominant position. The Beastmen have been forced to stretch out a couple times, and none of those particular engagements have really gone their way. One way this could perhaps turn around is if Khazrak and the Gorbel were able to, you know, pin down this dragon, maybe get some lethal HP damage, but I don't think that's going to be happening, nor do I really think it's that possible with Zyphos controlling here. And now the dragon is going to be able to bully Khazrak and really just send him to the Shadow Realm. Yeah, you can see Khazrak here is on his chariot, not the best combatant versus a big dragon. We got some hounds coming in as well. Zyphos is about out of ammunition, which of course is affecting the bounce of power, but the Beastmen are looking to be in very, very dire straits right here. Now we got Gorbel coming in. Gorbel is going to get some decent damage. looks like, yeah, getting in charge there on the Glade Lord, certainly not bad. And we do also have some Centaurs coming in, so nice play there. I mean, and I think at this point, this is the time for desperation plays here from Happy Puppy. I think you have to go in, try and goon out a character or a dragon, just pretty much throw all your resources at it. And if you don't succeed, you're probably going to lose, but otherwise, you have no chance, right? So now the last of the Beastmen making a valiant stand right here. Kazrak and company doing their best. But here you can see the Glade Lord up in the sky, going to be dropping some nasty, noxious breath attacks here on Kazrak One Eye. And the dragon, the big Chungus, going to be coming in to finish off Kazrak One Eye. The Meme Lord himself will have fallen. And there you go, man. Wood Elves probably going to be going on to the next round. Gorable, of course, the classic ping pong being launched around. And I just don't see any chance for the Beastmen here. And that's it. Zyphos advances on. GG, well played to Happy Puppy, as well as the Wood Elves led by Zyphos. A solid scrap indeed. But yeah, no, there's no shame in losing to Zyphos' Wood Elves. He is very, very terrifying on his Wood Elves. Probably one of the best Wood Elf players out there. So well played to the pup for bringing Kazrak and trying your best to scrap. It was a good one. And now we will move on. Yes, let us go ahead and update the Faction War bracket. So Zyphos will be advancing on. Zyphos is going to be facing the winner of Romulan Dawg and Jay Phoenix. So either facing the Skaven or the High Elves. All right. Very good. Happy Puppy says, sad Beastmen sounds. No worries. No worries. I'm sure we'll see you back someday as your beloved Beastmen. All right. Loading up the next game here. We got Jay Phoenix versus Romulan Dawg. Romulan Dawg, an OG veteran of Total War Warhammer multiplayer, competitive play. Jay Phoenix as well. Been very active in tournaments and has been performing quite well for Clan RTK. So let's get the brackets all set up. We'll be ready for the next match, man. So Shrimp of Death with, sorry I missed your donation. That was a while ago. 10 BYN. Thanks for all the fun content you're putting out there and wish me luck with my Black Library submission. Hey, good luck, man. Shoot me, if you ever want me to take a look, shoot me a message in Discord. Romulan Dawg. All right. Very good. Start when ready. The best thing about this format is like how quickly the games go. There's like no waiting in lobbies because the players have so much time to prepare their armies. Yeah. Good times indeed. You guys think Chaos is going to make it? Well, our second, or I guess a round of 8, we have Bretonia versus Chaos already, which is a really fun matchup. Questing Knights for Shaggoths and all sorts of cool stuff. Yeah. It's pretty wild, man. So I'm very excited for Blood Bowl 3. When Blood Bowl 3 comes out, I'm going to cover that so hard on the channel, dude. Because I really liked the previous Blood Bowl. I had to stop playing because it was kind of hard on my hand at the time. I was going through a lot of problems before I had my surgery. But now that my hand's a lot better, I'm able to play a lot more than I was before. So I'm very, very excited for Blood Bowl 3 to come out. Hadries in chat, rooting for his beloved Skaven. Hadries, of course, a direct Council of 13 member, I'm sure. Leading his Skaven to a 2-time Faction War victory. But now he can root on his good pal Romulan Dawg as he tries to defend the honor of the Horned Rat. We will see. All right, so let's load into the battle. This is going to be Jay Phoenix facing off against Romulan Dawg. Let's see how this battle unfolds. We got to fix Romulan's name here. It's so long that kind of had trouble fitting there. There we go. Looks good to me. All right, guys. So for the forces here of Jay Phoenix, coming in with Rangers in the front line. Rangers, of course, a very good choice against Skaven. Anti-infantry, and, you know, they can cut through Skaven slaves, clan rats very efficiently. And if they have to fight, like, plague monks, they'll probably lose, but not by that much. And they're also cheaper. So I do like the inclusion of the Rangers. I think it's a very good frontline choice. On top of that, we got some Narnia lines. We got the White Lines of Krace, 2 of those, I think. Yeah, including the Rahagras Pride, which are very good. Rahagras Pride are nice, because if Skaven do go with, like, Doom Flares or Doom Wheels, the Rahagras Pride do have a good enough mass to block them, but more importantly, they also have a slowing ability, which is very nice. Evaniel, good luck, Jay Phoenix. Honor Asuryan with victory. We will see. For the Lord, it's going to be Larry the Radiant on horseback. It's going to be a Noble on a chariot. We got some Narnia chariots as well. And I think 2 bolt throwers were the other inclusions. So, yeah, pretty cool army. Larry, of course, will be very good for healing up the Noble. But aside from that, yeah, I guess healing the Noble and the chariots are probably the best bets here. Yes. So let us know in chat, guys. Who are you rooting for? Are you an heir of Assyrian? Assyrian, I think it is. Yes, Assyrian. You're looking for that glorious High Elf victory, bringing the W back to Ulthuan. Let us know in chat. Or are you a minion, a disciple of the Horned Rat, of the Skaven? Are you pulling for Romulan Dawg? I'm really surprised to see no Doom Wheels from Romulan Dawg. I feel like that's like his staple, but... Oh, wait, there is one. Okay. Yeah, he's got the Wheel of Doom. I was going to say, I don't think Romulan Dawg leaves home without a Doom Wheel here, so... So double Warp Lightning Cannon. However, J Phoenix does have double Bolt Thrower, which should be able to outtrade those Warp Lightning Cannons. So a little bit tricky there, but they still could do some big damage to like the Chariots and the Lions and things like that. Aside from that, he's got Skaven Slaves and Clan Rats, a couple Slingers as well, and Poison Wind Mortars. These guys are just one of the best units in the entire Skaven roster. They pretty much are the reason why Plague Claw Catapults went extinct. So yeah, these guys are going to be efficient against Rangers and some of the other missile assets for sure. We got a Grey Seer Plague on a Bell, some Ogres, the Wheel of Doom, and an Assassin as well. So should be good, guys. The battle is soon to be underway. Foul Ratman, prepare to face the wrath of the Aesir. Parentheses, good luck, have fun. I love the role-playing here from J Phoenix. I think that's awesome. Looking forward to seeing some more of that in action. Yeah, I wouldn't bring a Hell Pit against High Elves, probably. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be down for that. It's hard to say. Dulu, do you think Creative Assembly should add support for competitive multiplayer in Warhammer 3? Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I'm not like... I don't think they're going to add like crazy support, like, you know, like an actual Warcraft or Starcraft type game, but I think they're going to like improve ladder. I'm pretty sure that will happen. I hope it will. I think they'll improve the ladder system. I think they'll obviously maybe add, you know, something that a lot of people have talked about is like an Avatar Conquest type system. I hope we get something like that, but you know, it is what it is, man. I'm just grateful for what we have, but I certainly would appreciate some more support. Thank you so much, Dulu, for the donations. Yeah. The Phoenix King in chat. Wow, the Phoenix King himself has joined, saying, "Fight soldiers of Ulthuan, may Asuryan be with you." It's very inspiring stuff. J Phoenix, I'm sure, hearing the calls of the Phoenix King. Yeah, this is going to be good. I don't know. I think both armies are quite nice. I like the Rangers. I think the Bolt Throwers are a beautiful inclusion here. They're going to be a great counter against the, potentially against the Warp Lightning Cannons. Granted, the Warp Lightning Cannons do have much better range, so you have to kind of work around that. And also on this map, there's some like weird line of sight blocking here with these little sand dunes. Yeah. The High Elves didn't bring a Terror Route, which is definitely a little bit of a mistake against the Skaven. And if you are going to go with Larry, I always feel like you should bring at least, you know, another single entity here. But yeah, like maybe double Noble on Chariot or like a Phoenix of some sort. Just to like have a Terror Route against like Rat Ogres and all those type of things. It can be really nice, but we'll see. We will see. The Bolt Throwers could be big. We do also have Silver Helms in the back. Silver Helms could cause some pretty big disruption. As far as dealing with the Doom Wheel, I guess the Rahagar's Pride and the Narnia lines, plus maybe the Noble and the Chariot can deal with those bad boys. We'll see. Gojira Gaming, no worries, man. No worries. Next time. Romulan Dawg says the bell chimes 13 times. Good luck, have fun. Both players are ready as we load into this battle. This is the last of the 4 first round matches here. Yes. Yes, yes, indeed. You got the Skaven Assassin. He, of course, is standing by. Skaven Assassin should be pretty good against Larry and or the Noble if it's able to get a trophy heads and a ganking attempt there. I don't mind players taking some time. Obviously, there's in a best of one format, you want to make sure everything's perfect because you only have one chance for glory. Skaven versus High Elves. So far, we've had Bretonnia win. We've had Chaos win. We've had the Wood Elves win. And this will be determining the next victor, of course. Falcon in chat with some very solid knowledge. Never enough Doom Wheels, I agree. The Arwar lines, do they cause terror? Maybe so. I couldn't remember if Rahagar's Pride causes terror. Do they? No, they don't. Rahagar's Pride does not cause terror. Yeah, they don't. Only fear. I mean, it's still useful, of course. And they also have a leadership bomb themselves. So, like, you can, you know, pull them in the back and rear charge. And then from there, use the Mighty Roar, which, you know, -8 leadership for Skaven is pretty important. I mean, that's big. Their base values are very, very low. And if I wanted the mods in chat, if you guys could drop a link to the Discord, that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys so much. And now the battle is underway. The High Elves taking up a very, very defensive posture here. And getting ready to do battle. The Skaven, though, I think are quite happy to trade at range. You know, I think 2 Warp Lightning Cannons plus Mortars probably will win the range trade. So what Romulan Dawg is going to do here, he'll probably get his Poison Wind Mortars and his double Warp Lightning Cannons and just focus down one Bolt Thrower at a time, and I think he should win that. With the Poison Wind Mortars being brought into effect, I think 2 Bolt Throwers against 2 Warp Lightnings would be better for the Bolt Throwers, but with the Poison Wind Mortars also being a variable, that's something else to consider. So Larry is going forward, and Larry, she's trying to juke, just waste some of the ammunition here of the Skaven, but now the Mortar teams are going to be coming up. High Elves are advancing out of their defensive posture, and I think that's the wise choice here. You need to get these Silver Helms and these Reavers and get them around the sides and try and maybe punish some Ogres and get into the Warp Lightning Cannons. These are all things that are very, very important here. Warp Lightning Cannons now shooting into the Lion Chariots of Krace. No real contact made yet, and now it looks like the Poison Wind Mortars are going to be dropping some shots. And there's going to be some sort of Witchcraft and Arcane Unforging coming in from J Phoenix. Let's see what kind of damage this does. It actually appears to be doing some okay damage. You don't see that out of Larry too often, but she's doing it, and now Larry's going to be coming in on her horse, unicorn, whatever the hell it is, and going after the Grey Seer and actually getting some good damage. The Grey Seer is going to be pulling back here. Certainly a wise choice. Oh man, the Noble on the Chariot. I look away for 1 second and that dude just gets Shadow Realmed by some of those Warp Lightning Cannons. Nasty, nasty stuff. So the Noble is continuing to hunt, but got to be careful for sure. Those Warp Lightning Cannons are trained pretty hard here onto that Noble. In the back we do have some Stormvermin Halberds. Oh my god, what was this? Oh, it must have been from the Grey Seer of Plague. So the dreaded 13th spell was used here by Romulan Dawg. Oh my god, that's so funny. I didn't even notice that. Anyways, Warp Lightning Cannon still shooting here onto the Noble, getting some solid damage. In the meantime, we do have a bit of a flank engagement as the Reavers and Silver Helms do take a charge onto the Rat Ogres, and it seems like they lose that fight pretty badly as there is some spear support nearby from some of the Clan Rats. Arcane Unforging actually did some good damage here to the Poison Wind Mortars, and now J Phoenix is able to scream in with the Silver Helms and potentially finish off Mortars very early in the game, right? That's huge. That's going to be taking a ton of pressure off the Rangers and some of the other infantry units, which normally would get punished very, very badly by Poison Wind Mortars. Now on the flank, we do have an Earthblood going down, healing up the Noble, and the Narnia Lions are on the hunt. The Rahagor's Pride and the Lion feast tonight. The Lions are hunting this guy down. Certainly quite good. Bolt Thrower shooting the Wheel of Doom as well. We'll see if they're going to be able to get in there, and also you can see some Reavers coming in. If they're able to surround that Doom Wheel, that's going to be a big catch, but Romulan Dawg does have some Clan Rats nearby, and could potentially summon some units here with his Grey Seer of Plague to help out. And it looks like the Doom Wheel is able to get away. Rahagor's Pride Rangers and other units going to be jumping in. Mighty Roar used as well, so this entire pocket is going to be taking a leadership hit. Now back in the center mass, we see J Phoenix trying to get through with the Silver Helms, but they are stopped in their tracks here by the Rat Ogres. The Lion Chariots of Krace still going, but the High Elf Bolt Throwers, like I said, just massive value. J Phoenix has been able to use both Bolt Throwers to finish off one of the Warp Lightning Cannons, and honestly, now if they switch onto this other Warp Lightning Cannon, that's going to be a huge catch. I mean, Warp Lightning Cannons are not cheap. That is a really, really good value for the High Elf roster there. So back to the battle here. Larry going to be dropping a Star of Averlorn. Very nice on those Lion Chariots of Krace. Also on the Noble here. And it looks like J Phoenix is getting some big damage on the Grey Seer. The Skaven leadership is certainly taking quite a hammering. Is Romulan Dawg going to be able to drop some summons and save himself here? Warp Lightning Cannon, the only one that is left, is still shooting into that Noble right there. But the Skaven Lord seems very, very naked and alone here. Granted, he does have some Ogres. But I definitely think the Grey Seer is going to need to drop some summons here or something else. It's shaken right now. 31 leadership taking big damage. Noble Chariots actually have really good AP value, so definitely could be quite rough. J Phoenix also needs to make sure to switch the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers onto the other Warp Lightning Cannon, but oh, look at this in the back. Romulan Dawg able to get some Skaven Slaves back here. And dude, this is such value. I mean, 150 gold taking out like a massive artillery piece is really, really nice. I mean, not massive, but, you know, valuable, right, comparatively speaking. So if we look around, Romulan Dawg able to win this flank engagement, breaking off the Rahagor's Pride and those Nobles. He does also have the Wheels of Doom, but at the cost of his Lord here. So you can see Romulan Dawg's Grey Seer Plague is very, very beat up here, and it looks like the Noble's hot on its tail. 410 HP. Warp Lightning Cannon still going strong, but it looks like it probably will be shut down soon, as J Phoenix is able to use his Silver Helms to shut down the... Well, that was the crew from before, so I guess that's not really that big of a deal, but... The Warlines of Krace with the Nobles, a pretty cool combo. Gives you a little bit of a, you know, anti-infantry with a little bit of extra AP punch. I definitely think it's a cool combo. Larry, though, a little bit trapped up. This could actually be a big chance for Romulan Dawg to get back in the game, because currently Romulan Dawg losing his Lord there definitely gives the High Elves not an advantage. I mean, currently Romulan is ahead on the balance of power, but, you know, with Larry, anything is possible, right? But in this case, Larry's very trapped up. There's a bunch of Rat Ogres kind of beating on her. There's a Skaven Assassin in there. And I think if J Phoenix loses Larry or she gets broken off and runs off the battlefield, that's probably going to be game over. But in this case, a nice blob. Now, does Larry have the Star of Averlorn? That would be so good right here. So it looks like an Earthblood is going to be going down from the High Elves. A Mighty Roar from the Rahagor's Pride. tanking the leadership of all these Skaven slave units. The Romulan Dawg is pouring in with a ton of assets. Rat Ogres and Doomwheel, so many things getting in here to fight, but Larry is indeed broken. And the balance of power is getting more and more Skaven favored. The other Warp Lightning Cannon is still functional, it looks like. Yes, I think. No, it actually looks like it's broken off. So both Warp Lightning Cannons are broken now. The Ranger is able to chase them down, which is quite good, but Romulan Dawg still has a Doomwheel, which I think is going to be a big problem. Like, the only way the High Elves can win the game at this point is, I think, if there's like a big Star of Avalorn right here. But I think Larry's broken, so I don't think that's going to happen. Silverhelm's pushing in, but the Rat Ogres are everywhere. The Doomwheel, of course, causes terror, so, you know, all these different units are going to be terror-routed, like the Rahagri's Pride and the Narnia Lion Chariots. Those guys are going to get pushed off, and I think that's going to be a victory for the Skaven, the Horned Rat. It's going to be advancing on. What a great scrap, man. Wavering due to army losses. Very well played to Jay Phoenix and Romulan. That was a good, proper scrap. A really, really good match. Very technical, very back and forth. I thought the High Elves were ahead at a couple points, but in the end, Romulan Dawg, the OG Skaven veteran, doing the Horned Rat proud. Yep, there you go. Lich 109, she did bring the star, but it was on cooldown. All right. Well played to Jay Phoenix and Romulan Dawg. Let's go to the Faction War bracket. Romulan will be advancing to face Zyphos. It's going to be Skaven versus Wood Elves. That's always a fun one. And then we have Reym versus Umaize. So it's going to be Dwarves versus Norska for our next match. Oh, baby. GG, well played. The bell chimes 13 times. It clangs and tolls. It rattles and rolls. Romulan Dawg dropping some wisdom on us. Very well played, Jay Phoenix and Romulan. And now let us go on to the next match. We have a donation from Lazon Ruin for the Great Horned Rat. Yes, yes. Well, your wishes have come true, my friend. Thank you for your donation. All right, Reym versus Umaize. All right. Let's see what they put here. Trying to guess the password. There we go. Yeah, Dahv versus Norska is a pretty common one. I mean, I think the time before it was Dahv versus Chaos. I can't remember. Yeah, it's been a while. All right, so Reym is on the left side. Umaize is on this side. And again, if you guys want to see who's playing what today, here is a list of all the players who are going to be competing in today's Faction War. And in the meantime, while the players load into this game, I'm going to go grab some water from the kitchen because I am thirsty. Ah, delicious, my friends. Let us know in chat, Dwarves or Norska. So Reym shall be leading the forces of Norska in this matchup. Umaize shall be leading the Dahv. Yes, our sub-faction for today is the Golden Order. In case anybody was wondering. All right, so let's go ahead and fix the name, make it a little bit bigger, and we're all set. Very good. The bell chimes 13 times. It does, Romulan. Well played, man. Hope you had fun in that match. We'll see you in the next round. Make sure to get into a lobby with your opponent. If you know who it is, I believe it's going to be Zyphos. Yeah, Falcon is the last game of the day, I think. I think he's playing against Greenskins. Greenskins versus Lizards is a pretty even matchup, I think, with the new Greenskin buffs. But, you know, it depends on who's playing what, of course. All right, guys. Dwarves, led by Umaize. Norska, led by Reym. Let us know in chat, who are you rooting for? You here to satisfy the grudge, or you here to, you know, punish some Southerners? Let us know, guys. For the forces of Reym, it's going to be a double Marauder Chieftain on Chariot. Or Marauder Shaman Sorcerer, excuse me. One with fire and one with pretty much nothing, or just Plague of Rust. So yeah, I mean, this is always good. It's the same thing High Elves do, but just a little bit less powerful. But yeah, you have the Shaman Sorcerers here with the Chariots. On top of that, we have Wulfric the Wanderer. Wulfric the Wanderer. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm having some allergies today, guys. I'm sorry. But the Big Mammoth is quite good. Obviously, this is a big target, but, you know, it can really punish the Dwarves. It's just really, really powerful. We got Marauder Horsemen with Throwing Axes and double Manticore as well. So it looks like Reym is really expecting a Gyrocopter Air Force. And Dwarves often do go Gyros here, but having triple Marauder Horsemen with Throwing Axes plus double Manticore pretty much gives you everything you need to deal with the Flying Jawi Air Force. So for the front line, it's going to be Berserkers and Marauder, not really going for any AP troops. Rather, Norska is going for troops with more durability and more staying power, right? In doing that, it allows your chariots and your mammoths and your big monsters to really do the heavy lifting. So it looks good. Thank you, Dozer Roman, for becoming a member here on the channel. Welcome to the Dukes of Haggard. Really appreciate your support. And also we have a donation from Wynand saying, let's go Norska, crump those overweight halflings. There you go. The opinions are out. They are out indeed. And now for the dwarves, it's going to be, dwarf warriors in the front, secondary line of Quarrelers, Thunders, and Quarrelers. In the back, we got more Thunders, we got more guns and bows, bows and guns, buns and goes. guns and what? My brain is falling apart. It's basically just a bunch of Thunders. We do also have Quarrelers. And this is very much like seeing Enticity play Vampire Coast, just like a layering of guns in your back line and various missile pieces, which I think is quite cool. Some next level Dowie play, it would seem. And who's his lord? Okay, his lord's hiding in the trees here. Who's it going to be? Oh my god, guys, look. We found the elusive dwarf lord hiding in the trees here. Look at him just sitting in the trees, just trying to hide from the Norskins, waiting to ambush. Yes, glorious stuff indeed. Hey, Dozer Roman, I really appreciate that, man. Faction Wars are probably the most fun format we have here on the channel, too. All right, so we got some role-playing. We got Berek Kazud Kazd I menu. I have no idea what that means. Maybe he's saying the Norskins are back on the menu or something in Dwarvish speak. I have no idea. Buns and goes. I know. Quoted, 2020, baby. So the battle is underway. Norska, of course, will be advancing. So I ran into Umaize the other day on ladder, and he actually played a similar build against me, but I was playing vampire counts, and he brought like 1,000,000 archers. Like his whole army was just rangers, quarrelers, and bugman's rangers, and I thought it was so creative, man, and it was really efficient too as well. Matthias, Oath Gold for the High King Turin. Thank you, man. We'll see if the Oath Gold will be enough to motivate these dwarves as the Norscan hordes of Reym advance upon their position. Reym just says bless you. So I don't know if that's really a Norscan roleplay, but not going to ask any questions there. Yeah, and the Dwarf Lord is emerging from his tree. Apparently he was meditating inside the tree, and now he's going to be coming out to do battle here. The reason why you bring the Rune Lord is, number one, he's very cheap, so he allows you to get more missiles. And number two, he has Rune of Wrath and Ruin, Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin, which is really good for slowing down chariots and other things like that. So we'll see how it goes. Satisfy the grudge. They've wronged us. To the High King. I know. I'm torn here. Dwarves are definitely one of my favorite factions. But I really like both these players, obviously. So, I'm not picking any favorites here. But, I always appreciate seeing a good Dwarven victory. Norska has almost won a faction war. We had Norska get to the grand finals against Hadries. So, Hadries was playing Skaven, and I believe Zardar Total War was playing Norska. And I think it was a 2-1 series. Hadries ended up winning in the end, but Norska does have the teeth to get to the finals for sure. I mean, Norska is a pretty powerful faction. They have some matchups which aren't, perfect, but I think they're pretty solid. So Fireball coming in, and, oh, man. Fireball, oh my god, look at that. Talk about a value Fireball. Kills 9 Dwarf Warriors, kills 18 Thunderers, and then takes out 6 Quarrelers there on the end of that Fireball. Dude, that was like some MLG Fireball right there. Yeah, look at that. So the main battle will be underway soon. Longbeards should handedly defeat these Marauders. And Dwarf Warriors, I think, probably defeat Marauders as well in combat with their armor. And now Umaize is going to be shooting here from the flank using his Quarrelers to just start peppering in. The Berserkers are going to be taking a wide route. The reason why he's going wide with the Berserkers is probably to avoid the initial missile fire. But Reym looks to be getting these Marauder Berserkers, going to be pouring in, trying to overload this position. 1 man score has been used here to shut down the Quarrelers, and it looks like a Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin has been used. But the Dwarf Coast here, the Dwarf Pyre Coast style of play, very, very good for fending off monsters, right? Because you have so much crossfire. Now, as far as this frontline engagement goes, Norska being massacred here. You can see the Marauders being pushed back and already breaking, but a nice Sea Fang coming down. Look at that. Goes right through those Thunders, but doesn't quite make it to the other Quarrelers there. So just shows the strength of not having that type of a boxed line to really be hit by AoEs and whatnot. So now the Dwarven missile pieces are shooting into Manticores. Thunder is shooting in as well. 1 Manticore is getting punished very, very badly. Umaize's gunline in pretty good shape. And now that he's fended off the Norscan threat from this side, he can pull in his troops from reserve here and start getting ready to fight. But Big Chungus is coming into the back line. The Mammoth is certainly ready to go. It looks like Marked by Ulthar is going to be going down. So the Ulthar's Raider is able to make him much weaker to missile play. This 1 man score, of course, is pretty much punished off. These are Quarrelers, which are kind of like Dwarf Warriors. But 1 man score going down already. Norska going to be jumping in with his throwing axes, getting into combat with those Quarrelers there. But Quarrelers should be able to endure that pretty well. And now the dwarves are shooting quite happily. I mean, all their missiles are not being shut down. That mammoth is getting wrecked by that firepower. The marks by Ulthar are putting its armor down to 40, also lowering its missile resist. And the Norscan infantry are now getting into combat. Berserkers piling in, but so far it seems like the dwarves are in a pretty commanding position as the Dwarf Pyre Coast is continuing to go. And this is, you know, you see this with Vampire Coast, right? Like kind of like layering a missile unit spread out, covering one another. And it seems like with dwarves, it can be pretty efficient as well. This Feral Manticore is being punished pretty good. Looks like another fireball coming in, and the dwarves are certainly pulling ahead on the balance of power here as the big mammoth is getting very low. However, a big however, missile builds like this, if you're able to close the distance, like, you know, and start saturating them with a ton of berserkers and infantry, Reym is certainly not out of this game yet. I'd say he's still in a very, very decent position. Once the berserkers get through these initial waves, you know, it could be a big problem for the dwarves for sure. And what Umaize needs to do is get these dwarf warriors and other assets to come put up a screen against the advancing berserkers, because those guys appear to be doing some big, big damage. So that Manticore, I believe, is pretty much broken off. Yeah, that Manticore's done for now. And now all the dwarf missiles with the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin, putting the mammoth down to 15 speed. Wulfric is just snail's pace right now, and he is taking a ton of damage. Brutal stuff for sure. And here comes another Seafang right there. Yeah, very nice cast. We have Zardar saying Turin, Barak, Khazud, Imenu is Dwarvish and Lord of the Rings. It's their battle cry. Ah, pretty badass, man. I had no idea. Thank you for letting me know, brother. And now you can see Wulfric the Wanderer going to be using the Scroll of Shielding from one of his shamans to make him a little bit less vulnerable to those missiles. Berserkers are piling in, and we do also have the Shaman Sorcerer's Metal, as well as the Feral Manticore jumping in to attack some of the guns here, and the Dwarven guns will be running, but that's the thing, you know, just drown them in guns and bows, man. And it seems to be working pretty well as the Berserkers are now taking some heavy crossfire, and the Dwarven infantry that did win the engagement here in this section of the battlefield are now piling in and should be able to, you know, crush these Marauders and various units right here in combat. Here comes the Shaman Sorcerer of Fire, piling in on top of those Quarrelers right there, and doing the dirty business. One Manticore in the back as well, and now the Dwarves are being compromised from many positions. Berserkers have gotten into the cookie jar on many fronts. Wulfric is safe for now. And if the Dwarven missiles are shut down and all that's left are Dwarven infantry, it could be a way for the Norskins to you know, come in with the mammoth and just kind of clean up shop here. But here you can see the Berserkers are taking a lot of damage from the combined fires of the Dwarven army. And these Marauder Berserkers shouldn't be long. Yeah, you can see their leadership's 2, -4, very, very low at this point. And Orska's doing its best to kind of bounce around, but there's just so many damn missiles for the Dwarves that, like, even if they get one, there's like 10 other ones shooting them, which is kind of one of the big strengths of going with like a Lord that is, you know, a Rune Lord. Seals06, thank you so much for the $50 donation. Really appreciate that. That will help me pay for the March Madness bracket prize. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. It's very generous of you, Seals06. I don't see a message, but nonetheless, really appreciate the support, bud. So Norska coming in once again. It's a very, very close game here between Reym and Umaize. Umaize still does have his Rune Lord, probably out of Runes of Wrath and Ruin. Marauder Horsemen are being broken. Oh, and that Manticore just getting gadded down right now, shattering and running for the hills. And here you can even see the Shaman Sorcerer is being dragged down by a bunch of Dwarf Warriors. I think there might even be some Slayers mixed in there, but he's wavering right now. Umaize is pretty much in a dominant position here. Reym is going to have to pull in Wulfric here for one final attempt, but I think the Dwarves have so many missiles here that I don't think there's going to be enough to stop them. And here the Shaman Sorcerer advances on. Or not the Shaman Sorcerer, Wulfric, excuse me, but the last of the Dragonback Slayers. All 7 of these proud Jawi intercept, a couple of them being mulched there upon impact. Looks like 3, but they are able to apply their slowing effect to the Mammoth, which is, you know, pretty substantial. Good to buy time for all these various missiles to turn and shoot at the Mammoth. One Shaman Sorcerer is still going strong. One Feral Manticore is afflicted by the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Should probably be dragged down here by Dwarf Warriors. Manticores aren't, you know, the tankiest. 45 armor, 34 melee defense. It's they're not going to last super long in combat here. And now Wulfric is running for the tree line. He's like, screw this shit. I'm going back to the frozen north. It's too warm for me here anyways. I do not enjoy Norscan wine. And, yeah, 117, negative of 117 leadership. He is going to break. Well played, guys. And the Dwarves advance on. Solid game by Reym and Umaize, but the Dawi will march on. The High King continues on his conquest of the forces of chaos. Very well played. And now, my friends, we can go ahead and update the bracket. So Dulu says 1,500 people watching live on Saturday noon. Hey, CA, wake up and show some love to your multiplayer community. I'm sure they will. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Dulu. And now, my friends, let us update the bracket. So it's Umaize. Umaize will be facing the winner of Aerocrastic and Pugnobon. So next up, we have the Midnight Aerocracy, Aerocrastic on the vampire counts, facing off against Pugnobon's Tomb Kings, which should be very fun. Quite excited for this. All right, so let's go ahead and load into the next match. Who says I need time to rest my tired voice? We'll keep going. That was a really good game. Well played, Reym. I liked Reym's build for sure. I think having some Marauders with great opens could have helped too. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that great at Norska these days. All right, let's jump over. Here we go. Dude, I know. Reym's fireballs were so good. Oh my god. That Shaman Sorcerer just racketing the fireball kills. It was glorious. All right, let's get this next match set. A Small Chicken, thank you for the $5 donation. He says, this is the way. It is indeed. Thank you, Small Chicken, for your donation. Appreciate that. So let's get the nameplates all set up. Aerocrastic facing off against Pugnobon. I think it's Pugnobon. I would say Nabone, but I think it's Pugnobon. Start when ready. Hey. So good luck to Aerocrastic and Pugnobon. Should be fun. Vampire counts versus Tomb Kings. I've always felt like this is a pretty even matchup. While they load in, let me go grab some water. Well, there's not going to be any Aero Titan today. Well, maybe from his opponent. We'll see. All right, I'm back. The boys are back in town, baby. Let's go ahead and load into the game and see what's cracking. All right, everything's looking good. I know we had a Dahv victory, man. A win for the Dwarves cures depression. Yeah, it was a great match. It was really, really good. All right, guys, and now for the forces here of Aerocrastic, two-time ever-chosen champion, coming in to claim a Faction War title. Here in the front line, he does have Skeleton Warriors in the front, mixed with some Graveguard with great weapons to get a little bit of extra AP in the matchup. He's got some Crypt Horrors as well. I love seeing some Crypt Horrors. These guys are pretty cool and have enough mass to actually, I believe they beat Ushabti in combat. And on top of that, they give you mass to fight Scorpions and trap in big monsters. So for example, if you're like Terrorgeist is fighting another monster, you can pull in a Crypt Horror to actually go and, you know, just get in there and box with the monsters and trap them in place, which I think is quite cool. Corpse Cart in the back, zombies. Zombie. And double Vargas. Now, I actually do use a single Vargas in this matchup in my own build, so I'm really happy to see Aerocrastic bringing a couple as well. They're really, really good at cycle charging lightly armored units. So, for example, Tomb Guard Halberds, Tomb Guards, if they're like fighting like some skeletons or zombies and you keep cycle charging them with Vargas, man, you can take them down really quickly. On top of that, Vargas are actually a pretty good pursuit tool against skeleton archers as well as Ushabti Grepo. So I love this pick here. On top of that, we got a Terrorgeist, and we do also have a Vampire Lord. A basic Vampire Lord? What? Wait, what? A basic Vampire Lord? I guess he's just going for a very cheap character. That's like one of the cheapest ones you can get, I guess. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, the Midnight Aristocracy. I know, it's really good. So guys, for the Forces of Pugnobon, going to be going for a box here. He's got Tomb Guard's Halberds. He does also have more Tomb Guard back here. He's got Cetra, the Imperishable, on the Chariot of the Gods. Oh, hell yeah. Sepulchral Stalkers, the Sphinx of Usef here, and Ushabti in the front to fight back the infantry. Yeah, pretty classic stuff. I mean, I like the Stalkers. I think they're good. I think that the Sphinx is also a really big staple in this matchup. It's extremely powerful. Does fire damage, can really kill vampire monsters and lords pretty quickly if you're not careful. But you got to watch out if you have a box like this. Vampire count players are usually known for their good breath attacks, so dropping them right down the pipe and getting good value there. So he's really got to be cognizant to make sure he doesn't get caught with those, or else he's just going to be losing his halberds super, super quick. Yeah, I'm surprised about the Vampire Lord pick. I don't know if he's memeing or if he's... I don't think he is. I think he's just going for the Vampire Lord because it's like the cheapest, and maybe it allowed him to get a little bit more width in his army. I mean, the basic Vampire Lord is much cheaper than the other ones, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. We will see. The Chim King's box is a sarcophagus. I know, it kind of is, isn't it? But yeah, I mean... There's not really any range in this army, so like camping back here with the box doesn't really make too much of a difference. He could be like right up front, it wouldn't matter. But yeah, I mean, this is totally a fine position. Generic Vampire Lord counts. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the Helm of Discord. That's the thing. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord gives you Helm of Discord here. I'm also a huge fan of the Lamian Vampire Lord here because Pendulum is really good against boxes. and she also has Seduction as well as Lightning Fast Reflexes, all of which are like insanely good abilities. Legion says it costs basically the same as the Necrarch / Von Karstein Lord. Yeah. There's like 100 difference. Okay, thanks for the heads up there, Legion. Appreciate it. All right, so the vampire counts are moving on. Coming to fight the Tomb Kings. It's going to be a bit of a slow grind here, as our first October factions, the spooky undead factions, are going to be pitted against one another here in this round 1 game, which should be good and tasty. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's just doing it as a meme. I'm not sure. Because, yeah, like, if what you guys are saying is true, he could have cut, like, some zombies and gotten a much better Lord, which would have been worth it. But, yeah, I think he's just kind of messing around here. I'm not sure. I mean, but the rest of his army seems good. I do like the Vargeist in this matchup. I think they're very efficient at charging down, like, these guys. I mean, you don't want to stay in sustained combat versus Tomb Guard Halberds, but, like, if you're able to get them while they're fighting something else. The Cryptors should also be quite good against Ushopti at wearing them down. What's the model count? I think 12 for Ushopti, and Cryptors have 12 as well. So here comes the Tomb Kings advancing. Cetra the Imperishable on his chariot is ready. The winner of this matchup is going to have to face the Dwarves. So I would say between these two factions, the Vampire Counts probably have the better matchup against Dwarves. I think Dwarves have a slight advantage versus both Tomb Kings and Vampire Counts. But I would rather play against Dwarves with Vampire Counts than I would with Tomb Kings. I feel like Tomb Kings I always have a much harder time against the Proud Dowie. That's just my 2 cents, though. That's my 2 cents. So here comes the Undead. The Graveguard with great weapons surge forward. In the back, the Undead Vultures wait. The Vargeist are lurking, preparing to dive and attack some of these guys here on the ground. We'll see how that goes. But let us know in chat before the fighting starts. Who are you rooting for? The Midnight Aerocrastic? Or are you rooting for Pugnobon and his beloved Tomb Kings? Now, a very bold move here, charging in here with the Vargeist. And now going to be pulling back, but he might lose a couple Vargeist models. Granted, Invocation of Nehek is a thing, and he can certainly resurrect them. But oh my god, that one Vargeist just got uppercutted. Got KO'd by the Sphinx. And I don't think that charge ended up being worth it. I understand the principle of like trying to distract your opponent and, you know, cause some drama here and there. But in the end, it looks like he loses 4 Vargeist and might even lose a model outright, like one of these units with Crumbling, who knows. But now the frontline engagement is underway. Cryptor is going to be getting into these skeleton warriors and crumping them pretty good, but Ushopti do countercharge them. But of course, the Cryptors, I think, will have the advantage with the poison. They also have the better infantry with the Graveguard, and now the Vargeist are out of combat. And I think Arrow is going to be lining up a breath attack here. You can see he's kind of waiting for it. Where's it going to go? Oh, a big noxious breath going down the pipe. And it does okay damage, not as much. I think going after the Tomb Guard Halberds might have been the safer play. And now he's going to be collapsing on this formation. So what Arrow's going to do here, he'll attack and he'll summon zombies right here. That should be the play. But, I mean, the Vargeist rear charging does break those skeletons really quickly, but he needs a skeleton summon on top of the Sepulchral Stalkers to keep them from shooting here. Incantation of Desiccation going down from Pugnobon. Going to be getting a nice, big AoE debuff on this blob, but it looks like Arrow is able to get away with some of his Vargeists. Yeah, one unit pulls back, the other unit is still pretty healthy. This could be a good Invocation of Nehek position. The Terror guy's pushing it as well, and these Ushopti are starting to break down. In the meantime, the big old War Sphinx is actually, or Necro Sphinx, is going after the Corpse Cart, which is interesting. And the Vampire Lord opting to take the fight, but a good gooning attempt here by Arrow. He gets the 2v1. He gets the Vampire Lord plus the Goose, and on top of that, he also gets his Vargeist. So he gets a full surround. Beautiful, beautiful isolation attempt there by Aerocrastic. And now the big Sphinx is kind of trapped here. Now, if this were like a Blood Dragon Lord or something and a Helm of Discord were active, this guy would be getting crumped incredibly hard. On top of that, it looks like these Sepulchral Stalkers are obstructed and not shooting, which is a bit of a problem. But cycle charging here on the big boy is proving to be really strong. And he's going for an overhead breath attack. Oh, right down the pipe. Nice breath. Big damage there on the Sphinx, who does get the Nero's Incantation of Protection to get some physical resist. It won't help you against breath attacks, which do magic damage. But so far, it's actually a pretty even battle. But here you can see Cetra is taking quite a bit of damage. In terms of the leadership department, it seems to be going pretty well here for the vampires. However, look at that. The Sphinx getting a ton of damage on the Terrorgeist. The Goose is taking a beating. That's probably because Cetra is here as well. And Cetra does do fire damage and is really, really getting in there and poking pretty well. Here we do have some of the Sepulchral Stalkers shooting, and the Graveguard and Cryptors pushing through the front line, which you can see here the Graveguard and Cryptors are winning the main fight in the melee pretty handedly, but balance of power is still pretty even, maybe slightly Vampire Count favored. I would say it's really, really damn close. And here you have the Vampire Lord pushing in and rear charging the Ushopti here, but you got to be careful, man. If you get trapped and rear charge here by the big old Sphinx and also the Sepulchral Stalkers are shooting you, things can get very ugly. Cetra does drop his curse there. not intentionally, he gets dropped below 50%. And now finally we get a zombie summon on top of those stalkers, which is definitely very, very needed here to keep them from shooting. But the thing is, like, though the monster fight is somewhat even, I would say Aero is even doing a little bit better in the monster fight. The infantry and ground fight is going better for vampires as well. The Graveguard and Cryptors are defeating the Ushabti, and Aero has been doing a lot of heavy harass on the Ushabti lines. But now we have another big engagement. We have the Vampire Lord battling Setra the Imperishable. Looks like a breath attack maybe from the Goose getting set up here in the sky. But the Terrorgeist is looking. Where's it going to be going? Oh, he's pulling up. Where's he going? He's thinking about it, going after Setra. So Setra is going to be getting attacked here. Vampire Lord's still pretty healthy, but that could change in a second with the, of course, Setra plus the big Sphinx attacking here. Single target invocation being used on the Vampire Lord. I guess Aero didn't want to risk crashing the game when he feels like he's already ahead here. So the Vampire Lord is pulling back now, and the Terrorgeist continuing to nip at the heels. And just like I said to you guys earlier, this is one reason why Cryptors are so good. They have good enough mass to like block things up. So pulling back the Cryptors here is definitely a very, very good play. As far as the Tomb King's lines go, Tomb Guard with Halberds are now engaged, but Graveguard with Grey Opens with their bonus first infantry are winning many of those engagements. And on top of that, Aerocrastic was able to get zombies, Corpse Guard, and also some horrors back here to attack the Sepulchral Stalkers, which takes away the fire support here for the Tomb King monsters. And I think that's game. Oh, Breath Attack of the Gods going right down the pipe there. 350 HP, the Goose and the Vampire Lord able to crump the Sphinx. This thing has got to be crumbling here in a second. Negative 62 leadership, and down it goes. And with that, I think the hopes of the Tomb Kings follow. I think Setra is very, very low and isn't going to be able to carry this. He's lurking here, but no, either of the vampire monsters could defeat him at this point. Sepulchral Stalkers are 100% shut down, and it looks like the Midnight Aristocracy is going to be advancing on. The Vampire Council will most likely win this game. I mean, let's see. Is there any hope here for Tomb Kings? Let's take a really solid analysis here. So we got Halberds, we got Spears. Stalkers in the back line are being shut down and killed. That's a big loss. And on top of that, the Ushabti summon is active and is being kited. Yeah, this game is pretty much over in my opinion. But I have to say, the matches today have all been very, very long and solid indeed. You know, the thing about playing Undead is you don't really see tactical reserves because they're units like, you know, usually that happens. I mean, it can happen, but it's less common for sure. Here comes the Vampire Lord, swooping into the back, going after the Sepulchral Stalkers. You can see here, getting very, very low. Cryptors, of course, applying poison, so their speed right now is only 38, so they couldn't even really run if they wanted to. The Sternsman still pushing in. Ushabti summon will be disappearing here in about 15 to 20 seconds. The Tomb Kings going for pretty much their last hoorah. Pushing in with Setra and the last of their troops, trying to get a lucky gooning here on the Vampire Lord. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Vargheists are a really cool inclusion, though. I mean, they give you really good pinning mass, too, and Aerocrastic is really, really good at that. We actually saw him do that in Everchosen many times, where he would, like, trap people's lords. In these, like, monster fight matchups, I feel like he's really good at getting those proper monster/lord engagements. So there goes Setra. Surrounded here, Sepulchral Stalkers are getting crumped down, and one of the spooky factions is going to be defeating the other, as the Vampire Counts take the victory here. Yeah, Varghei's definitely a curveball, man. I thought they were pretty badass, though, for sure. A really useful tool for just, like, chasing, harassing, cycle charging, pinning things in place. One last breath attack, and Setra goes down. He gets blasted. The Chariot of the Gods has fallen. And the Servants of the Night claim victory over the Tomb Kings. Well played, Aerocrastic. The Midnight Aristocracy will be advancing on. Yeah, well played, man. That was a good, proper scrap. A lot of you know, underdog factions winning today. Oh no, not the dreaded Screen of Doom. Thankfully, I have a scheme for that. I just got to restart the game. All right, it's fine. So we'll go to the faction war bracket. Aerocrastic will advance on. It's going to be Dwarves versus Vampire Counts. Then we have Enticity versus Red Legion. The Golden Order coming in hot. All right, I just got to close down my Warhammer game here because it's probably bugging out on me. Not responding. Classic. CA, please. All right, so we're loading it back up. Garrett Ratchford, hey Turin, is there a good narrow build for Bretonnia for people who aren't as good at managing a ton of routing units? That's hard. Bretonnia is a faction in which you need to be really good at managing routing units and also cycle charging. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend Bretonnia. If it sounds like you should play Lizardmen, and if you do, if you're looking for like a narrow build, go Lizardmen and just go Temple Guard, Brona's Time Warp, Slan, with a couple dinosaurs and like Cav, depending on the matchups. That's like a really classic, like, or Saurus with Barona's Time Warp. Bretonnia isn't really like an elite faction. They kind of can play that way. I guess you could go with like a Grail Guardian blob, but I don't think it's the best way to play Bretonnia. Like in every matchup, of course. But thank you so much, Garrett, for the donation. Carolus Martellus, all hail the midnight aristocracy. I know, man. I know. It's so good. Okay. So now, my friends, we have Enticity versus Red Legion. We have the Golden Order versus the dreaded Vampire Coast. The one faction that nobody wants to face. All right. Start when ready. Good luck, have fun. Carolus, thank you again for the donation, man. Dahv versus Vampires. Yeah, it's an even one now. I used to think that Dahv versus Vampires was pretty favored for dwarves, but I've been taught a few lessons lately with that matchup. I think Vampires can certainly win it. It takes a lot of good micro and good breath attacks, but it can be done. Yeah. I was playing multiplayer yesterday and I kept on getting bonked by cav builds. How do I deal with this? It depends. Sneaky Snake, you'd have to tell me which faction you're playing as. So just retype your question, but with the faction you're playing as, and I can tell you. I feel like Sigvald should have Seduction, yeah. Is the map at least in Astalia? Oh, I should have done that. I should have done the Astalian Tomb. Honestly, if I were Red Legion, I probably wouldn't even bother with with Gelt in this matchup. He's pretty useless here. I mean, I guess, bringing Plague of Rust against like crabs can be good. Hold on, guys. I'm just getting the nameplates all set up, and then we'll jump into the game. All right. Cool, man. Let's do it. Gelt's coming in with the steel chair. Usually Coast can go 4 Sirens and 2 big crabs, and then they're solid. Yeah. It looks like he did that to an extent, but Enticity is more of a gunline player. It's very rare that you see him actually go with crabs. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it a couple times, but... So for the forces here of the Red Legion, he's got an unbreakable front line, Sigmar Sons and Flagellants, which I think is a very, very good choice. And in the back, he's got Huntsman. This is very standard. Very standard. Huntsman can deal with pretty much all the coast monsters and can outrange the guns, I think, but just barely. But yeah, Huntsmen are always a pretty good choice. Aside from that, he does have more Spearmen. He's got a Bright Wizard with Burning Head, Fireball, and Flaming Sword of Ruin. A Warrior Priest, and it looks like an Arch-Lector. Yeah, you see, this is good. I think that's better than Gelt. And in the back here, we got a Triple Empire Knight. Yeah, it's a good build. Honestly, it's not a bad build. I think he has a chance. It's really going to come down to his execution, his focus fire, and his burning heads and those type of things. It's really, really important against Coast. Well, let's do it to it, man. Let's have some fun. For the forces of Enticity, he's got 2 Scurvy Doggos, which are going to be pretty big. And for the sake of the Empire, they really need to make sure they don't get into the cookie jar. In the front line, it's going to be a couple zombie deck-end mobs, Count Noctiluss for the summons, bombers to kill pretty much anything they get in contact with. Zombie part handgun mobs, which are really good against pretty much heavy cavalry, shooting infantry, focusing lords. They do struggle a little bit against bows, but if Enticity is advancing well enough and pushing Red Legion back, he should be able to close the distance. And last but not least, a great inclusion here of Deck Gunners. Deck Gunners are just aces in this matchup. 245 range lets them counter the bow units, right? Because they can outrange the bow units, they can focus them down, they can also shoot heavy cav and lords. Deck Gunners are very, very solid in this matchup, so I dig it. So let us know in chat, are you rooting for the Golden Order, who shall be led by Red Legion? Or are you pulling for the dreaded Vampire Coast, Enticity coming back once again to reclaim his faction war throne, which he has won in the past? Yes. Sending spooky vibes to support Enticity. Yeah. This is a classic Enticity build for sure. A lot of guns. A lot of guns, lots of doggos, very wide. Which, the Empire... I would say the Empire is probably like even in this matchup or slightly favored, but when you're playing Golden Order and you don't have access to, Volkmar and some of the better lords, it might not be so. It also depends on who's playing too, right? Like Enticity, I think, would probably be happy to go against Empire. Like he's just so practiced with Coast. The one matchup you really don't want with Coast though is Dwarves. Like Dwarves is just a hard counter. It's almost impossible to win. I mean, you can, but you really got to outplay your opponent and outpick them. Hey, what's up, Flying Taco? How's it going, man? For Sigmar, I know. It's pretty hard to root against the Golden Order. Yeah. So the Golden Order is coming. He better be very careful not to overextend with his characters here, because Enticity's firepower could just like literally one-shot his characters. I mean, triple Deck Gunners focusing his caster or anything like that could be really devastating. The Bombers, yeah, he's got to kill the Bombers too. Here we do have the Sterling's Revenge. Oh, he's got the Sterling's Revenge. That's pretty badass. Anyways, Flagellant's now going to be getting focused pretty bad. You can see these shirtless dudes. I mean, not what they want to be doing with their days. Just getting focused down by a ton of deck gunners and handgunners. They are going to get peppered so bad with the second volley as they get closer. Because the gunnery mobs are not terribly accurate. Here you can see a summon from Count Noctilus being dropped, but it looks like the Empire characters are going to be intercepting, trying to shut it down. He really needs to make sure the scurvy dogs don't get into his lines, because if they do, yeah, and look at this, a little bit of a misplay already from Red Legion. We get the Empire Knights caught by the Sirens. He needs to pull back and defend his lines because the scurvy dogs are going to come screaming through here. And man, oh man, those Flagellants are getting punished. That is some brutality right there. Sigmar Sun's now engaging though. Bombs coming down here against these Flagellants, and they instantly lose half HP. But thankfully for them, they're unbreakable, so should be able to get in there and still, you know, get their grind on. Oh, a burning head coming in from Red Legion. Really nice right there. It actually tears through both deckhand mobs, but it might partially get the Sigmar Suns, but they're bathing in the glorious fire of Sigmar, so no problems there. Now right here, we do have some doggos coming in. Red Legion definitely needs to grab his Empire Knights and intercept these guys, because currently it's not going terribly for him. He's been able to break through the front line. He does have Sigmar Suns advancing into the back line, but, you know, if the dogs are able to just kill his Huntsman, he's just going to lose outright. Like, there won't be much hope for him. So here, the Huntsman getting compromised. The Empire Knights are up in the front, stopping some gunnery mobs, which are just summons, so he needs to pull back here and save these guys for sure. Balance of power is relatively even, but I would say definitely getting more and more coast favored as this does progress, with the scurvy dogs getting picks in the back. Scurvy dogs able to get big damage against Huntsman, you know, maybe finish off Sterling's Revenge. And Anticity's gunline is just happily cackling. Oh my god, those Empire Knights getting destroyed by that firepower. Brutal stuff. And the Flagellants doing their thing. 2 left here, 23 Sigmar Suns. These Flagellants have been able to break through the bombers and these halberds and are doing some solid work. But I don't think there's much hope for the Empire at this point. I know it might seem like it's early to call it, but it seems like they're just taking massive casualties across the board. And the fact that the scurvy dogs are running rampant in their lines is pretty disastrous for sure. There is game sound on right now. There is game sound, yeah. Is the game sound off or is it just you? Should be on. Huh, how did it get turned off again? I swear I turned it on earlier. That's very strange. Sorry about that, guys. We'll turn it up a little bit. Here we go. Let's do this. That might be pretty loud, but we'll play it by ear. Huh. That's very strange. Sorry about that, guys. It was off at the beginning of the stream, and then I turned it on, but maybe I just didn't click confirm or something. Yeah, or maybe I hit a hotkey on my keyboard, which I always do on accident, so. Yeah, looking like there are some Empire Knights in the back, trying to sweep up the Hounds, but Anticity's Hound Micro is second to none. He's able to get on those Huntsmen and really hunt them down. And with the Huntsman alive, right, it gives you answers against the guns, but with the Huntsman being gone, like, you're pretty much at the mercy of the Vampire Coast gun line, and you have to advance into them, and you're going to have to pay the Troll Toll, man. These Flagellants have done really well. They took out some bombers and probably will finish off some deckhand mobs here, perhaps. But man, all 3 deck gunners being functional at this point, blasting into these Empire Knights. Very, very painful stuff. Hey, Blake Colburn, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Oh, I restarted the game, so it turned off again. That's weird. Very, very strange stuff, but it should be on now, if I'm not mistaken. Let me turn on the sound and check for myself. Ah. Yeah, it's on. We're golden. We're golden, my friends. The Golden Order. Yes, the pun completely intended. Nonetheless, though, the Archlector is trying to find some good engagements, but every time he gets close, the Anticity gunline clamps its jaws even tighter on the neck here of the Golden Order. Looks like a Burning Head attempt coming in. This is good here from the Red Legion. Does go down through those deckhand mobs. Might get the second one, but Anticity is able to see it instantly. And he does dodge it, and that's going to be a quick one for the dreaded coast. Yeah, man. Brutal game indeed. Brutal game indeed. So the rest of the faction war trembles and despairs as the Vampire Coast does advance on. Let us minimize, update the bracket. So now it's going to be Enticity facing off against either Falcon or Chosen One on the bottom side here. So let's get this party started, guys, as we load into the next match. Press F for the Golden Order. GG, well played. GG, well played indeed. Yeah, the Hounds needed to be stopped. Like, the Hounds rampaging was just too much. Like, that when that happens, you just kind of lose. Because you need your bows to defeat their... Usually, from Empire, you see even more cross... You see, like, more guns, more bows. Like 6 or 7 in total. Yeah. Alright, guys, and now we go to Falcon versus the Chosen One. Oh my god, I love it. Let's get in there, man. And we're loaded, so it's going to be Falcon versus Chosen One. Chosen One! Chosen one. Yes. Perfect. So both the guys when I join are like, oh no, Enticity got through, we're in trouble. Honestly though, I mean, I feel like Greenskins have a better matchup versus Coast, I think. Greenskins have some really good tools against them. Lizardmen, I think, is harder versus Coast. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents, though. The players choose their faction. So what I do is I generally just, you know, people will ask me if they can play, and then I, you know, if they're, you know, have done well in tournaments or have some multiplayer experience, I ask them what their best faction is, and then they just play their best faction, so. Yeah. Chosen one! I know, it's so good. We trained him wrong, as a joke. Dude, Kung Pao is one of the greatest movies of all time. Oh, yeah, buddy. Alright. Let's load into the battle here. And here we go. It is Falcon versus Chosen One. A Royal Rumble. A rematch, actually. I think they played in one of my qualifiers recently, which is quite cool. You did a synchronized Chosen One with me? Nice, dude. Hell yeah. Alright, guys, so let's take a look here at the armies of Falcon. He's going to be going with skink cohorts. The red-crested skinks, RORs, plus a couple Saurus as well. Saurus, of course, very up to the task of fighting baseline greenskin troops. He's got an Ark of Sotek. Oh, baby, talk dirty. On top of that, we got Mazda Money on Zlok, an Ancient Stegodon, and a Flying Air Force of Pterodon Riders. But I know what you guys are here for. It's the Bastillodon with the Ark of Sotek. The Dark Lord Falcon has arrived. Star Watcher 73, thank you so much for the $10.99 donations. Oh, look at it. It's Professor Pone. Dude, we were talking about Kung Pao, man. Chosen one. I can't resist. I'm so sorry, guys. That's probably really annoying. And now for the forces here of the Biggin, the Chosenun. I love it, dude. He's got Grom the Paunch, he's got an Orc Shaman, and he does also have a Black Orc Big Boss, which I think is really good. On the Pig, the Black Orc Big Boss is kind of like a mini Lord. He has good AP values, great combat stats. He can go fisticuffs and, you know, fight Bastillodons, fight big monsters. I think that's a really good inclusion here by Chosen One. Grom the Paunch as well, just hard to snipe. You know, he can run through Saurus all day. I like that inclusion. So here we got Orc Boys, Goblins in the front, couple Stone Trolls as well, and Orc Biggins in the back, and a massive Skirmishing Corps as well. So the Chosen Un coming in with Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, most likely to counter Pterodon Air Forces, which, you know, honestly is fine. I dig it. So let us know in chat, guys, who are you rooting for? Are you looking for the Chosen Un, Chosen One, to win, or are you pulling for the Dark Lord Falcon? Falcon, of course, has won the faction war twice before. He's won with Lizardmen, and he's also won with Wood Elves. His Wood Elf victory, probably one of the most iconic victories in the history of faction war, where he was able to defeat the dreaded Vampire Coast using Orion in the final game, which was pretty epic for sure. Oh yeah, both these players are very seasoned tournament players, very, very solid skill between them. So let us know, guys, in chat, who are you rooting for? The Green Tide. Greenskins have yet to win a faction war, which is very interesting. I really thought Greenskins would be, you know, one that would have won after their DLC, but they've gotten pretty far. They've gotten to like the semis and stuff, but they have yet to win. Random Nick's yelling Chosen One in caps. Chosen One. Seems like we have a lot of people rooting for the Greenskins. Always the Lizards. All right. All right. Professor Pone rooting for Wimplo. That's the character from Kung Pao that they trained wrong. It's a joke. Wolf Rider Archers are now shooting in. Definitely getting some big value. Falcon's got to be careful not to sit there for too long. Those little Wolf Riders will get some big old damage there on the Pterodons. Now, it looks like they're opting to maybe take the battle in this ravine here, which, you know, honestly, neither player has to. If Chosen One wants to, he can simply march across here, align in the open field here, and then collapse. But we'll see. I mean, they both have some skirmishing elements. The skink cohorts with javelins are going forward and trying to get their javelin fire here onto the Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, it would look. Yeah, trying to get forward here. Those little bastards do have shields as well. They got the bronze shields, but nonetheless, a very good screening tool. I think skink cohorts, if you're expecting to be kited or deal with a lot of missile play, they're an extremely cost-effective skirmishing tool. They're counter-skirmishing, excuse me. Grom the Paunch, though, is mighty thick, and he's going to be going in there, threatening them, but Falcon is not going to have that shit. Falcon does also have Nets of Damage Talk on Mazda Money, so you got to be careful. Make sure you don't get caught in a very ugly situation here. And now the skirmishers are shooting into the javelins here on the low ground, getting a little bit of damage. Certainly not terrible. And the Greenskins await their arrival. The Orc Boys and the Goblins and the Stone Trolls up on the high ground are rearing and ready to go, man. Yes, Derek Young, you do indeed. And Jonathan Hertz, or Hers, enjoy the cozy stream this spooky season. Your content is getting me through the second lockdown. I got you covered, man. We got a really fun stream next weekend, too, so we'll keep it going, man. he will keep it going. The battle rage is on. Good skirmishing on both sides. A little bit of poke has been taken by the greenskins. Their wolf riders have taken some damage, very, very minimal. And the skink cohorts with javelins here have also taken some damage, and no one's really gotten a big advantage here. However, the greenskins are going to be getting the downhill charge. But guys, this is the Arc of Zotek. The Bastillodon is going to be countercharging in and going after Grom the Paunch. And now the trolls and the orcs are going to be piling in on pretty much every front. Got to make sure those stone trolls don't fight too isolated, though. They definitely need the support of their infantry. And I would imagine we are going to be getting the Arc of Zotek snakes here in a second. I'm just waiting for Falcon to pull the trigger. Grom the Paunch is attacking the Arc of Zotek, it would appear. Getting some damage on those bad boys. Oh, and the loonies have been loosed here, and you can see the fanatics are able to get a ton of kills as they cleave through a massive amount of Saurus. As far as their kill count goes, let's go and look. 12 kills, certainly not bad. Oh, look at that, guys. So we get an overcasted net from Falcon's Mazda-Money. It looks like a banishment and rock drop combination. Man, that is so good. So banishment goes down, then Falcon comes over and also drops rocks on them. That is pure destruction. Ruination of cities. Dude, that was one of the dankest combos I have seen in so long. Overcasted net, double rock drop, ruination, banishment, the entire greenskin skirmishing corps deleted in like 3 seconds of really, really high volume micro. Dude, that was so sick. Oh my goodness, those guys just got destroyed. Now in the back line, all the greenskin skirmishers, like I said, pretty much gone. So now it's down to the greenskin melee engagement. They are doing very well here, though. The Saurus warriors are getting quite beat up, and here you can see the Orc War Boss and the Shaman are also going after the Ancient Stegodon. Yeah, that was pretty good. That's so much micro, guys. That is so much micro. Like, he had the net, he had to position the Pterodons in a couple seconds, and he had to, like, click the Mazda-Money spells. I'm sure Falcon's hand was just going crazy there. Yeah, Street Fighter combo moves, dude, for sure. So now I think Falcon's in a pretty good position. He's broken off the trolls. The Greenskin missile army is pretty much offline and being chased down by Pterodons. Grom the Paunch is very, very beat up. And the Arc of Zotek and... oh, dude. Is that a net? It is, but it looks like Mazda-Money can't quite get to him here. Oh, dude. The Battle of the Chungai. They're doing battle. Mazda-Money coming in, and the Pterodons pinning in Grom the Paunch as well. And also the big Stegodon. Oh my god, Grom the Paunch gets KO'd! Just brutal! And now what's going to happen is, even if he can't kill Grom here, he's going to use his Pterodons to just chase Grom the Paunch off the battlefield. I have no idea how the Bounce Power is still even after that. Yeah, with Grom the Paunch being dead. I mean, it's slightly favored here for the Lizards, but dude, what a power combo, man. That was really, really good. So now chasing down Grom, who is shattered. The big dinos are going to be making their way back in, and their leadership here for... Oh, the snakes have been dropped! Look at that, Arc of Zotek, the blue snakes! The entire greenskin army here taking that poison magic damage. I think it's magic damage, I can't quite remember, but... Greenskins have gotten back some of their skirmishers and were able to chase off the Pterodon riders, but I think with Grom the Paunch being gone and Mazda-Money being so thick and healthy, I think it's going to be a big, big problem. And like if the Stone Trolls break, for example, Falcon does have the mobility to chase them down using the Pterodon riders and whatnot, but on top of that, the Ancient Stego's in pretty good shape. Grom the Paunch, like I said, shattered and running for the edge of the map. Granted, he still is healing, which is quite funny, so... He could heal up to, like, 1,000 HP, but it wouldn't matter. Showing mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the thickest of them all? Apparently, Lord Mazda-Money was able to out-thick Grom the Paunch. I mean, it's definitely true. He's a big boy right there. Shield of the Old One's going down. We're going to be giving some nice ward save. The Greenskins do have a decent pocket of Trolls here, as well as the Black Orc Big Boss, both of which are pretty good against big armor, but I don't think the Trolls without the leadership and the supporting infantry are going to be able to hold up, and now you can see the first Stone Trolls here are officially broken. Down to 9 models. And, yeah, the Black Orc Big Boss is also on death's bed here. Dude, what a game. What a game. That's like, I feel like for the Faction Wars, like, afterwards, I should go through and just find plays like that and just, like, put them together in clips. Like, upload them as a separate video. That was so good. And now you can see the Black Orc Big Boss going to be pushing in, but Lord Mazda-Money is here, and Mazda can definitely outduel this Black Orc Big Boss. He is a very, very powerful character. As a matter of fact, one of the best lords in the entire game, in my opinion. Mazda-Money has really good bound abilities, also does, of course, have Ruination of Cities and Banishment. Unfortunately, Ruination of Cities is bugged, but it still can do some damage. Ruination attempt up on the high ground here is going to be going, and, yeah. I mean, it shatters him. Didn't hit him, but it kind of poked him a little bit, so it shattered him. There, the Stone Trolls are running for the hills. Now I think the Lizards just need to finish off that Black Orc Big Boss right there. And that will pretty much all they wrote. GG, well played! Awesome game, and the Lizards are going to be going on to face Enticity and the dreaded Vampire Coast. Falcon says it's going to be a hard matchup for him and that he probably won't win, but I think he's just, I think he's just keeping it low-key there. I do think he certainly has a good chance. Domingo! Thank you for the $20 donation. Thanks for all the great content. Been watching your videos for a while, but first stream I made it to, dude. As far as making it to the first stream, Faction Wars are by far the best ones. Dude, thank you so much, Domingo, and welcome to the stream, brother. All right, let's go update the bracket. The round of 8 is here. And from here, the event goes pretty quick. We've gotten through 16 players in total. And now we have Chaos versus Bretonia. Oh, dude, I'm hyped for this. Ark of Sotek. The Ark of Sotek got 100 kills, according to Falcon. It's no joke. Yes. I was impressed. Yes, I was impressed. All right, so let's go here and find the next match. It's going to be Guac versus Salsicha. Okay, one sec. We're in, baby. We are in. All right, so now we have Bretonia versus Chaos. So let's get the nameplates all set up. Versus Salsicha. Hey, start when ready. Let's get this party started, man. What factions are left? So we can take a look at the brackets right now and just run it past you guys. Players can load into the game. So Guac is playing Bretonia. Salsicha is playing Warriors of Chaos. Zyphos is Wood Elves. Romulan Dawg is Skaven. Umaize is Dwarves. Aerocrastic is Vampire Counts. Enticity is Coast. And Falcon is Lizardmen. So those are the remaining factions of the 16. That is true indeed. Yeah, I actually don't mind Green Knight against Chaos. I mean, he can die to Flaming Sword, Archeon, Spirit Leech. I mean, death is something you do see in this matchup from time to time, but, you know. Yeah, there's options. He can work, for sure. Yeah, Sartorial, too, is a big problem, too, because he does magic damage and usually brings Final Transmutation, so that pretty much is a hard counter to Green Knight. I probably wouldn't bring Green Knight. Like, if I'm messing around on ladder, but, like, in a high-pressure situation like this, I would definitely think twice about that. Oh. I am going to be right back. I'm going to grab some warm tea. All right, guys, I'm back. Looks like the players have loaded in and are setting up their armies. So let's go ahead and switch to the battlefield. So we'll see you guys there in just a second. And there we go. Very good, my friend. So, yeah, the Match Madness is going on. So for anyone who's just joining the stream, obviously for future Faction Wars, if you guys do join my multiplayer Discord, which we will be dropping links to during today's stream, you're allowed to participate in the equivalent of a March Madness for Total War Warhammer. So before this Faction War in the Discord, everyone was given a blank bracket with the players' names, and they were able to fill out how they thought the brackets would unfold. And at the end of the stream, after it's over, I'm going to go look at those brackets, and whoever had the most accurate prediction is going to be winning a $50 to $100 cash prize, depending on donations today. But yeah, so we do have the Match Madness going on right now. So I'm quite curious to see if anybody has a perfect. So anybody who's watching now that is participating in the Match Madness, have any of you guys gotten a perfect prediction or almost perfect prediction yet? I'd be very curious. I'd be very, very curious to see. All right, guys. So let's take a look at the armies here for Chaos. We got Archeon the Everchosen. Chaos Warriors in the front line. Oh, this is pretty badass. I like this build. Yeah, Chaos Warriors are going to be pretty tough to kill. Not a bunch of AP, but yeah, against Missile play and, charging, they're armored and, have shields and whatnot. Triple Dragon Ogre. So no Summoners of Rage, but, Dragon Ogres, of course, trade very well with heavy cavalry. They don't want to be taking the charges due to their light armor, but if they're buffered by infantry, they're quite strong. So Archeon on foot. Oh, foot Archeon. Badass, dude. And Chaos Warriors with halberds in the back. So Malverde says he's got 6 of 8 predictions correct. That's not bad. You might be in first place right now. Yeah. No one else has a perfect one? You guys are checking? All except 2, says Legion. So, yeah. Very cool, man. But you don't have to get a perfect bracket. It's going to be whoever has the most correct predictions. And if there's a tie for first place, I'll split the prize between those folks. So, or even just up the prize. So, yeah. Chaos Warriors, Dragon Ogres, Halberds, a very interesting Chaos build. And now for the forces here of Guac, he's got Spearman Chaff in the front, Peasant Archers in the second, which will be quite good against Dragon Ogres. Though they do have Scaly Skin, you know, the volume of fire can still do good damage. Questing Knights are always a standard here. They'll wreck the Chaos Warriors. And we have a Heaven's Caster for Curse of the Midnight Wind. So what you do here is you lower the armor of your target and focus them with your Peasant Archers. We've got a Life Caster, and up in the sky we have King Lewin. Pretty badass army from both players, man. I'm digging it. Valkanos is 7 of 8 right now. Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah, so Valkanos has guessed 7 of the 8 matches we've had so far. That's awesome, man. All right, guys. Let us know in chat. Are you a servant of the Dark Gods? You're looking for the end times to come and not actually end the universe, but just, you know, win the tournament. We'll kind of pump our brakes there a little bit. Or are you looking for the noble sons and daughters of Bretonnia for the lady? Let us know in chat. Declare your allegiance, and we shall go from there. So the Chaos Warriors are moving forward. Dude, I love the Foot Archeon pick. That just brings me such joy seeing like the badass Lord of the End Times just marching here on foot. He's definitely going to be casting some burning heads, I would imagine, on those Peasant Archers. That's probably going to be his focal point here. And the Peasant Archers do partially overextend in some areas, but they're pulling back. Guac very, very on point today. Hasn't made too many mistakes. And Questing Knight's going to be hammering into the Chaos Warriors. Although pulling back now as the Dragon Ogres do move forward and start to pressure into the battle line. So good luck, have fun being dropped by both players. Ooh, Loopy, you're 7 of 8 right now? That's nice, man. Yeah. So here it comes. King Lewin pushing in. Going after the Chaos Warriors in the front, which of course the Dragon Ogres are forced back by the Peasant Archers. Ooh, there's going to be a burning head from Archie right here. That will pretty much eviscerate those Spearmen. They'll die very, very quickly to that burning head, although it looks like it kind of missed. And now Dragon Ogres are chasing into the back lines, trying to get an engagement, which honestly wouldn't be bad here. I think they should keep charging. Because there was no spears. I guess there's more Questing Knights here, so Salsicha doesn't want to overextend, which I completely understand. Peasant Bowmen shooting into the Dragon Ogres in the back. Chaos Warriors grinding out in the front. And it looks like Archeon actually getting some big damage here on King Lewin. Wow, that's some brutal stuff. Archeon, of course, hits like an absolute truck. He's got really, really good combat stats. So Dragon Ogres have now engaged. This seems like they got the better engagement here. Salsicha able to lure these Questing Knights back into halberds, but Guac is pretty quick to respond and pull back as well, not staying in combat too long in any one place. Lewin charging in once again, hammering into those Chaos Warriors, and Questing Knights now charging into the Chaos Warriors in the front. But Salsicha seems very, very on point with all the Dragon Ogre counter charges. Like, you know, every time there's an engagement, he's able to charge in and, you know, pull back when there's a big threat. But the Peasant Archers are the X factor here. But honestly, the Chaos Warriors are really advancing quite heavily, but nice Curse of the Midnight Wind and Sword of Corone, so 0 armor on pretty much all this stuff. Archeon's even down to 60 right now. And the Peasant Archers are doing a number here on these Dragon Ogres, really taking them down rather quickly. But look at that. Cascading Fire Cloak going down gives them some melee defense against the melee engagement. And it looks like another Burning Head going down, but I think that was a misclick there by Salsicha. Didn't really hit anything. I think he was trying to get the Peasant Archers, but maybe just kind of slightly missed. On the far side of the battlefield, the Halberds and Dragon Ogre box is moving forward, and Chaos Warriors are taking some damage, but it seems like the Chaos Advance is proving to be very, very impactful right now. Archeon on foot and the Dragon Ogres plus the Halberds pushing in. It's going to be a big problem, and really only one unit of the Dragon Ogres has taken a lot of damage here. I have to say I'm very impressed with Salsicha's Chaos. It's very unique builds, which I definitely would not have thought of in a million years. So right here, Bretonnia going to be pulling back with its knights, and the chaos now comes. Some of the Peasant Archers are going to be crumped by the Dragon Ogres. You can see these bad boys are being hammered pretty good. Questing Knights, the companions, nice charge there by Guac. Going to be charging back in there and providing an anti-large bonus against these guys, which will certainly be very impactful. But you have to remember, despite there being anti-large cav here, the Chaos Warriors also do have the Halberds here, which is going to give them a very nice boon here against these Bretonian forces. Balance bar is pretty even for sure. This is a very good scrap. 2 Peasant Archers still shooting, getting beautiful crossfire here into the Ogres. And if Lewin comes over here, he should be able to break that pocket pretty well. Another Burning Head going down. It looks like it might... yeah, well, nice Burning Head. That actually was pretty good. Went right through those peasants right there. Didn't quite KO them. It was like a weird kind of terrain interaction there. But Archeon somehow is able to get his paws here on the Damsel of Life, so the Lord of the End Times is able to catch the Damsel and also force these Peasant Archers back and pretty much stops them from shooting. That's really big. Getting rid of the healing for the Questing Knights is incredibly substantial for sure. So looking around, the Dragon Ogres are now piling back in. Lewin was able to break off those Dragon Ogres on the far side. Guac doing a very good job following up. This is a great match, man. But he is able to break those ogres, and they're down to 3 models, and now the Chaos Warriors with halberds are also kind of afraid of Lewin without their big monsters supporting them. So both players getting really good jumps here and there. Honestly, this battle is pretty much dead even. The Bretonnians still do have a fair amount of cav units and mobility. King Lewin is a great sweeper, and like this pocket of Bretonnian heavy cav, companions and questing knights teamed up with Lewin, they are going to be an unholy terror to deal with. They're going to be rotating around and really causing a ton of problems here for the forces of Chaos. But for Chaos, I mean, they still have their Dragon Ogres, they have Halberds, Archaon is in really, really good health as well. As a matter of fact, he's a lot healthier than Lewin, I mean, in terms of overall percentage HP. Lewin does have 3.2 compared to Archaon's 3.7, but, you know, he's a big monstrous lord. Let's have a sip of tea here. You guys got a tea or a coffee? Join me. That was good. Some good Earl Grey. Chaos Warriors now moving in with their halberds, but of course Guac is not going to let that happen. Granted, he is going to have to sacrifice some spearmen for the cause. The Heavens Caster is being hunted down, so it looks like Salsicha is kind of methodically going after the characters here. Granted, Archaon is very, very slow on foot, so he's going to take his sweet time getting there. And some of the peasant archers have gotten their bearings again. You can see they are shooting into the ogres, and it looks like a Sword of Crone going down. Very, very good debuff. Going to be lowering the armor of the ogres down to 30. In the back, we do have Dragon Ogres hunting down Peasant Archers, but some of the remnants of the Questing Knights are able to peel them off. Chaos Warriors are chasing as well, and here we have some Halberds on the backside of the map hunting. So this is really the epicenter of Chaos's strength, as well as Bretonnia, right? Like, both players really throwing everything at this engagement. Archaon having a little bit of trouble getting past these Questing Knights. I think what happened is that Salsicha gave an attack order here to King Lewin. It's hard to say. Yeah, and he's kind of like stuck here on the companions. Balance of power pretty even, but the Dragon Ogres and Halberds appear to have won that engagement. The Bretonnian Knights are forced back, Questing Knights and Companions taking brutal damage. Oh no, and Lewin is trapped now. You can see all of the Dragon Ogres got him, but he gets away. Man, he was really looked trapped there for a second. I thought that was going to be game blouses. Balance of power actually pulled into the favor of Chaos, as now the Dragon Ogres can go and start pounding on some of the Peasant Bowmen with pox arrows, but there are numerous amounts of Peasant Bowmen around the battlefield, all of whom are making their way back in. My concern, though Chaos is ahead on the Balance of Power, is that they do not have the maneuverability, and that Lewin is going to be able to kill everything and then cycle charge Archaon to death in the late game. Burning Head going down. Really nice one there by Salsicha. Able to roast these guys down. Yeah, you can see here the Peasant Bowmen are getting punished pretty good by that Burning Head. Dragon Ogres definitely need to be kept alive. Man, those Peasant Archers are going to be a problem, though. There's so many of them. Got some Chaos Warriors in the back fighting Questing Knights, and now Archaon's, he's hustling, man, but he is being shot with poison arrows. The peasants dipping their arrows into their food and water supply, I'm sure. Able to poison it, and yeah, you know, slow Archaon down. It's 25 speed, he's pretty slow. Dragon Ogres trying to juke those shots. We got some Chaos Warriors making their way back in. This is a really, really close game, guys. Will the lady advance on, or will the Dark Gods cackle once again? Salsicha definitely needs to make sure he brings back these Chaos Warriors here on the far side. It looks like he's forgot. They're not moving at the moment, but 54 Halberds could make a huge difference, and I think that's part of why the Balance of Power is Chaos favored, because of those units there. So he needs to start moving them back, otherwise he may throw the game. It depends on how long he forgets. No, Burning Head is as it has been. I don't think it's been nerfed any. There hasn't been any like patches or nerfs in a long time. So Lewin pretending to charge Archaon here. Archaon, of course, to pop standard die. So very, very good play there by Guac, baiting that out. And now the Dragon Ogres are going to be jumping in and advancing here on the Peasant Bowman lines, which they're going to take a lot of damage on the approach. Scaly skin does help, but, you know, it can only go so far. Look at the brave peasant mobs. They got their pitchforks, they got their rakes. Quite literally fighting the Lord of the End Times. It's going to be a pretty bad situation for these peasants, as they're getting clubbed, taken there to the candy shop, as we like to say. 50-cent references afoot. Chaos Warriors with halberds in the back are fighting the companions, and though they do break, due to terror, they are able to get a couple kills on the companions there before they go quietly into the good night. Chaos is pushing. Archaon might be able to hard carry this. Peasant Bowmen are all very low on leadership and ammunition. So here they come. The Dragon Ogres still making their advance here. Maybe they'll intercept these Questing Knights. That would be the proper play. Questing Knights going to be attacking the Ogres. Pound for pound, Dragon Ogres do defeat Questing Knights, like if they have the same number of units, obviously. Cascading Fire Cloak is active. Very, very good play there. But Lewin coming overhead with Sword of Crone, I believe. And Archaon's also going to be coming in with his Steel Chair to try and finish off some of these Questing Knights. Balance of Power is like dead even, man. And Ogres are broken. That's a big grab right there. Lewin is certainly in good shape. These guys are down for the count as well. And now Salsicha has realized that his Chaos Warriors chased off to the edge of the map and is going to be bringing those guys back. So, like, Peasant Bowmen will do next to nothing against Archaon. Like, pretty much nothing. Archaon's just going to be waddling and chasing, and Bretonnia can, you know, use its cab and cycle charge pretty much at whim. Simply because they still have knights and they still have peasants shooting. They're attacking units all around the map, so they are, of course, obeying the attacking rule for sure. How far could I go in a Faction War tournament? I think I could go pretty far. I think I could get to the semifinals, like top 4. But I don't think I would win. Yeah, I think I could get to the top 4, depending on the faction I'm playing. Because many of the players in the Faction War I've had, you know, very even series with. But I don't think I could win. Yeah. It'd be tough. So Archaon the Ever-Chosen going to be moving in. Going after the Peasant Bowmen here, and the Chaos Halberds are advancing. That's pretty big, man. I mean, the Peasants, how much ammunition do they have left? Not a whole lot. And eventually they're going to have to come in and fight. And Archaon on foot is going to be a pain to kill. He is going to be a pain to kill. Look at his stat line. 78, 60, 491. Even on foot, Archaon has a charge bonus of 59, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, this is the correct play. Use the Peasant Archers to pretty much do the last damage you can here to these Chaos Warriors with Halberds. What Lewin is probably going to try and do, Lewin is going to try and kill the Chaos Warriors while they're away from Archaon. Terror out them and then chase them off the map using the companions here. And they're shaken for sure. Chaos Warriors are saved by the standard die. Really nice play there. And now they're going to be charging in and doing battle here with the companions. You can see some of the companions are being dropped. As far as ammunition goes, Bretonnia is about out of ammo. You have a little bit left back here, and that's why you can see the Bretonian player Guac is now attacking with the peasant archers themselves. He's getting into combat here, but oh man, Archaon gets a huge blow on that damsel there. Will Archaon be able to carry? That's really what this game's going to come down to, because these Chaos Warriors are going to break eventually. Most likely. Lewin will probably terror out them. Something bad will happen. But will Archie be able to carry? Cascading Fire Cloak is activated, giving Archaon a little bit of a buff. And the Bretonian peasants are fighting here. Stand your ground is active, and you know that's bodies, man. You just drown them in bodies. Let the bodies hit the floor. Chaos Warriors are broken now. They're shaken. It's a terror route, so they are going to come back in just a second, but it's going to be up to Archaon to carry. Yeah, Chaos Warriors just came back. We'll see if they can reform ranks and fight the companions. Their leadership's -1, 2 leadership, and they're broken. So now Chaos Archaon stands alone, so I don't really even need to move the microphone around. Oh man, I forgot to say it. No, it's 59 charge bonus. It's not 69, or else I would have said it. Come on now. Come on now. So now we can just sit here. I'm going to sip my tea with you guys. It's going to be a grind for sure. This is a great match, man. This is a 12-minute game between Chaos and Bretonnia. We were certainly blessed with great games today. The Dark Gods smile on us. But this is where Lewin cycle charges, so it's really going to come down to how well can Archaon retaliate when Lewin comes in. He does have the Cascading Fire Cloak active, and it looks like he did hit Lewin, who's now at his healing cap. But now we have Questing Knights coming in. Does Archaon have a Burning Head? That could also be a big factor. Yep, here he comes again. Sword of Crone is active. And the King of Bretonnia, shoulder to shoulder with his peasants. -6, Archaon's breaking. Oh my god, Archaon, the Lord of the End Times, is broken. The King of Bretonnia, on his deathbed, is able to defeat Archaon. And there is a victory for Guac. Very well played to Salsicha and Guac. Dude, that was a great game. And Salsicha, I'll definitely have you back as a Chaos player. You played a great series of games. And Guac, man, showing why he qualified for the Ever-Chosen with masterful play. Yeah. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and move it up here. The Guac for the lady. And there you go. So next up, we have Zyphos versus Romulan Dawg, Skaven versus Wood Elves. That's always a good matchup. The Pitchforks, yeah, the peasants surrounding Archaon and holding him in place really allowed Lewin to get in there. But Lewin was still taking damage. Like, Archaon was hitting him and doing a bunch of damage. Chosen One, you're 9 for 9 on your predictions? Dude. On your faction or match wars? Dude. Chosen One has perfect predictions so far, guys. Is that true? Chosen One definitely looking to win the prize here. All right. So we got Zyphos versus Romulan. Dude. I mean, Archaon was decent on foot, for sure. I don't know, yeah. He did fine. I mean, he did a ton of damage to Lewin. I think this is the furthest Bretonnia... No, Bretonnia may have gotten top 4 before. I'm not sure. Okay. And Romulan Dawg. All right. Very good. Yeah, man. So how's everyone doing on their predictions right now? For anyone who's participating in Match Madness for this Faction War doing the bracket predictions, let me know your scores in chat. I'm quite curious how all of you guys are doing. I think Chosen One just said he has a perfect predictions right now. Chosen One did assume he would lose to Falcon, which is pretty funny. Ah. Yeah, Bertoni got double top 4 last time. Yeah, that's true. But Bertoni has never gotten to the finals. That was a great game. Holy shit, man. I'm super hyped from that. Salsicha played an awesome game. Guac played an awesome game. That was just a really well-played game on both players' part. Very even match, those two guys. I did my best, but it's really bad matchup with Greenskins and the Lizardmen. I always felt like Greenskins have an even matchup with Lizards, but if Falcon's playing, then that changes everything. Yeah. Pone hasn't gotten any, right? Oh my god. Well, Zyphos is here against the Skaven of Romulan Dawg. Players are making some final tweaks to their army before we do load in. We'll get this party started in just a minute, but in the meantime, we can just hang out and talk about our predictions and all that sort of good stuff. All sorts of good stuff indeed. Did you mainly focus based on factions or so yeah, as far as like picking the factions, like you have to, I'll show you what the graphic looks like. Hang on, let me pull it up right now. I think I have it here somewhere. Let me find it. Oh, it's in the Discord. I'm gonna go grab it so you guys can see. All right, one sec. Going here, I'll scroll to the top and open original. Match Madness. So we have a minute here while the players get ready, so I'll show you guys what it looks like. I'm really curious about how it's all going. Yeah. All right, so if we add it here, Match Madness, and I have it on the desktop. So this is more or less what it looks like, guys. So like if you're in the Discord, if you guys join for the next faction war, you'll be able to get in on this. This is like a trial run right now to see how people like it. But basically I send you this. So it has like the list of players at the top, and then at the bottom it has a blank bracket. So you like fill it out based on who you think is going to win. Just like March Madness for basketball. So that's what it looks like. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. It's been a lot of fun so far. That was some spicy guac, it was, for sure. Definitely some ceviche and lime and lemon mixed in there. Thanks for hosting another Faction War, man. It's my pleasure. This is my favorite format, so we're going hard. I'm good on my picks, but Enticity and Falcon has you stumped. Yeah, it's interesting. The dwarves are still in it, too. The dreaded dwarves are going to be a hard... Like, if Umaize beats Aero, and then Enticity beats Falcon, like, Anticity's pretty much doomed. Then the Dahv would be going to the finals, which would be pretty wild. All right, so let's go ahead and load into the game now. Looks like players are all loaded up. Jedi Mazda Mundi, thank you so much for your donation, bud. Dude, ceviche with... Well, I guess ceviche wouldn't be with guac. No, it wouldn't. But, I mean, it's in the ballpark. It's in the family. Yeah, Faction Wars with Warhammer 3 is going to be crazy. We're going to have like 20-something factions, probably. Oh, my God. All right, guys. So let's take a look at the builds of Zyphos, the French champion. He's got Dryads in the front. Of course, no surprises against Skaven. Dude, we got Mel Gibson going deep, baby. Oh, hell yeah. Mel Gibson is actually really, really good in this matchup, too. He's, like, incredibly tough for Skaven to kill, can bully their lords and doom wheels. He's a man of the people. So we got Wild Riders, Glade Riders with Hagbane Tips mixed in, and yeah, Zyphos is going for a rush build, guys. There's no games being played here. No games. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this. Mel Gibson from Zyphos, who would have thought? And he's going for a Mass Vanguard, too. I don't know if Romulan's going to be ready for this. Warplock Jazale's here from Romulan, 2 of those. We got Poison Wind Mortars. We got an Assassin and Eshin Sorcerer. Dude, hell yes, Romulan Dawg. Give us that Eshin Sorcerer. So he's got Brittle Bones to slow. He does also have Warp Stars and Skitter Leap. For his Lord, we got a Master Assassin. Dude, Romulan's build is awesome. But I feel like it's going to be pretty weak against the rush here. I think he was expecting a Kite build, which this build would be very good against, right? Warplock Jazales, Mortars, Flares to go chase down Archers. But Zyphos coming in with a Mel Gibson rush. This is going to be quite magical for sure. Oh man. So guys, predictions. You rooting for the Wood Elves? Are you thinking that the Skaven and the Horned Rat are going to cackle once more? Will the bell toll for Zyphos? Or will the rats be crushed by the tree folk? Let us know. Are the Bretonnians still in it? Yes, they are. The Bretonnians are in it, yes. They just won their last match. So Bretonnians are currently in the top 4. Currently, we have Skaven versus Wood Elves in the next round here of the Faction War. They're going to be preparing to charge. Dude, I'm so hyped for this. Yeah, we did have 2 Bretonnians in the semis before. Yeah, we had a Bretonnian sub-faction make it all the way, which was pretty cool. All the way to the top 4, but Bretonnia has never graced the finals. So, today may be the first time, we'll see. Seems like we got people rooting for Zyphos and Romulan across the board. Yeah, we'll see. You lost the Falcon, this is rigged. That's funny. The Wood Elves, of course, a little bit out of their element. Romulan Dawg is preparing for the advance. Like, Zyphos almost never plays Rush. So this is a really good thought, like, idea from Zyphos here. Just go for a Haggard Bum Rush and catch your opponents off guard. Because he's such like a Way Watcher kite player, you know? But get, like, this Mel Gibson, dude. Mel Gibson, his hooves are going to be stomping all over so many of these rats. Yeah. What is the current trophy ranking in the Faction Wars? Alright, so let's run it back. First Faction War was won by Soothsayer with the Empire. The second Faction War, I think, was Falcon's Lizardmen. Then we had Hadries with Skaven. Then we had Wood Elves with Falcon, Enticity with Coast, Hadries with Skaven again. And now we're here with this one. I think I got them all. Not necessarily in the right order, but we've had 2 Skaven victories, 1 Wood Elf victory, 1 Coast victory, 1 Empire, and 1 Lizardmen. Yeah. So the only faction to ever win twice so far has been the Skaven. Yeah. Dude, Orion is great. I love Orion in this matchup. He's an absolute terror in the night. He also causes terror himself. So him just running around Skaven lines is so disruptive. So here comes the rush. We'll see if Romulan Dawg is ready for it. He's saying good luck, have fun. And here, oh my god, look at the Rohirrim ride. The Wolfirrim. Or the Woodarim. Woodharim. What other ones can we come up with here? Rohirwood? I don't know. You guys come reindeer rim? Like reindeer rim? I don't know. You guys got to work on that for me while I focus on casting. Anyways. Skaven Slaves buckled almost instantly, but look at that. Brittle Bones used by Romulan Dawg. Lowering melee defense, but Shield of Thorns coming down as well. Skaven do countercharge with Ogres and Doom players and some Skaven Slaves. That was a pretty gangster play for sure, but now Zyphos is going to be coming around the backline. Oh man, the Skaven Mortars! Brutal! So the Skaven Mortar teams are doing a ton of damage against the blob Wood Elves, but again, also nuking their own units because they are Skaven. So here comes Zyphos collapsing into the back. You can see the Warplock Jezzails are going to be getting swarmed horribly, and oh my god, the Skaven lines are just in mass exodus here. And not only that, but the Dryads are also advancing, and they haven't even gotten in yet. Zyphos collapsing with Glade Riders, the Mortars are shut down. Mel Gibson, his hooves stomping all over the faces of these rats with his anti-large bonus. And yeah, there's still some Mortar Fire coming in, but it is also hitting the Skaven line. Rodeer him? Wooderim? I know, we're trying. Bambi. Bamberim? Like Bambi? Oh my god. So good. So immediately Zyphos pulls massively ahead. This is probably going to be the fastest game of the day, which, you know, Romulan's build wasn't bad. It's just was so dedicated to killing Kite that it didn't have too many answers for a rush, right? And now you can see the Mortars are offline, all the Jezzails are dead, the Dryads are pretty much chasing the Jezzails to the corner of the map, and Mel Gibson is just going to go deep here and pretty much kill everything. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was a brutal rush, a brutal vanguard, and everything is dead for the Skaven. Everything is crushed. Zyphos has got his groove back, man. He's here and has claimed vengeance for his first round defeat in the last faction war. That's for sure. Pretty much no way the Skaven can come back at this point. It's over, 100%. I mean, there's a Master Assassin running and cackling, but the Hoof Master is going for him. You can see Orion is hunting once more in the deep. Yeah, Mel Gibson, man, he's a terrifying dude. Probably yelling racial slurs here at the Skaven as they run away. And that would appear to be it. Couple Skaven, but army losses is going to be hitting soon. Wild hunt successful, says Zyphos. Yeah, it was indeed. Man, oh man. That was something. Yeah, that's very much like a Falcon style of play, right? Yeah, using those fat rushes. Romulan Dawg says, thought you'd pew pew. Yeah, and you know, Romulan didn't play bad by any stretch of the imagination. He just built so heavily to counter Zyphos' Kite that Zyphos was able to really punish the... mind games are part of it too, man. That's the thing with players like Lotus Moon and Zyphos. Like, you expect kite, and sometimes when they mix it up, it can just catch you off guard so bad because you're so afraid of their kite, you know? Crazy game. Yeah. All right, so let's go to the bracket here. Well played to Zyphos. So we got Wood Elves versus Bretonnia. Now, this has always been a matchup that everyone says is heavily Bretonian favored, but Zyphos has always found a way to beat Bretonnia. As a matter of fact, when he won my ECL season, he beat like pretty much all the best Bretonian players in that season with his Wood Elves. So we got Wood Elves versus Bretonnia here on the top side of the bracket. 2 Warhammer 1 factions, actually. And now we have the Midnight Aerocrastic versus the Dwarves. So Vampire Counts versus Dwarves for our next matchup. All right. And now we go to Aerocrastic versus the Dwarves. Let's go ahead and get in there. That was a glorious game. That was so glorious. GG, well played. Yeah, Romulan, we were just talking about it during your game. Like, you played, we were all saying more or less that you played well. It's just like you hadn't, your build was so designed to kill kite, like, which Zyphos does like 99% of the time, that the rush was just too overwhelming. But yeah, well played, man. We'll have you back. It was a good attempt. There's no shame in that, man. You were just building for the kite. It was kind of like a build, like one of those things that when you build, like you just kind of lose from the build screen. Yeah. We have a donation from Lyzon Ruin. The horned bell tolls for thee. Death to elf things, kill, stab, stab. Well, I read that after the game. But it's all good, man. Yeah, well played. All right, guys. We got a Wood Elves versus Bretonnia semis, and now Dwarves versus Vampires. We're going to be loading into this game here in a second. Just got to get everything set up. These games have been really good. Yeah, Romulan actually said in chat that he was about to go Mash, Skaven, Rush, which probably would have been really good against that. But yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and minimize real quick. Aerocrastic. And he's facing off against Umaize. This is, I'm sure Enticity is watching right now, just like you know, clenching, just holding his breath, hoping that Aerocrastic is able to win here. Because if the Dwarves get to the Vampire Coast, Falcon's probably in the same boat. Falcon would probably rather face Vampires than Dwarves, so they're probably both rooting for the Dwarves to lose this. Yeah, which is really funny. All right, guys. So we got the Dwarves facing off against Aerocrastic's Vampire Counts, the Midnight Aerocrastic, which I love. So for Aero's army, he's got zombies in the front. He's got skeleton warriors and crypt ghouls. Crypt ghouls are there to chase down rangers, Bugman's rangers, and just flank. He's got a couple Sternsmen in the front just to hold. Double White King, no Scab Scraith, so just going for the infantry grind in the front. Vargulf, Black Coach, and he does also have a Neckarch Vampire Lord, which let me go ahead and show you guys what he does. He has the Dark Protection, which is really good against dwarves. Because if you get caught by Iron Drakes or Gyrocopters, Focus Fire, anything, you can pop this and reduce that damage by 22%. On top of that, he does have Purple Sun as well, so basically what you do is you get the dwarves to blob up on like a Vargulf and you Purple Sun them. It's very strong. And to shut down Gyrocopter play, Aerocrastic has brought 4 Fellbats. So that should be more than enough here, so yeah. Yep, yes, indeed. And now, my friends, for the forces of the Dawg, having a very good run here today. Umaize does have Thorgrim Grudgebear, Double Thunder, Triple Brimstone Gun, which is going to be very tough to protect from Quad Fellbat. A little bit concerned for that, but we'll see how his micro is with defending those bad boys. He's got a single cannon, which probably will just get zombie summoned on top of it, but we'll see. So very much a defensive box here. And, you know, it's funny because when Umaize played me on ladder and played against my vampire counts, he used a very different build, like a mass missile build, which honestly I think would be much better against what Aero brought. Because the Gyrocopter Air Force will be shut down horribly by the Fellbats for a much cheaper cost point. Yep. This is live, Kelgar. Yeah, all these games are live, brother. All right, guys, let us know in chat. Who do you think is going to win? Are you a child of the night? You looking for the vampire counts and the Midnight Aerocrastic to win? Or are you looking for Umaize? Are you a son of Grungni and Valaya? Will the grudges be resolved here on this battlefield? Let us know in chat. Who are you rooting for? I'm waiting to see. It's going to be an uphill fight. Yeah, you know, normally dwarves have a good matchup here. I'd say it's pretty even, like 50-50. But the Fellbats are a very good counter against the Gyrocopters. Like, one Fellbat on each Gyro will effectively shut them down. And then, you know, I mean, you can help from the ground with your thunders and whatnot, but like if Aero is really on point with his zombies, his dragons and things like that, it shouldn't be a problem. So here comes the Felbats. Chasing down here. Glory to the High King. Professor Pone says vampire counts, please. I feel like there needs to be at least one undead faction towards the end of the tables here, just to have like one spooky finalist or like semi-finalist. It needs to happen. Oh, sorry, wrong button. So Felbats are chasing down the gyrocopters, but Umaize, of course, able to micro away. His best bet for Umaize here would be to try and pull the Felbats into the guns here and blast them out of the sky, because the gyrocopters otherwise, like, it's basically like 300 something gold shutting down 800 gold, which from, you know, a cost effectiveness perspective is very, very grim for the dwarves. Like, they need those gyrocopters. They really, really need them. I mean, yeah, some of the other assets here can shoot the monsters like the thunders, but like the problem with playing a box is like one zombie summon can shut down so much. Whereas if you're like spread out, it forces them to, you know, spread their forces also. But, you know, there also is strength to the boxes. It shuts down flanking and, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. So ups and downs, man. Ups and downs. Now, the Gyrocopter micro has been pretty good so far, and now some of them are shooting against the Neckarch Vampire Lord. Not sure where these Felbats are going, but you can see here that Umaize is keeping his Gyrocopters right here, and the reason he's doing that is so that, you know, he can fall back just a little bit, and then the Dwarven guns will try and shoot the bats away from the Gyrocopters, which is a solid play for sure, and it also gives the Gyrocopters room to fire. But what Aero wants to do in this case, it looks like an invocation actually used on Felbats, very interesting, is he wants to just collapse with his infantry, and when the main army gets there, and the Vargolfs and Black Coaches start penetrating into the lines, he then sends in the Felbats to shut down the Gyrocopters. So we will see, but Aero's build definitely very good. I think it's quite solid. Here you can see the White Kings are advancing and taking some Thunder fire on the approach. The Gyrocopters are all in good shape. None of them have really been caught or shut down yet. Sometimes you see people bring Von Karstein Lords in this matchup too, just to get the Storm of the Night to kill Gyrocopters, but honestly, I don't think it's worth it. A lot of Dwarf players will go for Hammer, Ironbreaker boxes, some of them will go for Mass Missile builds. So I think that the Neckarch Lord with Purple Sun is pretty good, because what's going to happen here is, if the Dwarves bunch up, oh my god, a single Purple Sun can like destroy a Dwarf box. Really what you want to get though is the Slayers. So now that the main fighting is underway, you can see the Felbats are chasing, and they're going after the Gyrocopters. Ooh, a brutal breath attack in the front. Nasty, nasty breath there from Aerocrastic. Well, not in real life, of course, but here in this game. He's able to punish those Narglings Ironbreakers. Now he's going to be dropping a Zombie Summon, which will shut down like a Thunder unit. It's going to muck up the Slayers as the Black Coach gets in there. So the Slayers are now going to move towards the Black Coach, and what Aero most likely will do is simply use a big erect Purple Sun in here and just eviscerate these Dwarven lines. White Kings have engaged in the front line, but the breath attack is quite good. And here the Felbats hunting down the Gyrocopters. Black Coach getting an Invocation. And Purple Sun's probably coming soon. Aerocrastic being very conservative with the Vampire Lord, making sure he doesn't land and get trapped. And Purple Sun's going to be going down to the back on top of the Slayers. Let's see what kind of damage it does. Nice damage. Ooh. Oh, God. That Purple Sun was so good. It took 60% HP off the Dragonback Slayers and also hit the Longbeards. Brutal stuff. And now Thorgrim and the Gorilla are going to be going into fight against Thorgrim. And 2v1, they'll easily win that. So, I mean, Thorgrim's very tanky and very powerful, but that Purple Sun was quite nasty for sure. He's able to get away more or less unscathed too. Vargolf plus the Neckarch Vampire Lord do pull back up in the sky. Those Slayers took some big, big damage there from that Purple Sun. Quite a nice cast. And now the Crypt Ghouls are getting into the back line. But the Dwarves are able to form ranks and get their Thunders online. And they are doing a ton of damage to the Neckarch Vampire Lord. So really good retaliation here by Umaize, who currently was having a rough time in several engagements. On top of that, some Crypt Ghouls are getting into the back line. And Aerocrastic is going to be dropping a Zombie Summon here. So these guns should be shut down. These ones will also be shut down. So now there's not really any more firepower to really pound down on this Neckarch Vampire Lord. So we will see how it goes. In the meantime, Black Coach is pretty beat up, a little bit trapped amongst Longbeards, so it should be able to get away. The Gyrocopters really being the weak link for this army. Each Gyrocopter is being chased down by a single Felbat, in this case 2 over here, and they're breaking. And I think that if he didn't have the Gyrocopters and had more ground resources, this would be going much better for the Dwarves, man. The Gyrocopter Gambit is pretty risky against Vampire counts, considering the prevalence of Felbats as a disruption unit. So we'll see how it unfolds. Aerocrastic is currently pulling ahead on the Bounce of Power. Big breath attack coming in. Going to be going, oh my god, once again into the Norglings Ironbreakers. Brutal stuff. And here the Neckarch Vampire Lord does descend on the Dawi ranks. And the Vargolf and Black Coach are all in good shape. And what's happening here with Umaize is he's using the Gyrocopters in guard mode and is trying to force shots despite the Felbats onto the Neckarch Vampire Lord, which is a good play. You know, just trying to get what value he can before his Gyrocopters get broken off, because just having them run the entire time isn't really worth it. Another play that Umaize could do, which I think would be quite prudent, would be to get the Gyrocopters, put them on melee mode, and dive into the melee near Dwarf Warriors and try and lure the Fellbats onto the ground. But at this point, it might be a little bit too late for that. In this case, it seems like the Vampires are in a pretty dominant position. The infantry fight is going for the Vampires as they're able to grind through pretty much the last of the Dwarven infantry. The breath attacks from the Neckarch Vampire Lord have been devastating, dudes. And the Fellbats are just hunting down the Gyros, like I said. And Black Coach and Vargul for both still alive. And, you know, if the Vampires still have all their single entities alive at this point in the game, it is going to be, it's going to be pretty rough for sure. I do think the build that Umaize used against me on ladder would be a little bit more effective against this, but maybe he assumed Aerocrastic already knew about it, so he wanted to, like, switch up his build. But he's still playing well despite that. Like, Umaize is putting up a great fight considering he's, like, missing, you know, 2,000 plus resources just with some Fellbats. So Thorgrim Grudgebearer going in, trying to satisfy at least one grudge here as he does start womping on this White King here. Thorgrim can definitely kill a White King. Not super quick because of the armor variance on the White King, but he can get through that bad boy and put some damage down. One Gyrocopter is broken, the other one is about to be broken. Neckarch Vampire Lord is basically just hunting them, and it looks like he has one more breath attack, but Umaize knows it's over, withdraws. And the Midnight Aristocracy is going to be advancing. Vampire counts have never made it to the top 4. I do not believe. Vampire counts have never made it to top 4. But now they have, led by Aerocrastic, 2-time Ever-Chosen champions. Sad day indeed, guys, but the Dwarves had a good showing today. Well played, Umaize, man. He played a good set of games, but he took a gamble with the Gyrocopters. It didn't pay off, and in the end, it cost him the game. All right, so let's update the brackets. Aerocrastic going on to face either Enticity or Falcon. So let's see who gets going here. Chosen One, you're 11 of 11 on your predictions. All right, so anyone who's doing the Match Madness, the Faction War March Madness, let me know your predictions. Chosen One says he's 11 for 11 right now in his predictions. Holy shit, dude, that's really good. Yeah. All right. So let's get into the next game. Let's do it to it. And now we have Enticity versus question mark. Okay, so Falcon's probably in there. Dun, dun. Chosen One is choosing well. Loopy says he's 11 for 12 right now. All right, let me get you guys a link to the Discord right now. Hold on. All right. Right people. All right, so if you guys want to join the Discord, here's a link. And if you go to the section called Faction War Match Entry, or Faction War Match Madness, which is under Faction War Match Madness category, you can see all the predictions people have made and all that sort of good stuff. So welcome. Welcome again, my friends. All right, looking good. So players are loading in right now. I just don't want to jump back into the game and crash my game there. Alrighty, they're loading in. It looks like it's going to be Falcon. No, Enticity on this side, and then Falcon on the other. If I'm not mistaken. You can always fix that as we jump in. Yep, looks right. Very cool, man. Yeah, this is pretty fun. Who does Chosen One have to... So, if Chosen One... Yeah, you can go see Chosen One's bracket in the Discord if you scroll up. Alright, guys. Let's take a look at the forces of Enticity. Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mobs. Secondary line's going to be Bombers. And backline is going to be Handguns. This is like the classic, just like... Okay, Bombers will kill all your infantry. Handguns will kill all your monsters. And Luther Harkin will kill your lords. It's just like... Just straight business here for this build. We got triple deck gunner, some sirens in the back as a roadblock, Luther Harkin, and a vampire caster, and it looks like one unit of scurvy dogs just to chase things off, which I think is quite good. Yeah. Oh, look at that, the mod striking in the night. Chosen One rooting for Enticity, looking for Enticity to avenge his battle against Falcon. No surprises there. So for Falcon, we got Feral Cold Ones. We got Clever Girls coming in. These Velociraptors are ready to ambush some hunters in the woods, I'm sure. And aside from that, we got skink cohorts. More skinks into the sunset. A bunch of cav units, of course. He's gonna have to swarm Enticity's backline. Coldwind Riders. Coldwind Riders. Oh man, got something caught in my throat there. Anakin, I'm too weak. I'm too weak. There's also going to be a Feral Bastillodon on the ground here. We got a Kroxigor Ancient. Dude, I love the Kroxigor Ancient. He even has a Space Marine backpack on. Look at this guy. But, you know, Luther Harkin will manhandle him, but he's cheap and can certainly lay a beating on some targets. And we got a Heaven's Caster for Wind Blast to blast through the handgun mobs and some of those other tools, so we will certainly see how that goes. Alright, guys, let us know in chat, where do your predictions lie? Do you think Enticity, former Vampire Coast Faction War winner, will claim victory once again? Or do you think Falcon, who's also won a Faction War with his Lizardmen, will advance on? And despite what people say about, you know, bad matchups in Faction War, you're eventually going to have to fight a bad matchup, most likely in Faction Wars, so you gotta win some, man. Legion says he's 9 of 11 for your predictions. That's still not bad, man. That still is not bad at all. Hard to ever pick against Falcon in a bad matchup. Yeah, this one's definitely Vampire Coast favored. And the main problem as to why it's favored is because when Bombers got a buff, they just like started deleting all the Lizard infantry, because before they didn't really do that much. So Lizardmen could at least win the infantry fight, whereas they won't win the range fight, right? But in this case, they now lose the infantry fight because of Bombers, and they also like really struggle against the handguns in the back line, so... yeah. Here comes Luther Harkin flying up in the hill, going to be doing some scouting. I think he's aware the clever girls are up here. He might start shooting some of them with the pistol. I'm not sure what he's doing. Maybe he's just trying to see if there's like more vanguards up here. This is a pretty good map though for Falcon, because he has this massive tree line, so he has really good cover for his whole army. So for example, if this was like open field, he would be taking a lot more firepower probably on the deck gunners, but in this case, Falcon can really methodically push up his army, hide in the trees until like the very last second here. So one really good way to fight Luther Harkin with Lizardmen is to use Tempest. So you bring a Slann with high magic and you Tempest him down. And then from there you can like poke him with Chameleon Skinks and other assets. There's a couple ways to play this matchup. Like one way you're seeing now is what Falcon's doing. It's like a rush. You go very wide, you try and swarm at the same time, shut down the guns, etc, etc. Another way is kind of the Hyalianale playstyle, where you use a lot of skirmishers and salamanders and stegodons to snipe their range and like force them to advance. There's a bunch of ways to play this matchup, honestly. But yeah, they're both good in their own right. They're both good in their own right. Now up on the high ground here, we do have these skink cohorts, and they're going to be coming around, but obviously Luther Harkin's just sitting there cackling, and there's some Sirens here as well. So Sirens would be very efficient at terror-rotting off those poor little skinks. But Falcon is getting ready, man. He's just doing that methodical surround. I do like the 2 Feral Stegodons. I think that's a cool inclusion. Sending them in first to absorb the Bombers could also be a very good play, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Bombers are just such an unholy terror, man. It's so difficult to deal with. Falcon really just being patient here. And honestly not taking too much damage. I mean, he's taking a little bit of damage on the skink cohorts, but who cares about that? And he actually is going to be fighting the Sirens here, so sending in the Clever Girls to attack them. And there is, you know, a thing where he could send in the Skinks, Clever Girls, and maybe just swarm the Sirens and try and crumble them, but I'm a little bit concerned. Oh, but look at this. Enticity actually has Scurvy Dogs hiding back here. So despite, you know, this situation normally being a win for the Lizardmen, with the Scurvy Dogs breaking on those Clever Girls, it could actually be a really bad situation. Anyways, Falcon now advancing with his main army. Handguns going down. Looks like a Wind Blast from Falcon will be doing some... Ooh, a nice Wind Blast right there. Really, really good play. And the Kroxigor Ancient's going to be descending into the back lines, and Falcon pushing in with Cav on all directions. Some of the Bombers are shut down. He does also have the Red-Crested Skinks getting into the gunnery mobs, and yeah, good timing for sure. I mean, everything pretty much engaged at the same time. The only thing that's going very bad for Falcon so far is this backline engagement here, as the Sirens and the Scurvy Dogs are able to overwhelm that skink position. On top of that, the Cav forces coming in. The Colden Riders just get massacred by a torrent of fire. But one handgun mob is almost done. 2 Stegodons are going to be getting into these guys here. And yeah, Falcon is getting units across the board, and you know, is getting a good spread of engagements. But I would say Enticity is still a little bit ahead here. His focus fire has been devastating, and also the fact that Falcon wasn't able to get this engagement and he got massacred over here. He lost like the 2 Clever Girls, 2 skink cohorts. That's over 1,000 gold that pretty much got trash canned like right there in a couple seconds. But yeah, the Lizards are advancing in. The Feral Stegodon in combat as well, and here you can see the deck gunners are being shut down. The Kroxigor Ancient getting in there with his big old spanking paddle as well. Should be able to do some good work. And yeah, a lot of the coast gun line is more or less compromised. Bombers are crumbling down, but Luther Harkin is probably going to be able to come in and peel off at least some of these big dinos. Hard to say. We got more Cav coming in as well. Falcon with his Colden Riders pushing, but now the Sirens are going to be countercharging them, and we got Scurvy Dogs coming in as well. Really, really painful stuff. Losing that whole flank engagement was quite painful. He lost a lot of resources there. Granted, it was just, you know, chaff units, but it still adds up. You need everything to win this matchup here for the dinos. So in this case, the Feral Bastillodons are now fighting. The Feral Stegodon going after Luther Harkin as well. And Luther Harkin does pop the Invocation of Nehek, healing up the handgun mob. Syrene's getting a really nice pin. Syrenes actually do have good AP values too, so they can kill things like Golden Riders actually rather quickly. Balance of Power is pretty even though. Oh, look at this, guys. Yeah, that's actually really big. The Vampire Fleet Captain almost killed there by that Croc-Score Ancient. He really needs to finish that guy off. Getting rid of healing in the early game for Luther Harkin would be a huge play. So Bombers are still crumbling here. Falcon with some dreaded tactical reserves. He does have some skink cohorts up on the high ground he could pull in. Not high ground, but his deployment zone, so he needs to get those guys engaged for sure. And now the Croc-Score Ancient is going to be going after the Vampire Fleet Captain here, it looks like. Golden Riders still doing the best they can, and the Feral Stegodon actually ramming Luther Harkin in the back here, but gotta be careful. If Luther Harkin is able to isolate that Croc-Score Ancient, he could probably win that combat. Enticity with a really nice summon. He drops a summon of the Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs back here, which is going to lay more fire into the advancing Stegodon. And yeah, Syrene's able to really make mincemeat there of those Golden Riders. Balance of Power is still even-ish. Slightly Vampire Coast favored, I'd say. And as far as the current state of the game goes, I think that Vampire Coast is in a more dominant position, simply because Luther Harkin can just pretty much manhandle this Croc-Score Ancient like hardcore. A really good usage of the Amulet of Itzel gives him 66% ward save, so you know he minimizes the damage of Luther right there, but the summon handgun mobs are doing some really solid damage shooting into the back here. Falcon with a good play, pulling in the Stegodon to try and attack Luther in the back. You got to keep this Croc-Score Ancient alive for sure. But Balance of Power is going more and more into the favor of Coast, as the Scurvy Dogs are able to charge in and perhaps kill the Skink Priest of Heavens. What would really be big here would be a Wind Blast on top of the Syrenes. That would do some huge damage. But yeah, you can see Luther Harkin just manhandling this Croc-Score Ancient. Like, he is not up to that fight. Oh, nice Wind Blast right there. Beautiful cast. A little bit further back might have KO'd the unit. But still, that was a good cast. The Croc-Score Ancient taking quite a bit of firepower. Balance of Power is like creeping for Vampire Coast, but Lizards also still have a lot left. It's actually a really, really close game. Yeah, I mean, what's left for the Vampire Coast gun line? Oh man, don't leave those guys. That's a big mistake. Falcon really needs to finish off those handgun mobs there. And the Croc-Score Ancient plus the Stegodon are able to force Luther back. It looks like these summoned gunnery mobs, which are just so damn strong, are going to be breaking here. Nice breath attack there by Enticity. Able to just wreck that Croc-Score Ancient. And now they're going to be charging into the summoned guns, but Luther Harkin is going to give the final business here to the Croc-Score Ancient. I have to wonder if a Tempest Salon would have been good here to like keep Luther from, you know, being completely dominant up in the sky. Looking around here, we do have Syrenes battling Skink cohorts. Falcon did do a really good job shutting down the... I mean, there are no gun units left. It's really, yeah, nothing left in that respect. I mean, some bombers, one little tattered handgun unit here, and of course he summoned zombies, which will be disappearing here in a couple seconds. But yeah, I think that in the end, Luther Harkin's going to carry, and I think one of the big deciding factors was the big engagement over here. Like, those clever girls and those Skink cohorts, had they been able to penetrate better, or at least be amongst the battle instead of just dying on Syrenes, could have been able to shut down many of the handgun mobs earlier in the bombers, which would have made, you know, the existence for the other lizard people much better for sure. Feral Stegodon's doing quite a number here on Luther, actually. Got some good damage on him right there. Croc-Score Ancient being chased off by dogs. Really well played by Enticity, making sure to chase those guys down. And the lizards are looking to be on death's bed. They still do have some skinks. Zombie Pirate Gunnery mob handguns are crumbling down, but there's no way that this Feral Stegodon is going to defeat Luther Harkin. There's no way. So from the looks of things, it looks like Enticity will be advancing on, and he'll have to fight the Midnight Aerocrastic. Now, Vampire Counts versus Vampire Coast, I've actually felt is a pretty decent matchup for both sides. Like, definitely a better matchup than this one in regards to the Lizardmen, but well played to Falcon. It was a solid attempt. I think it's a Vampire Coast favored matchup, and he did a really good job cleaning up, but you have to play perfectly to win that matchup. Like, really, really perfectly. And there was a couple of mistakes with that big flank being compromised and just losing all those resources early. All hail the mighty. And there you go, guys. Vampire Coast advances on. Well played to Falcon and Enticity. But now we have we have the undead side of the bracket versus the... I'm sure Zyphos on the other side is like, oh god, please don't make me fight Enticity again, his Vampire Coast. Yeah, well played. Chosen one, you're 12 of 12 on your predictions, dude. Damn. You're in line to win a prize. We got the Halloween bottom side of the bracket, huh? All right, so let's go jump to the top side. GG, well played. Enticity will be facing Aerocrastic, which is going to be a really, really good fight. I'm super excited for that. I know they've both been practicing quite a bit. And now on the top side, we got Zyphos versus Guac. All right, so this is let's get in there. All hail the mighty. So, you know, Vampire Coast is definitely the strongest faction of the game, but you also have to take into account Vampire Coast, in terms of the faction war format, they've only won once. And Enticity has been playing almost every single time as Vampire Coast because he's just like, you know, the Vampire Coast guy. So, I mean, they have lost many matchups. And if they end up having to fight, you know, dwarves, they pretty much auto lose. But yeah, I agree. Vampire Coast, I think they just need to nerf bombers. And bombers would be a start. Because then, like, Vampire Coast used to be defeated by winning the infantry fight and just marching through them. But you can't really do that anymore because bombers just Shrek Saurus and skinks and things like that. I think you have to nerf bombers a little bit. Like, revert their damage. But nonetheless, I mean, there are situations that... Okay, let me go ahead and get the nameplates already. So Zyphos versus Guac here. So Bretonnia versus Wood Elves on the top side of the bracket. There we go. Hey, what's up, Wicked? How you doing, man? Dude, Zyphos' Mel Gibson play was quite great. I don't know if he'll repeat it. Maybe if he faces Enticity, he will. Like, in one of the previous faction wars, we had Wood Elves versus Vampire Coast in the grand finals, and Falcon was able to win that by rushing them down pretty much every game. I think bombers are too... Yeah, bombers are really good. For me, bombers are the big problem. Yeah, because, like, you just can't... I used to beat coast players by just going, like, with mass cost-effective infantry and, like, swarming them, but now if you do that, you're, like, Saurus get nuked and, like, by, like, just cheap, dirty bombers and, like... Yeah. Like, I expect them to pound me with guns, but I don't expect them to win the, like, frontline fights. Yeah. Alright. Let's load into the battle. And looks like the nameplates are all up. We're all good to go. So, this is a matchup that, historically, everyone has said is very, very favored for Bretonnia. However, Zyphos has been the one exception to the rule. In pretty much every tournament I've had with Zyphos, including ECLs and qualifiers, whenever I've seen him go up against Bretonnia, he usually wins. I think he is so practiced in this matchup that, you know, he's probably very comfortable. Hey, thank you, Pressers Sleepy Time ASMR, for the $10 donation. As always, I love this format. Here's the tenner for all your hard work. Really appreciate that, man. Really appreciate that. All right. Got a little, like, dust on my mic here. Hold on, guys. So I'm just going to wipe down my mic real quick. Okay, that's fine. Looks good. Cool. All right. Cool. So for Zyphos, he's got a frontline, not frontline, a primary core of Way Watchers to snipe the heavy cav, Wild Riders, Pravenoth Reym caster, Spellsinger of Life, and a bunch of random spears, which pretty much sit in the corner of the map. So in this case, you basically just, you know, force the Bretonnians to overextend, pray them, fall back, sacrifice one Wild Rider, fall back, kill another one, sacrifice another Wild Rider. It's like a rinse and repeat process, which can be pretty effective against Bretonnia. You guys will see. And for the Bretonnians, we got peasant mobs, we got men-at-arms, peasant archers, and how many trebuchets? Double trebuchet. Zyphos only has one Arrow of Kurnus character, so he could kill them over time, but the trebuchets will lend some decent fire. Fey Enchantress, Paladin, and a Damsel of Life? What? Was that a mistake? Oh, I think he made a mistake here. Okay, so I do not believe... Let me go ahead and double check. Hold on one sec, guys. Gotta check something. So normally you can have two casters of the same lore, but I don't know if he's allowed to have two Earthbloods in tournament rules, because otherwise vampire counts and factions like that would just bring like 3, you know, raised deads and would have like a million raised dead summons and it'd be kind of OP. If that's the case, I'll just tell Guac not to use Earthblood on this Damsel of Life. He can use Awakening of the Wood, and then we're totally fine. So we got Grail Knights in the back. Grail Knights, yeah, somebody in chat, Hadries, can you check that for me? I'm pretty sure you can't have multiples of the same spell. Maybe there's an exception for it if it's like a legendary lord, like, but I'm pretty sure you can't. But if one of you guys could check that for me, just so I don't have to minimize and risk crashing the game, that'd be greatly appreciated. In that case, I'll just tell Guac he can't use that, you know, character there. And okay, you cannot have 2 copies. Okay, yeah, I'll just tell him it's fine. So I'm just gonna tell him so Guac, check Discord message. I'm just gonna message him on Discord and let him know. Yeah, so he's just not going to use Earthblood on a second caster, and he'll be fine. Don't use the... All right. All right, cool. Just making sure he's got the message here. Yeah, the Fey Enchantress has Earthblood. Don't use... he switched the Lewin with the Fey Enchantress at the last second. That's why he had that. Yeah, so totally fine. So they're going to play the game right now. Basically, he just can't use the Earthblood on this damsel. He can still use Awakening of the Wood to like slow down the Wood Elves and things like that. He just can't use the Earthblood, which is totally fine. So, but yeah, there are situations where like some factions can bring like triple Spirit Leech and like you can bring Manfred with like all the Winds of Magic regeneration, double Vampires of Death with Spirit Leech, and just like spam Spirit Leech and fly circles around people and draw kite. It encourages a lot of like really trollish play. So that's one of the reasons why the rule is like that. So no, James Rye, he's allowed to use Earthblood from just one of his casters. He has to choose. So he told me in chat he's just going to be using it from Fey Enchantress, and the Damsel will just be used for Awakening of the Wood slowing mechanic. So it's totally fine. He'll be totally fine. Don't you guys worry. And yeah, right now, start when ready. Good luck, have fun. Good luck, have fun indeed. Yeah, I remember in the early days of playing ladder. So there was a time, I don't know if you guys remember these dark times, when summons didn't disappear. They lasted forever. So in the early days of like Warhammer 1 ladder, you would have, you would have like triple zombie summon. You'd have like, you know, a lord and 2 like necromancers summoning zombies. And dude, you would literally have like a full 20 stack of extra zombies on the battlefield, like over the course of a battle. It was so awful. Yeah. It was so awful, dude. Yeah. And here we go. It is time. Let's get this battle underway. Arrow of Kurnus being used by Zyphos. And the reason why you bring Arrow of Kurnus is for this exact reason. It's very good for sniping artillery pieces. So one of the field trebuchets has been sniped by the Wood Elf Lord, but you know, there's still 5 trebuchets shooting, right? And they can put some poke here onto the Way Watchers and get some decent damage. So, no, summons didn't always degrade. I think they might have, no, like that was changed. In Warhammer 1, in the early days, summons were permanent. Yeah, in the early days. But again, I wasn't super involved in hosting tournaments back then. I did play a lot myself, but I didn't like host as many. So I'm not sure what the early days of tournament rules were, but it was pretty bad in the way early times. So Zyphos coming in here trying to snipe the trebuchets. And, ooh, these Way Watchers are a little bit aggressive. Oh, guys, the dreaded peasant flank. Guac is on the hunt. These peasants are hungry. They haven't eaten in days. And those Way Watchers are looking mighty tasty to them. So we will see. Yeah, the Treb's still dropping some shots here. Zyphos, of course, does have his Wild Riders nearby. This is like classic Zyphos. Like, you overextend chasing the Way Watchers. Then you get caught with Pravenoth Rema and rode down. I mean, the peasants will most likely get rode down for sure. And Guac is trying to be careful with his Knights of the Realm, but it looks like a Pravenoth Rema is going to be going down right now. I would wager Zyphos is going to do it. It's a worthy cast. He's trying to get there. Earthblood's going down from the Fey Enchantress, which is fine. And the Knights of the Realm there are, yeah, taking a lot of damage, man. Looks like maybe a regrowth coming in as well from the Fey. That's a lot of Winds of Magic, yeah, just to kind of save those guys. They didn't lose a lot of models, though, so I suppose that's worth it. You'll notice that Zyphos is really good with his ammunition management too. Like, he's barely used any ammo. He's not like wasting ammo on the peasant mobs. And now these peasants who were suddenly filled with confidence chasing down these gaunt elvish archers are now going to be rode down by the Ranger Cabin. They are not going to be having a good time. So you can see there, those peasant bowmen are going to be rode down pretty bad. Knights of the Realm could countercharge, but the thing is, Zyphos is sitting here with his Way Watchers, and Bretonnian trebuchets are losing another. Nope. That did not kill a trebuchet. Okay, so he still has 5 trebuchet shooting. And, you know, he's getting good damage on these Way Watchers. As far as trading goes, I'd say it's pretty even. Like, Bretonnians can afford to just sit back and use their trebs, right? Zyphos being very conservative with his ammo, just ripping shots only when he has to and riding down peasants in the meantime. Zyphos on the far side of the battlefield is getting over here and massacring these peasant mobs. They are expendable, only 100 gold, so, like, between the damage on these 2 peasant mobs, it's probably like 110 gold worth of damage. So it's really not that big of a deal. Zyphos able to use his Lord here to continue sit and sniping, and it looks like Guac is going to be reacting, using an Awakening of the Wood on a second caster, but he did miss the Glade Lord. He was trying to slow it down. Granted, I don't know what that would have really done anyway. Oh no, not like this. Oh god, Fey Enchantress gets caught in Pravenoth Rema. She needs a regrowth right now, or else this is going to be really bad. At least an Earthblood coming down. Anakin, I'm too weak. Oh, I can't go any longer. Okay, she's free. I think Guac is going to get away, but just barely. He's got a juke, man. Here comes another volley. Zyphos ripping the shots. Guac able to juke it. Oh, but kind of cuts back into that volley there. And now that Prey of Anathema is off cooldown, honestly, the defenders of Fleur de Lis and some of these knights are going to get a good charge here. So the Enchantress sacrifice won't be, purely in vain, as the defenders of Fleur de Lis gets in there and, really start to pound at those Way Watchers. That's pretty good. Granted, the Bretonnian Knights will be swarmed now by all the Wild Riders because there isn't an overwhelming mass of like Knights of the Realm and other units here. Enchantress was able to survive, which is pretty important. She's now running for the hills here, but she should come back. I mean, the Enchantress shouldn't break like outright here. Although Zyphos does shoot her with an Arrow of Kernus, which is a really good play. And now she's going to be running for the edge of the map. Negative 22, 6 leadership. Will she stabilize here? It's hard to say. The Wood Elves don't really have any pursuit. Oh, and she's back. That's huge for Bretonnia. Like, that gives Bretonnia a fighting chance here. Without that, it would have been probably game blouses. But now Enchantress is coming back. Arcane Conduit is active. And the dudes are doing it, man. Trebuchet's still firing quite happily. I mean, tons of ammo on them, right? So they can keep playing this long game if they want to. And I think falling back and starting to play a more conservative defensive game here for Bretonnia is the play after Enchantress being pounded so horribly. The Bretonnian Knights are riding to intercept, trying to keep the Wild Riders and the Glade Lord from shooting at Enchantress for free. Here comes a shot, 844 HP, and does it hit? It does, 779. A little bit of damage going on. Knights of the Realm getting hammered once again, but now the Bretonnians are coming for a big flank overload. This could be quite big. You can see all the Wood Elf Cav are not quite in position. I mean, they could rotate back for sure, and it looks like they are going to do that now, but the Knights of the Lionhearted are charging in, opting to take an engagement here. Prey of Anathema should be on cooldown right now. And Enchantress does get popped once again. No, she does dodge that shot. So, oh my god. The Prey of Anathema is so strong here. Knights of the Lionhearted charging in. They do get a pretty good charge, but they are met by the Wild Riders, which Zyphos is just so happy to do. And Enchantress isn't nearby to support, and the Way Watchers are now shooting the defenders of Fleur de Lis. Earthblood is active, and you can see the Bretonnian Heavy Cav. Though, like, pound for pound, they do defeat Wild Riders. Like, they're just being swarmed, you know? They're being swarmed. Balance of power starting to change into the favor here of the Bretonnians. It seems like the field trebuchets aren't working out too well. The loose formation of the Way Watchers, I think, is just really punishing them. And the Bretonnian Cav can't quite get their timings quite as good as the Wood Elves do here. And here you can see the Grail Knights. Ooh, this is actually really big here. The Grail Knights of Guac are able to get a full surround here on the Glade Lord. And like that could be a way for Guac to get back in this game. Way Watchers aren't quite in position. Some peasant mobs being thrown in. But this is like exactly what he needs here. Oh, man, and Zyphos loses his Lord to the Grail Knights. Oof, dude. That guy is broken. Bread buttered. And with proper control, Guac should not let that guy go. And, Balance of Power is even again. Like, that is a huge play. Getting rid of the sniping and potentially, I don't know how many praise he used. I think he used 2. But that is a really big grab. And now the Grail Knights are going to be charging in. Renewed confidence, but they got to be careful. Honestly, I think saving the Grail Knights for really, really late game against the Way Watchers would be better. Because now they're just going to get sniped by the Way Watchers and just dunked on super hard. War Dancers with Azrai Spears coming in. Let's see, here they go. And Inside Large and Armor Piercing. Certainly very up to the task of killing Grail Knights. A little bit of a misplay there from Guac. I think he should pull back those Grail Knights. Although I guess he has them in a decent fight against Wild Riders, but there's just so many Azrai Spears here. That's like the big problem. Peasant Bowman still in the back as well. Enchantress coming in. Maybe she's going to be dropping some sort of a regrowth effect on this character. It's a little bit hard to say. But one unit of the Wild Riders does actually get broken here. Trebuchet still shooting. And Wood Elf ammunition is getting a little bit low. The thing is, if they run out of ammo and Enchantress is still alive, yeah, he's trying to snipe the Fae. Fae's taking a lot of firepower, but she's going to be piling in. Trying to let her Mortis Engine effect get in there, but that's, yeah, Guac has got to be really careful. This is a really close game now, actually. Peasant Bowmen are advancing up. Enchantress needs to pull back because she's going to get sniped super hard if she's not careful. You can see Guac has manually taken over control here. Those Grail Knights, I don't know if that was worth the sacrifice. It's hard to say. I mean, they did kill a Wild Rider unit, did some decent HP damage, but the Bretonnian army is very, very tattered. Aside from that, I guess they have 2 Trebs. So maybe the Bretonnians should just fall back with their Cav, right? Like, and start using the Trebuchets to fire, because they have so much more ammo, instead of taking these aggressive engagements, considering they killed the Lord. Yeah, this is a great game. Peasant Archers are now shooting as well, and getting some decent damage into whatever they can. Some Bretonnian Knights are still here. We have 25 Knights of the Realm going to be hammering into the Eternal Guard in the front and then pulling back as soon as they see the threat of the Wild Riders. And Zyphos actually has a pretty big advantage in the mobile game here. But some Grail Knights at least will get a charge, and they will kill a lot of Wild Riders on impact. They themselves will die, but not before they do a little bit of HP damage. Enchantress should not be going over here. This is a big misplay by Guac. Because what's going to happen is the Grail Knights will die, and then she gets surrounded. Okay, he pulls back quick enough, which is good. Sends in the Paladin to get some damage. Paladin is an anti-large specialist, so should be pretty good against Wild Riders. Dude, this game is so freaking close. Man, this is... After killing that Wood Elf Lord, this one became like a nail-biter of a game. The fact that the Peasant Bowmen are still shooting too is quite good. I think pulling back the Peasant Bowmen here would be solid. But yeah, he's shooting into the Azrai Spears now, which is solid. But is that the only word I know? Come on, man. Where's that vocabulary? Wild Riders here, 21, 25, and 30. A pretty healthy count for the Wood Elf Cav Corps. Ammunition getting a little bit low for Zyphos, which means the Waywatcher play will be more or less offline. This game is really close. He's just got to make sure he doesn't lose Fey Enchantress, I think. Like, if Fey Enchantress survives the missile play, and then is able to just, you know, more dissension the Wild Riders down with Paladin support and some infantry support, I think he'll be okay. Trebuchets, at this point, probably I would stop shooting. Oh, Fey Enchantress almost gets gooned there, but she's going in. Her and the Damsel are going after some of the Wild Riders. That is a bold play. Those guys hit kind of hard. And the Paladins are going after the other one. Trebuchet's still dropping some shots. Maybe at this point, switching the Trebuchet fire onto the Wild Riders would be the play. Just try and, you know, bonk them with some rocks. It's a really, really good match. We've had some amazing matches. Faction Wars always brings out the best. And here the Wild Riders are on the run. This, of course, is determining who gets a spot in the Grand Finals for the big prize. Big cash prize. Wild Riders are on the run. Currently pretty good on leadership. Wild Riders are bum rushing back here. Zyphos is pulling ahead with the mass rout of the Bretonnian hordes. You can see the Peasant Bowmen and all these like chaff units are starting to rout here. Also on top of that, there's still Azrai Spears too. They're going to be super solid against these characters. We have some men-at-arms fighting. Trebuchet still shooting, but like it's going to take some really good picks here. Or mistakes, I suppose, from Zyphos. The Damsel of Life could drop an Awakening of the Wood, do a little bit of splash damage, but yeah, Fey Enchantress is going down. She's getting surrounded here. Zyphos lancing in once again. Fey Enchantress is very squishy to this type of damage, and she'll be going in just a second after she drops some more Dragon Ball Z. And down goes the Fey Enchantress. Her Kamehameha did not save her there. And the Damsel of Life is broken, and with that, the Wood Elves are going to be advancing through in a very hard-fought fight. My goodness, a 10-plus minute battle. And you can see the Damsel of Life is now dying to Azrai Spears. Zyphos out of ammunition. His Wild Riders beat almost to the point of extinction, but just holding on barely to shut down the Trebs. GG, well played. He says he needs more Trebs. Oh, man. That was a great one. Dude, Bretonnia definitely lost the skirmishing phase with their cav and the exchanges there, but killing the Lord almost got it back for Guac. So the big misplays were Fey Enchantress getting prayed, in the cav over. I don't think Guac had to extend. I think he could have sat back with his Trebs more and just like forced Zyphos to waste ammo on men-at-arms and stuff. Yeah. It was still a really good play. I mean, despite being behind, Guac almost came back and, you know, normalized the balance of power and, you know, almost got it, really. It was a great game. Zyphos, of course, remained calm under pressure and was able to, you know, despite losing his Lord, come back, which was really, really good. All right. Well played. So let's go ahead and update that glorious bracket. We got Wood Elves in the finals once again. Zyphos right now, I'm sure, is praying to whatever gods he believes in that it's a vampire count game. Because he hates playing Vampire Coast here, so. Yeah, Zyphos made it to the finals, man. Well played to Guac. An awesome series of games from him, defeating Chaos and Dark Elves. And now we got Zyphos in the finals. All right, so now we got Aerocrastic, the Midnight Aristocracy versus Enticity. This is going to be fun, man. I'm hyped. I am hyped. Meldrick, the Vampire Counts, defeated the Dwarves. Yeah. All right. The Midnight Anticracy. That's what they're calling their lobby. That's funny. Malverde, you're 12 of 14. That's pretty good, man. Hey, Wicked, thanks again for your help, man. Yeah, the Grail Knights going down there was rough. I think he could have played a much more conservative game and used his Trebs, but Guac, you still played a great game, man. Hold your head up high. You had a really good run in today's Faction War. All right. So let me see here. Who's on the left? It's Aerocrastic versus Enticity. Cool, let's load in. Yeah, Zyphos saying, yeah, Guac even saying he shouldn't have pushed up after that, sadly, yeah. All right, guys. Dude, I love the build from Aerocrastic. Oh, that's so awesome. That is a dank build. I can't see Anticity's build quite yet, but so far I'm very pleased. All right, guys, this is it, the bottom semifinal. This match will be determining who goes to the grand finals between Enticity and Aerocrastic. Vampire Counts versus Vampire Coast. A very spooky showdown indeed. Oh, man. It's going to be good, man. Who you guys rooting for? Let us know in chat. Vampire Counts, Vampire Coast. Who are your people? We're on a very different map. You don't see this one terribly often. And yeah, this looks like a pretty classic build here. Oh, did he mean to bring her on foot? That's got to be a mistake. I mean, I guess on foot? She's pretty squishy, though. Luther Harkin definitely could find a new wife here if she's not careful. All right, let's load into the game here. Get you guys the vision that I have. So, here we go, my friends. It's going to be double Graveguard with great weapons. Front line of zombies and Crypt Ghouls as well. As far as Cav goes, it's going to be Blood Knight and triple Black Knight. Black Knights are a great disruption tool. They're shielded, armored, can really get into the back line and shut down guns and whatnot. Now, he's got double Banshee. This is one of Vampire Count's best answers to armor. They have really good AP values, proportionally speaking. Really tough to kill. And what I really like, too, is the Blood Chalice from Isabella von Karstein. So check this out. It actually heals. It's like an overcasted regrowth. And you can cast it on her. You can cast it on the Banshees. And it pretty much opens up invocations for other targets, right? So if you don't want to be using your invocations on your heroes, you can use the Blood Chalice and then just use invocations on like your Blood Knights or whatever else you're looking for. So yeah, pretty cool build. I'm curious if having Isabella on foot was intentional. I feel like it might not be, but like, you know, sometimes when you like select a mount, sometimes it's a little bit like buggy or something. I'm not really sure. We'll see. We will see. They're both really cool factions. Definitely a good rush. I mean, the Fellbats are also a great disruption tool, but Enticity not going for gunline at all. Is going for the box. What lore magic does he have? So Enticity does not have much magic damage, which means the Banshees are going to be really, really strong. The Halberd box will probably collapse pretty quickly. Luther Harkin is going to be a pain in the butt for sure, but at least the Vampire Counts can heal. So that is that. That is that indeed. Get Out Mule saying 2 of my favorite players. Yeah, they're definitely worthy of those of the respect, man. They are indeed. These are definitely 2 of the best players in the community. Watching them go fisticuffs here in the semifinals. Enticity says, "Good luck, have fun. Please forgive me for this build. It's a sin that must be done at least once." And Aerocrastic says it's all right. Oh, that's so funny, dude. Look at this haggard coast box. That's so funny. Yeah, you know, Enticity almost never plays boxes too. It's very rare. He almost always plays gunline. Yeah, Aerocrastic has fought 3 boxes today. He fought a Dwarf box, a Tomb King's box. Look at the Fellbats swarming. I love it, dude. Luther Harkin is getting owned by the Fellbats. Look. That's actually really good. Like, chasing Luther with the Fellbats keeps him from, like, doing what he wants to do. And, like, he might lose a Fellbat here and there, but, like, I think that's worth it. I honestly would just stay on him. I guess, oh, no, you got to watch out for the Gallows Giant. The Gallows Giant has a flamethrower, so that could actually kill the Fellbats if you're not careful. So Aerocrastic just advancing right now. No Crypt Ghouls in his build. Crypt Ghouls would be very, very good here. But the Graveguard should be able to eventually get through here. So the Gallows Giant is going to be probably using its flamethrower here to roast some zombies, or maybe go after Fellbats up in the sky. It's hard to tell. Enticity's backline isn't defended by halberds, so the Black Knight charges should be good. Basically, Aerocrastic needs to kill all the zombies and then use it. Be really careful with his Blood Knights and then use them. Oh, the flamethrower. Oh, no. They got some good damage. The Fellbats are falling in droves. Aerocrastic needs to fan out now. Yeah, that was what I was worried about. Oh, the Gallows Giant flamethrower. Dude, that's so much damage. The Black Knights have engaged. Zombie deckhand mobs are starting to take some damage for sure. Aerocrastic could overcast an invocation, honestly, and save his Fellbats, but I don't know if that's worth it, really. And it looks like a taunt is being used, so good retreat there by Aerocrastic. Going to be pulling back. The Gallows Giant getting some good work in there. And now Lady Karstein is being sniped by Luther Harkin a little bit, but it's honestly not that big of a deal. Yeah, the Banshees are on defense duty, although I would probably send the Banshees in and then use the Blood Knights to defend Lady Karstein. Nice breath attack there by Luther. Flamethrower attempt coming in once again. But the Vampire Counts are pushing in, and you can see the defensive bubble here is starting to... I know. Bats are flying rats, I know. Oh my god, what was that? What item is that? I forgot. Oh, it's Scab Scrate. The Gunnery White has Scab Scrate. Dude, that just wrecked those Crypt Ghouls. Oh my god, that was brutal. So this often happens in this matchup. Like, you fall behind as the Vampire Counts, but then once you're able to grind out the chaff and surround the targets you really want, you can get ahead. Looks like another zombie summon's going to be used here. Luther Harkin actually getting into combat, going after Isabella. Now, she probably has the Blood Chalice. Definitely should use it on herself here if she hasn't. And Red Fury is activated, and Luther Harkin is on the ground, so I think getting the Banshees in there to start shanking Luther would be really good. If Arrow doesn't get the Blood Chalice off, though, he just loses. Yeah, it looks like Isabella von Karstein's super beat up. No Invocation, no Blood Chalice yet. I don't know. Did he use it on something else? He couldn't have. Negative 22. I mean, if Isabella dies, it's over. Yeah, Isabella's dead. I'm pretty sure that's game. I mean, I don't know if Arrow can pull back from that. He definitely took a ton of damage there, but yeah, where was... Maybe he wasn't paying attention, looking at something else. Because a Blood Chalice would have healed her up to full health, more or less. And then the Banshees are getting Luther here. Like, this trade is actually going well for the Counts. Aside from what just happened to Lady Karstein, for sure. Felbat's circling in the skies, trying their best. Vampires still have some pretty good characters, and the Banshees are still healthy, but yeah. Foot Isabella was weird. I think, like, having her flying, she can outrun Luther, and she can, like, pick her engagements better. In that case, did he use Invocation on the ghouls? But the Blood Chalice was still active, and she can use it on herself, I'm pretty sure. It's not 100% over, though. The Blood Knights could still carry, especially if they get a good surround. The two Banshees are going to be tough to kill, too, because Vampire Coast doesn't have a lot of magic damage. They didn't bring, you know, Spiteful Shot or any way of imbuing that damage. So it's going to be very, very tough. And now you can see the double Banshees are actually killing the Vampire Fleet Captain. This is really big. If Enticity is to lose his Crab Lady here, or Crab Man, or whatever it is, I don't know what gender the crab is, or the person riding the crab, but yeah, that would be pretty big. So Felbat's being used on Luther Harkin here. Blood Knights are 21 models, but no Invocation, which is certainly painful. Vampire Counts have cut through most of the ranks, and now the Vampire Fleet Captain is crumbling down. Both Banshees are in good shape, and this guy's going to keep getting shanked by that Banshee there. Yeah, down to 710, I think. Let's check the HP. 1,000 HP, double Banshees kind of chipping away. Up in the sky, Luther Harkin battling the bats here, but the Gallows Giant is going to annihilate the infantry too. Gallows Giant is designed to kill a Graveguard and things like that. Yeah. I think losing Isabella was too much. Like, vampires, like, if you lose your Lord, especially your Caster Lord, you're just, like, in such trouble. Because, like, you lose your Raised Deads, you lose your Invocations. The Blood Knights die because of that. And Enticity is going to be going on to face Zyphos. Oh my god, I'm sure Zyphos is so not happy about that. But Wood Elves have defeated Vampire Coast in the finals before. Falcon was able to do it, so I'm sure Zyphos will have a chance as well. And yeah, the Banshees are still going. I mean, going after the Gallows Giant now, but there are Sirens here which do magic damage. They can actually kill the Banshees as well. Yeah, I think the Lady Karstein situation just kind of tossed the game. It was going fine other than that, you know. Just Arrow was doing a really good job killing the Invocation, the caster for Coast, but losing Lady Karstein just cost them the game. Yeah, it's an easy mistake to make. Sometimes it's hard to click on the characters too when they're in that blob. You have to like click on the portraits. All right, guys. Enticity will be advancing on to the grand finals. Let's go to the faction war bracket. Zyphos awaits atop his throne of wooden skulls. Enticity coming to get us. So this would be a second win for the either of these factions. They both won the faction war in the past. Yeah, they both have. All right, let's pull it up. And now grand finals. One sec here. That was from my head-to-head. Okay. Cool, so Enticity and Zyphos, I'm hosting the game. Here we go. So let me tag him. Finals hosted. Password is cool. So we do have some spookiness in the finals. Let me go ahead and invite these two fine gentlemen. We'll get this going. Where art thou? Wow, they joined really quick. Okay. So for the first game, oh man, Wookiee just got so mad in there. We got a double. We do have a double ODM finals. Enticity Zyphos. That is true. So we'll mix up the maps. We'll do a bigger one, a smaller one. We'll do it all, man. We'll do Angui for the first one. No, that map is pretty overdone. A little Pillar of Bone action is good. Zyphos says, now my turn to get gunned down. So this is the best of 3 final. So you can try like one style of play. If that doesn't work, you can mix up your build. Yeah. It's good, man. Finals is best of 3, correct? Yeah. Well played, Aero. Definitely tough losing Lady Karstein like that. She got gooned pretty hard, but it was going well. So we'll do a smallish map first, and then we'll do a bigger map next. We'll give the players some diversity. The Pyramid of Nagash, do it. Oh god, a best of 9, dude. Oh my god. Oh yeah, Enticity is a great guy. He's a really good streamer too. Like if you watch Enticity play his games, he's really good at giving commentary while he plays and also commentating over other games. I think if he really wanted to, Enticity could have a really successful YouTube channel. Like if he wanted to go that route, he's a really, really charismatic, solid streamer and an amazing player. Skaven are going to win. Skaven have won the 2 faction wars. Hadries has led them to victory several times. Yeah. The most likely way for Coast to have lost earlier would have been if the dwarves had advanced. That would have been really hard for them. Make Isabella a hero. Yeah, I think Isabella would be a cool hero. But like you have to pick Vlad in order to use her. I think that'd be really neat. Yeah. And we go forth. Yeah, Coast has won once. Skaven have won twice. Wood Elves have won once. Empire has won. Yeah, and Anticity is definitely a really good specialist too, with Vampire Coast. But again, Zyphos is a Wood Elf specialist, so this is like what it's designed to be. Vampire Coast is very Halloween for sure. So we have seen this, like I said, in the finals before, and we saw Falcon win it. I believe that was a 2. Falcon, did you win 2-1? When you played against Anticity's Coast in the grand finals with Wood Elves, or was it a 2-0? I can't remember. Isabella's pretty good. I think Arrow had a good idea there, like keep the Banshees alive, but her being like on foot, I think was just that might have been a mistake. Like, you know, I don't know why she would be on foot. I mean, she's just like prey for Luther. A clan war, yeah, we haven't had a clan war in a long time. Yeah, I'll have some fun formats coming up. Britannia did very well today. Guac had a solid run. He definitely did. Falcon 1-2-0 there. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Tianvu. So now the picks will take a little bit longer here because the players have to pick here. The Wild Hunts calls. I think Zyphos should take some notes there for sure and just go like full bum rush. Like just bring like Mass Dryads, Mel Gibson, Wild Riders and Vanguard, like one Way Watcher in the back just to like give you something against armor, and then just like charge, dude. I think that's the most effective way. I mean, Enticity can build for that, but will he is the question, you know? They both have so many options. Well, I guess Wood Elves have 2 options. You can either play missiles or just like a bum rush, but Coast has a pretty diverse set of options, like mass bombers with handguns or like crabs, like to stop a rush. Yeah, Anticity is Canadian, yes. I believe he is. And Zyphos, of course, is French, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we have a really diverse set of players for sure in our tournament community. People from all over the world, which is really cool. Is that Wurzag? No Wurzag. What was that? Wookie? Hold on, guys. I gotta go hunt down Wookie. It sounds like he's barking at my neighbor's dog. What's that, guys? All right, I'm back. Players still doing their thing, picking their armies, which is fine. In the meantime, we can take a look and a salute to those who have fallen in today's faction war. Big thanks to everyone for playing today. You can see all the folks and the various champions of their respective factions. Quick chat, Turin is gone. Hostile takeover. I'm back, dude. Yeah. Loopy is 100% accurate so far. Oh. Well, let's see if he gets the final prediction right. It's exciting. Yeah, I'm really eager to see how many people got like a perfect prediction. I think Chosen One had a good one. I can't remember. Chosen One, are you still undefeated on your predictions for today in your bracket? Yeah, let me know. I'm quite curious, my friend. So let's see how this is looking. 2 minutes. So here's Zyphos. You just go with Dryads. Mel Gibson, just get in there. Orion is actually super good against Coast, in my opinion. His like bombardment spells are quite decent for killing their artillery positions, and he himself is good against the monsters and really is a big presence. Very disruptive. Finals is a best of 3, so if somebody wins 2 games, they do indeed win the finals. Yeah, that's how it works. Loopy, you and Satsuma are all 13 for 14 so far. Oh. Well, we'll have to see. I'll take a look at all those brackets, and again, if you guys are participating, make sure to go to the Discord afterwards and put your score in the section attached, which is the faction match or match wars score tab, and then I'll take a look and verify them against your brackets, and we'll be good. Enticity is ready. He's good. He's set to party. I think I can load back into the game now. Actually, I need to change the nameplate so Enticity's on the left side. Enticity. And Zyphos. A proud showing here for ODM today. And now we can load back. Although I don't want their armies to randomly appear. Alright, looks like they're good, so I'll wait till they get in the game. Yeah, Dahv has gotten to the finals before. Dahv got to the finals in one of the first faction wars. First or second? No, second faction war. I think he lost to Falcon's Lizardmen. But it was a good series. Dahv had a really good set of games that day. Hey Julian, thanks for the gesture. All right. So let's load in. It is time. We are on a pretty small map here, so again, I think Zyphos really needs to rush here. Like I don't think you can Wild Riders and a bum rush, and I think that's the way. But we'll see if he can do it like Falcon. Yep, and he did it. This is a good proper build. So Zyphos has got Wild Riders. He's got 4 Wild Riders, including the Wild Hunters of Kurnus, Sisters of Thorn, Dryads, 1 unit of Way Watchers, just like we talked about, Mel Gibson, and Branch Wraith. It's a great build, man. That build is straight down to business. Straight down to business indeed. And now for the Forces of the Coast, it's going to be a Deckhand Mobs into the Sunset with Count Noctilus. No surprises, but Count Noctilus versus Mel should be quite a bit of fun to watch. 2 Deck Gunners for good firepower on a small map. They can reach pretty much everything. Triple Handgunner, Crabos, 1 Crabo, and that is it with a bunch of Scurvy Dogs. Scurvy Dogs will not be that useful here. They're mainly going to be roadblocks for the Wild Riders. But the One Way Watcher I think is a good choice. You basically just like put them offset and just have them like start sniping crabs or like some high value targets. I really think this is the way to play this on this map, especially. A really big map might not be as good. I mean, they can all Vanguard more or less. I think Mel Gibson can Vanguard as well. So honestly, yeah, just pressuring from a couple different angles, surrounding them. You really need to get good Wild Rider pressure. Like for Zyphos, I would probably Vanguard like back here, like just, yeah, just go ham, dude. Just Vanguard all over the place, micro in there, and just try and run them down. What would be interesting, yeah, Mel is large, but Mel Gibson is a pretty big bully. Like, look at the stats here. 45, 64, 30. And if we look at Orion is 65, 44, 90. So way more weapon strength, a much bigger HP pool. Also, Cloak of Isha gives a massive ward save. So it's hard to say who would win that fight. Noctilus with dropping pistol summons, of course, would be very good. But Zyphos appears to be going for like a mass flanking Vanguard from the back here. Yeah, this is the way to do it, man. This is good. It's going to take a while for Anticity's Deckhand Mobs to get in there. Zyphos needs to collapse like super quickly. And I think he's aware that something funky might be going on, so you can see he's kind of like positioning. Yeah. Which is fine. Like facing backwards right away is smart, but it's not going to make too much of a difference, honestly. Enticity does have some big openings here. Obviously, these gunnery mobs can be collapsed on, and I think the players are probably ready. And this has happened to Enticity pretty much every time. Like, he's been, you know, assailed by rushes like this, so I think he's probably expecting it. Yeah. Let us know, guys. There's no bombers. Yeah, no bombers is really, really big for the Dryads. Like, Dryads will be really good at cutting through all this, like, infantry. These guys are clanmates. They're probably in chat together right now, I would imagine, so. Wood Elves need tree men to throw rocks. Dude, that'd be so cool. Like Isengard tree men. Like throwing the rocks at Isengard, yeah. This is one of the best maps in the whole game for Mass Vanguard, correct? Zyphos does have a Bretonnian accent, yes. Alright, so a little bit of firepower coming in, but honestly, that's fine. The Wild Riders are actually weathering it quite well. Oh, the Horn of the Wild Hunt has been sounded! A charge bonus of... Oh, and they get past the crabs! And they get right into the Deck Gunners. Nice, and the curse is down as well. Those Deck Gunners get shreked. The other Wild Riders are collapsing on the Halberds here. Dryads coming from all directions, but shutting down the Shade Wraith Gunners here is incredibly nice. And Mel Gibson's going to be dropping. Look at this. Oh, the Hounds of Gibson! Sounded once more in the deep, and he gets there, but like, even if these Wild Riders die, if they finish off Shade Wraith Gunners, that's going to be sweet. And here you can see in the back, the Way Watchers are now going after the Lamprey's Revenge and getting huge damage. And the other Wild Riders are just riding through these Halberds and should be able to shut down a bunch of the handguns. Should be able to get it in there. Mel Gibson taking quite a bit of damage. Branch Wraith could Earthblood him for sure, but he's still, you know, causing a ton of disruption. And the Doggos are now getting shut down as well. The Wild Riders here just pounding them. Now, Zyphos needs to make sure he doesn't send everything after those dogs. Sending like one cav unit is fine. But so far, pretty good disruption. Shade Wraith Gunners are crumbling down, negative 26. They'll probably crumble to their demise. There is Wild Riders on top of other handgun mobs, and the Dryads are all still in good shape, more or less. And yeah, here comes another charge coming in from the Sisters of Thorn. Mel Gibson taking a lot of work though, but like, that's the thing. If you target Mel Gibson and don't finish him off, he can kite you very well. He's very quick, much faster than Noctilus, but just needs to make sure he doesn't get caught. Really good Earthblood right there, actually. Hits Orion plus also these Sisters of Thorn. These Wild Riders might be able to shut down these gun mobs. Hard to say. It looks like the Way Watchers are back in business, and the Lamprey's Revenge are also crumps. Here comes more Wild Riders. Getting into the handgun mobs here, definitely quite solid. Could move through onto these handguns from there. Orion is getting stuck a little bit. Definitely a bit of a misplay there from Zyphos staying too close to Count Noctilus. Like he's a natural sprinter, man. Orion can definitely move quicker, and there's also some Dryads and Wild Riders in the back who need to get involved as well. Zyphos needs to pull those guys around and make sure they get engaged here. So a lot of gunfire going on. Orion staying in combat with Noctilus, a big mistake, man. And the Dryads are also a little bit bunched up. I think they need to fan out. There's like 2 units on one handgun here, which definitely is not the way. And these Scurvy Dogs appear to finish off those Way Watchers here. So it's been a close game so far, but it looks like Enticity is pulling ahead a little bit with some of these late game decisions of having Orion stay with Noctilus a little bit too long. But now he should be able to get away here, you know, throwing his spear into those guys. These handguns are crumbling down. These Dryads are now moving in, and the last of the Wild Riders do lead to crumbling on the Deck Gunners. Branch Wraith is also back here, causing some problems, and there's another unit of Wild Riders that could come back in. Now, Bounce of Power is pretty bad for Wood Elves, but that's because Orion is so low, and that's to be expected for sure. But here, these handgun mobs should actually probably get finished off by these Wild Hunters of Furnace. Yeah, nice little charge right there. Now Orion needs to come over here. If Orion comes to this side and finishes off the Deck Gunners and the handgun mobs, then like he can cycle charge Count Noctilus in the late game and probably end him, or kite him and even use his spear if he's so inclined. Yeah, definitely bringing Orion over here to win this engagement is going to be quite big. And yeah, these handguns should be shut down by these Wild Riders. 28 of them charging in. Noctilus does have some handgun support here, but they're also crumbling. Like, the whole Vampire Coast army is very beat up here, but you gotta close the deal on these units. You gotta finish off these Deck Gunners. You gotta finish off these handgunners. You cannot let those units survive, or else you're straight up just gonna lose. Handguns are broken. Wild Riders continuing to fight. Being attacked by Scurvy Doggos now. We got Dryads doing the grind here, the bump and grind. Also some Dryads coming back this way, and more Wild Riders coming in. I don't think Coast is 100% won this game. Orion is low, but like shutting down this position is great. 2 Deck Gunners and 2 handguns going down. Branch Wraith is also quite strong. And these the Wild Riders were able to kill those handguns, get back, and also are crumbling those Scurvy Dogs. So, like, Noctilus generally counts for a lot on the Bounce of Power. Ooh, a Raid Storm. This is going to be painful. I don't think he can really dodge it. Okay, he's trying to dodge it. He's juking. He jukes a couple, I think. Orion gets very low. That does pull the Bounce of Power back, but he's unbreakable, so you don't really have to worry too much about that. Wild Riders, once again, charging into the gun lines. Those Zombie Pirate Gunnery mobs. Oh, and he didn't have enough for the pistol summon. It looks like he only had enough for some basic summons there, so that shouldn't be terribly impactful. This Branch Wraith needs to keep hunting here. Orion's still working on these guys, but really needs to make sure to shut down the handguns. The handguns have been put in guard mode, and they've been given an order to shoot Orion. He does have the Cloak of Isha, so he is going to start healing when he gets a little bit lower. And will the Wood Elves be able to finish off the handgun mobs is the question. This one handgun mob is very, very low. And there are Dryads coming back. There's Dryads collapsing down on these handguns. And the bounce power, again, is super rough for the Woodies because Orion is so low. But yeah, we will see. How's his HP doing? 865. These dogs are chasing, but they're going to be crumpling into the abyss soon. And these summons will probably be dissipating as Dryads do collapse. Now, that's the thing. Orion probably should kite away. Use his javelin and just, start picking things off. But you really have to finish off these handguns. If they live, Orion's going to be in big trouble. They'll just turn and gat him down. So maybe send in the Branch Wraith. If Orion takes 1 or 2 attacks from Noctilus, it could be game over as well. Dryads here are actually losing to those deck-end mobs, which is quite unfortunate. And Orion probably has his bound abilities too. Like, oh, don't stay here. Oh god, he's staying in combat. Orion has healed up to like 1,000 HP, and the Horde of the Wild Hunt is active, giving a little bit of a charge bonus. And there are more Dryads coming into combat here. It looks like he does have a bunch right there. That could do the thing. The Hounds of Gibson are summoned, getting some damage in. But again, if he just kites, like the Wood Elves have the kite advantage. The Vampire Coast is out of range, but oh, he needs to run from those ASAP. Orion needs to get away from those. Oof. Orion needs to run. He can't be taking this firepower. Oh, Zyphos going to notice it. He does notice it. Okay, Cloak of Isha is active. Pretty big healing here. Awakening of the Wood being used. I don't know if that was a necessary one right there, but it did go down. And Noctilus was able to mess up the Branch Wraith in combat, and it looks like that is going to be army losses. That was a close game, guys. That was a close, proper game. Yeah, that was a really, really good match. I mean, look at what Coast has left. Like, almost nothing. A couple, like, slightly more efficient engagements for the Wood Elves, maybe. Orion is going to be throwing his spear, though. I mean, stranger things have happened. Here it comes. Ready? Oh! Noctilus takes a huge jump shot right there. It's really a shame that Branch Wraith broke. Orion is trying to get some shots, but the gunnery mob is hunting him down here. Here he comes. Dropping another spear. Let's go. All right, he's getting some damage in there. Getting some damage. And let's see what's left here for the Wood Elves. I mean, pretty much nothing. I'm looking around. I think everything's shattered. They did get hit with army losses. Honestly, if the Branch Wraith had stayed, I think they might have had a slim chance. But in this case, I mean, if Orion gets really lucky in RNG and is able to defeat Noctilus, I mean, maybe? I don't think so, though. Not with these guns shooting at him. That's too much. Wraithstorm's coming down as well. That is a lot of firepower. Cloak of Isha is going to heal him a little bit, but Noctilus is kind of beat up. Wraithstorm does a fair amount of damage. 328, 313. Gunnery mob is going to be disappearing in about 10 seconds. Like, dudes, Orion almost carried this. Without these gunnery mobs, he might have won that match. He might have killed Noctilus and won it. Yeah. Wow, that was a game. Like, without that gunnery mob chipping away his last HP, Orion might have been able to kill Noctilus there. That was a solid scrap. Well played to those two players. So, Enticity goes up 1-0. Remember, this is best of 3. And now, let's pick the next map. I wonder what Zyphos will change. Honestly, if I were Zyphos, I'd probably just try the same thing again. Like, you almost did it. What was the map I was going to use? I had one picked out. All right. It wasn't going to be Angui. Was it Castle Drakenhof? No. Where was it? You guys want to go to Estalia? Let's do it. Let's go to Estalia. Map set. Dude, if the Branch Wraith hadn't broken to army losses, I think the Wood Elves would have won that. Yeah, that was kind of silly. 1 or 2 more spear throws. That was super close. That was a really good game. Orion is such a pimp. The OP summon. I know. The summon was really good. That was very good play by Enticity there. Welcome to Estalia, gentlemen. I will not lie. Your chances of survival. Yeah, you guys want it. I'll let you guys do the Estalia quotes. A solid set of games today. Freedom. Dude, I'm telling you, if I were Zyphos, I would just do the same thing again. Like, I think Enticity is going to be expecting a switch. And, like, Zyphos almost won that game. It was really freaking close. Like, if Zyphos hadn't let Orion take so much damage earlier, I think he would have won. Like, he fought Noctilus in the beginning with, like, guns shooting him for a while. I think if he hadn't done that, he would have won the game. It's just the little things, man, you know? Yeah. It was close. Orion found freedom from life, says Hadries. Yeah. It's been a great set of games today, guys. Thank you all for joining. Really appreciate it. We got a donation from Dozer coming in. Just appeared on my screen. A day may come when the strength of bandwidth fails us, but it is not this day. Competitors, guests, honorable host, thank you for sharing your time. To war. Thank you, Dozer. Appreciate the donation, man. Helping me pay for the Bracket Madness prize pool. Much appreciated, Dozer. And again, if you guys are enjoying the stream, do drop a like. It lets me know that it's a popular format and I should keep doing it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, man, join the fun. We have a good time here. We do Heroes of Might and Magic 3, Total War Warhammer. And dude, speaking of Heroes of Might and Magic 3, I just got the HD mod, and simultaneous turns are like Falcon, man. Falcon, I got to show you the light, dude. Simultaneous turns in Heroes 3. You can take your turns at the same time. It's so nice. Oh my god. Anyways, that is a rant for another day. So yeah, Zyphos, I would just do the same thing, dude, honestly. He played really well. He killed the crabs quick. He got onto the guns. I think the only misplay was with his Mel Gibson. I think that was what cost him. Yeah. Coast has a couple bad matchups. I think Wood Elves versus Coast is like slightly Coast favored, but Wood Elves can win it. I think Empire versus Coast is like an even one that Empire can often win. And I think Coast loses hard to Dwarves. But aside from that, Coast is good in like every single matchup. Like, so if you want to be like get a really solid set of factions to play, I would always recommend getting really good at Empire, Coast, and Greenskins. Like, those three factions give you like answers against many things. The only problem with that trio is that Empire and Coast is countered by Dwarves. Yeah, I guess that's a little bit tricky. You need someone who's good against Dwarves usually in tournament play. Yeah. You must, I wish I could play some Black Sabbath. Yeah, but I would get my stream shut down. Dozer Roman says, seriously love this stuff. Watching me makes me want to play. Playing makes me want to watch. Awesome cycle. Yeah, it is, man. The multiplayer for this game is so fun. It's not perfectly balanced, but it's they've done a good job considering there's 15 freaking factions, you know? Yeah. Yeah, Zyphos had that game, I think, in many ways. It was close. Just a couple small mistakes. But that's the nature of the game, right? Like, your opponent forces you to make mistakes. They capitalize. You know, it's easy to say. Yeah. Yeah. Pone and I, like, normally our Heroes games take, like, 3 to 4 hours, but we were able to get it down to, like, literally, like, 1 hour because the simultaneous turns were so strong. Not sure. I'd ask in Discord or double check. Cool. Yeah, Empire's a great faction. Empire only has like one really bad matchup, which is Dwarves. That's why I always recommend Empire like as a primary faction, because like you can pick them against anyone except Dwarves and have a fighting chance. Greenskins are kind of similar. Greenskins struggle with some undead factions, but like aside from that, they're like pretty good across the board. Vampire Coast is really good to learn. And someone who really crumps dwarves. I mean, you can mix high elves in there and just like spam chariots if you want to beat dwarves. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see, my friends. I actually love Bretonnia. Bretonnia's a faction I've been playing in like tournament play recently. Or I guess not in tournaments per se, but like playing against good players. I love Bretonnia. I really love them against Beastmen. I like them against Vampire Counts occasionally, and against Chaos are really fun. Yeah, Chaos can be a hard matchup for Bretonnia though. The Shaggoths can be quite strong. Skaven's a good one. Yeah, Skaven's really strong. All right, Enticity is ready. Yeah, Vampire Coast is really strong for sure, but you also have to remember Enticity is a really good player. His control is quite masterful. His decision-making is really good, so you can't take away from him. Enticity is streaming his game live. Oh, awesome. Feel free to drop a link to his live play if anybody wants to watch that. Yeah, Enticity is gives really good narration as he plays. That last game was really close, though, man. That was so close. Malagor trumps. Oh my god, Malagor is so haggard. Yeah, I'm surprised Greenskins haven't won a faction war yet. They're really good. I guess they've had some rough matchups. But yeah, Greenskins are really good. I think for the next faction war, I'll have Greenskins start out fighting dwarves. I feel like that matchup's gotten like a little bit more even. I don't know. Greenskins versus Dark Elves could be a good initial matchup, although, yeah. What makes dwarves so strong against Empire? They're just, yeah, Empire, like, armor piercing, aside, like, dwarves have better armor piercing guns than Empire. They can outtrade you in guns. They can outtrade your infantry because great swords usually get focused down by powder and stuff. Empire heavy cav generally has low AP, so it's like not, they don't have like a chariot unit that's really good against dwarves. So there's just a lot of variables. Yeah. Yep. Has there been any Skaven yet? Saranska, we had Skaven earlier. Skaven won their first round match against High Elves, and then they lost their second round match against Wood Elves. It was a good game. It was a Romulan Dawg had a good set of games. Yeah. He did indeed, my friend. Greenskins need to be on an undead free bracket to win. Greenskins can do pretty well against vampire counts. Coast is probably the hardest. I feel like Tomb Kings isn't bad for Greenskins anymore. Like, I feel super confident against Tomb Kings with Greenskins now. We've never had a High Elves get very far. High Elves have always struggled in this format. We've had some really good players play them too in Faction Wars. But we'll see. You know, eventually I'm sure they'll get there, and it'll be really exciting when it happens. All right, guys. We are here. Let the games begin. So Zyphos did switch his build pretty hardcore. But he brought Orion this time. Again, I think Orion's a great choice. On top of that, he brought Dryads. So he's got a Dryad front line, Wild Hunters of Kurnus, a Spear backline of Eternal Guard, and a bunch of Glade Guard. That's cool, with Hagbane Tips, and one unit of Way Watchers, it looks like, in the back, I think is what I saw. The Way Watchers, Glade Guard, Starfire Shafts with Hagbane Tips, Wild Hunters of Kurnus, and Orion as well. Branch Wraith has the same spells, no surprises there, and that is it. So for the build here, Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs into the sunset, no bombers. Interesting. Really just not respecting the infantry rush here. He's got handguns in the back, deck gunners, triple deck gunner with some Sirens. See, this is where I think if Zyphos had gone for the same rush, he would have won. Like, this back line is ripe for the picking, but I think Enticity knows he might have scared Zyphos off the rush, so he can go back to his like standard style of play. You'll notice there's no crabs here. Also, his formation is super open. Like, he's totally just not respecting the Wood Elf rush here. But it looks like he was wise to do so, because Zyphos is going for a more traditional build here, which probably will really struggle against deck hunters. I think the triple deck hunters will be able to really wreck the Hagbane Tips pretty hard. So we'll see. I mean, Orion can also get in there and cause some disruption, but yeah, I think the Wood Elf rush was the way to go, and I think just repeating it and trying again would probably be better. But yeah, we'll see. Like, because rushing from down in this hill, man, this is such a juicy open back line. There's nothing defending it. Like, imagine 4 Wild Riders just collapsing down this hill right here. That would just be game blouses. With, like, Dryads, like, right in the face. Yeah. Sirens will get wrecked pretty bad by Dryads. Dryads do magic damage and have pretty good melee attack, so they kill Sirens very, very quickly. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Eternal Guard in this matchup. They are with Silver Shields, so that is something to take into account. Anticity's Hounds are going to be hunting for sure. He's got 1 Hound here, 1 Hound here. And then on the far side of the map, he does also have some Scurvy Dogs. So fending off the Scurvy Dogs is going to be a task in its own. We will see. We will see indeed. And now Orion, the great lord of Braveheart here, going to be charging, leading the force. So deck gunners immediately start shooting at Orion. He takes quite a bit of damage, but he's okay for that. Like, Orion's all about that life. Like, if they're shooting Orion instead of, you know, the archers and other assets, I think that's a win. So the Wood Elf archers are in range. Scurvy Dogs are coming around the flank. Those Scurvy Dogs are going to be a pain. I mean, the only thing to really stop them is the Wild Hunters of Kurnus. And the Vampire Coast gunline is not going to be getting pressured at all. Noctols with a very good summon on top of those Starfire Shafts. Now the Dryad front line will be engaging. Orion has not tried to push through yet. Looks like he's kind of eyeing Count Noctilus and, you know, kind of biding his time. But the bow line is shooting. You can see the Glade Guards are getting some nice volleys here into the handguns, and the Dryads should be able to intercept these Scurvy Dogs, depending on how well Zyphos is paying attention. On the far side, we get some Scurvy Dogs engaging, but they are intercepted by spears. And Zyphos really needs to make sure these Wild Hunters are intercepting those doggos. Currently, right now, Enticity is doing a good job kind of juking, but You know, the bows of the elves are doing some decent work, slowly wearing down these handgun mobs, and also the sirens are being afflicted by the awakening of the wood. So this summon should be disappearing soonish, and the scurvy doggos are crumbling, but not before there's a lot of damage put onto the archer line, and here the scurvy dogs do charge into the back here. As far as archers go, we do have a couple. They've done some okay damage. Nothing to write home about, but a lot of damage coming in. Zyphos with some tactical reserves, unfortunately, so he doesn't use his wild hunters. He brings them in really, really late, and the scurvy dogs are able to kill the archers. So that could be a misplay that could just straight up cost him the game there. It's hard to say. But the archers being feasted on by all the doggos is really, really painful for sure. And pretty much all they killed was one unit of handgunners. Like, if you look at that, yeah. There's so much firepower. I think Zyphos' rush before was the way to go. And he almost won the game, and I think with proper play he could have. But in this case, oh my god, Orion is getting murked too. Look at this. Brutal, brutal damage coming in. And he might get away, 299. He might even just die here, honestly. I would just focus him. Noctilus is able to finish him. And down goes Mel Gibson, yelling freedom or treat him until the last moment. But there he goes quietly into the night. And the Wood Elf Infantry is pushing, you know, defeating and winning their respective combats. But Zyphos didn't seem to have the resources to protect his archers. And losing Orion that early is a big mistake. He doesn't need to die. He's pretty resilient, for sure. So Wild Hunters of Kurnus now. Going to be chasing, going after those doggos, but Enticity just playing like a man possessed here. Enticity's making no mistakes. That's also a big part of it too. Like, yeah, Kos is really strong, but he's not making mistakes. Like, maybe a couple here and there, but for the most part, he's playing a super tight game. He switches targets instantly. He doesn't forget about any units. His hounds are really on point, nonstop, and that's going to be a Vampire Coast victory, winning the October 2020 Faction War. The spookiest man of them all is going to be Enticity. And there you have it. Treat 'em! It ended just like Braveheart. Mel Gibson was, you know, taken out by the dude here. Yeah. There you have it, guys. Enticity claims victory over his clanmate. Well played, Zyphos. We know it's a matchup you don't like playing and you struggle with, but you put on a really good show with your first rush. I think if you had rushed again, Zyphos, you would have been in good shape there. Like, just coming in deep in that back line, man. That would have been really good for sure. There you have it. GG. Well played, Enticity. Got there, certainly. A solid performance from his hounds. I mean, his scurvy dog play was so good. The archers of Zyphos had no chance. There wasn't enough mobility to protect them, you know. All right. GG, well played. Zyphos says thanks for the tourney. As does Enticity. And now we can go to the bracket and crown our final victor. Enticity. Vampire Coast is a 2-time champion. He is a 2-time champion. Never enough Doom Wheels, Romulan. I know, that was the biggest problem. If there had been some Doom Wheels there, I think the match could have changed. Yeah. Well played. Congratulations to our spooky champion, Enticity. The pride of Canada. Coming in and claiming victory here. Going through the tough set of opponents. He had to fight Aerocrastic. He had to fight Falcon. And he also had to fight Red Legion in the beginning. Some tough scraps for sure. So well played to those guys. So now, after this event's over, I'm going to go and take a look at the brackets to see who had a perfect bracket. Who was able to get the final score. And, I'm seeing some good ones. Loopy had 14 of 15 on predictions. Chosen won 13 of 15. I see 9 of 15 from F and G. Malverde with 12 of 15. It looks like Loopy. Let me see Loopy's bracket. Yeah. I think Loopy almost like nailed it perfectly. Wow. All right, so I'm going to go evaluate the winner, but it looks like ODM Loopy has won. I think he has 14 to 15. I don't think anybody got a perfect prediction, but he only got one prediction wrong in the whole tournament. Dude, that is awesome. Well, I'm going to go check that, give him his prize, and also, send out all the goodies to Enticity as well. But guys, thank you so much for joining. That was an absolute blast. An awesome Halloween faction war. Big thanks to the mods for helping out. Really appreciate you guys for hanging out in the stream and keeping law in the realm. Thanks to Dozer for the donations, Presser Sleepy Time ASMR, Lazon Ruin, Jedi Mazdamundi, Legeron, Domingo, Jonathan Hers, Blake Colborn, Star Watcher, Blake Colborn again, Wynand, Carolus Martellus, Garrett Ratchford, A Small Chicken, Dulup, Seals 06, Matthias, Dozer Roman is the new member, Wynand, and Lizon Ruin, Dulu again, Evanuel, Shrimp of Death, Jared Koenig, Sean Davenport, and Wicker Nipple. There you guys go. Thank you. It was a blast. Congratulations once again to Enticity. Really appreciate you guys all sticking around. If you enjoyed the stream, do drop a like. We'll be having a faction war actually really soon. I'm going to be doing it like early in November, like first or second week. So stay tuned. There'll be another one. And we might just have to put the Vampire Coast up against the dreaded Empire in the first round. We'll see. We will see. But nonetheless, Enticity played so good today. I didn't notice like any mistakes in his games. He was just so on point. So well played to him. And on that note, you guys enjoy. I'll see you around. I'm going to go watch some UFC, hang out with my smoking hot wife. And until next time, you guys stay safe. Once again, thank you all for the donations. Thanks, mods. And big congratulations to Enticity and Zyphos for making it to the grand finals and putting on such a good show. All right, my friends. Cheers. Appreciate you all. And we'll see you guys on the other side. Take care.